say anything. She smiled at Yi Zairachin, who was eating voraciously. This silly boy was so scared just now, but he feels fine now. Don't go back tonight, call your mother. Su Luo looked at Yi Zairachin, whose face was slightly bruised, and spoke. Yeah, Yi Zairachin nodded, took out his cell phone and called Yi Shuyan. In the end, Su Luo answered the phone and confirmed it, and only then did Yi Shuyan agree without any doubt. Have you finished eating? Su Luo asked. Okay, brother-in-law, where are we going? Yi Zairachin saw Su Luo stand up, so he stood up too and asked. Let's go to the hospital. Su Luo walked to the boss, paid the bill, looked at Yi Zairachin and said, Go to the hospital, check it out. Yi Zairachin was a little reluctant. After all, things at night were not very beautiful. Let's go, I'm going with you. Silly boy, what are you afraid of? Su Luo said with a smile. I'm not afraid, it's just... Yi Zairachin said hesitantly. It's nothing, just follow me. Su Luo interrupted Yi Zairachin with a smile. Hey, don't tell me you are like this now. Where are those classmates who were with you at night? Su Luo asked casually on the way. They should all have gone home. Yi Zairachin didn't pay attention to his classmate's situation at that time. There was no message on the phone. I guess he ran away when the other person fell down and convulsed. No phone call or text message or anything? Su Luo asked. No, Yi Zairachin said somewhat embarrassedly. The friends you make are not very good. After Su Luo said that, she stopped a taxi and pulled Yi Zairachin into the car. Listening to Su Luo's teasing, Yi Zairachin got into the car and felt depressed. There were several people there, but no news at all. It was really disheartening. About 10 minutes later, the taxi stopped, and Su Luo and Yi Zairachin got out. Okay, don't be sad alone. You only have a few true friends. It's a good thing that some people realize it now. Otherwise, if you really wait until they stab you twice before you realize it, you will be in even greater trouble. Su Luo looked at Yi Zairachin with a gloomy face and his head down. She understood what he was thinking about, so she started to persuade him. A real friend, Yi Zairachin murmured. Don't think about it, just deal with the matter at hand. You don't want them to come knocking on your door tomorrow, do you? Su Luo patted Yi Zairachin on the back of the head and walked towards the emergency room. Oh, Yi Zairachin responded and quickly caught up with Su Luo. Hello, doctor. Where is Wang Xiang, who was sent here for emergency treatment tonight? As soon as she entered the emergency room, Su Luo stopped the doctor who was guiding patients at the door and asked. He is currently in the observation room and is out of danger. Excuse me, do you know what his situation is? Su Luo continued to ask. I think the doctor who treated him said it was epilepsy. Thank you, doctor, Su Luo said and walked towards the observation room. You're Wang Xiang's family, right? Su Luo brought Yi Zairachin to the observation room next to Wang Xiang's bed. A middle-aged woman was sitting next to him. You are, it was you who killed my son. The woman seemed to come to her senses and spoke angrily. SHH, this is a hospital, let's talk outside, Su Luo said and walked out of the observation room. The woman hesitated for a moment and followed him. Chapter 230, 5 The Reason Why the Wang Family Targeted. Are you Wang Xiang's mother? Su Luo stopped in the corridor, turned around and asked the woman who followed her. There's no room for negotiation on this matter. It's you, the one who hurt my son so badly. I didn't expect you to come out. Just wait, I will get to the bottom of this. The woman looked determined to achieve her goal and looked at Yi Zairachin with hatred in her eyes. What's your name? Su Luo stopped Yi Zairachin, who wanted to argue, and asked calmly. What do you call me? This matter is not over anyway. The woman looked at Su Luo's calm appearance and felt a little guilty. After all, she was alone at the moment and could only speak with hatred. Who is Wang Geifeng to you? Su Luo asked. What Wang Geifeng? It's useless to ask anyone for this matter, the woman said, and the flash of surprise in her eyes was still seen clearly by Su Luo. The woman's name is Liu Hui, and her husband is Wang Gijun, who is Wang Geifeng's younger brother. When he learned that his sister had been kicked out of the house, he immediately conducted an investigation and discovered that it was all his ex-brother-in-law's doing. Originally, today was just an accident, but he discovered that Yi Zairachin was actually Liu Dihui's son. Your son has epilepsy, right? It's illegal to slander others. Su Luo stared at Liu Hui, her voice unquestionable. What, do you still want to attack me, a woman? Liu Hui said, taking 2 steps back and raising her voice a lot, trying to make sure others could hear her. I wouldn't say we have to fight. You don't look like you have much confidence. Su Luo smiled and said casually. Does she look okay? Young man, I tell you, if you want to save Yi Zairachin, just let Liu Dihui come and beg me. At this time, a middle-aged man walked out, stood in front of Liu Hui, and said with a smile, Oh, who are you? Su Luo looked at the middle-aged man in front of her with interest. The aura was right, but the words sounded as if he knew Yi Xiaochen's identity. I'm Wang Gijun, the president of Wang Group. Let me tell you, this isn't something you can handle. Wang Gijun introduced himself and looked at Su Luo indifferently. They did not blame Yi Xiaochen for what happened to their son. After all, epilepsy is hereditary and they cannot blame others. But we can only blame Yi Xiaochen for his bad luck, because he is Liu Dihui's son. If you want to seek revenge on Liu Dihui, go ahead and do it. What does it have to do with me? Yi Xiaochen was listening to the conversation between the few people, and his hatred for Liu Dihui grew even stronger. You must be Yi Xiaochen, right? Cherish your life well, because you only have 2 days of freedom left. Wang Gijun looked at Yi Xiaochen with a faint smile on his lips. The president of Wang Group. Mr. Wang, you are not afraid of offending Liu Dihui, but aren't you afraid of offending me? Su Luo said in a low voice. Oh, by the way, I'll give you 1 day. If you don't withdraw the lawsuit, I'll use my own methods to deal with it. Don't think I'm helping Liu Dihui then. Su Luo walked up to Wang Gijun and spoke with some amusement, then turned to look at Yi Xiaochen. Chenchen, let's go. After saying that, Su Luo walked outside. My last name is Yi, not Liu. If you dare to hurt my mother, no matter who you are, I will kill you. Yi Xiaochen walked up to Wang Gijun and whispered, then walked quickly outside. Brother-in-law, wait for me. Boss, do you want it? At this time, 2 men in black suits came up and asked, investigate the identity of Yi Xiaochen's brother-in-law. Wang Gijun looked at the direction where Su Luo and the other person left and spoke. Okay, boss. The 2 men responded and stepped back. Huier, how is your son? Wang Gijun looked at Liu Hui and asked. We're out of danger now, husband. Liu Hui said. Don't worry about it. Let's investigate first. Wang Gijun waved his hand and interrupted Liu Hui. Liu Hui looked at Wang Gijun with some worry. In recent years, her husband has been attacking Liu Dihui's business. But this person is still capable of doing business. Over the years, not only has he not been affected too much, but his business has become bigger and bigger. This time, by chance, he was just checking to see who had the conflict with his son. But in just 20 minutes, Yi Xiaochen's background was discovered. Of course, they didn't find out that Yi Shuyan had a brother because it was too long ago. And who would have thought that she had a brother whom she hadn't contacted for 20 years? Wang Gijun's face was a little uncertain. He was not sure how powerful Yi Xiaochen's brother-in-law was. The other side, Su Luo and Yi Xiaochen walked out of the hospital, hailed a taxi, and returned to the hotel. Okay, I understand everything now. Don't worry. I'll get you a room so you can have a good rest. Su Luo said this, took Yi Xiaochen to the front desk and booked a room. Brother-in-law, I'm sorry to trouble you with this. On the way back to the room, Yi Xiaochen looked at Su Luo and said seriously, it's no trouble, just pretend it never happened. Don't let anything slip tomorrow. When they arrived at the door of Yi Xiaochen's room, Su Luo began to give instructions. Well, I know, brother-in-law, thank you, Yi Xiaochen said seriously. Okay, stop being so pretentious and go to bed early, Su Luo said, waved her hand and returned to her room. Honey, you're back. Yi Xiaomu, who was in a daze, heard the door open and spoke. Sorry for waking you. Su Luo walked to the bed, touched Yi Xiaomu's cheek and spoke softly. I couldn't sleep well when you were not around. Yi Xiaomu moved his head slightly, rubbed it on Su Luo's palm and whispered. Then go back to sleep, Su Luo said, lowering her head to kiss Yi Xiaomu's forehead. How's Chenchen's situation? Yi Xiaomu held Su Luo's hand and asked. It's okay, don't worry. Upon hearing this, Yi Xiaomu smiled at Su Luo and closed his eyes. He hadn't slept well just now because Su Luo wasn't around. Now that he was relaxed, sleepiness came over him, and soon his breathing became steady. Su Luo looked at the sleeping Yi Xiaomu, smiled, gently pulled her hand away, then opened the suitcase and took out the computer. Wang Gijun, president of Wang Group, specializes in automobile parts processing. Because Wang Group is not listed, there is not much information available on the internet. However, these did not pose any difficulties for Su Luo. Strictly speaking, his family's business also belonged to the automotive parts industry. If you are in the same industry and have common customers, it will be easier to investigate from this aspect. Chapter 236. I want to know what your confidence is. This time, Su Luo did not use his hacking ability, but simply investigated the car factory and used the production volume and output value information of his family's industry to reversely infer. The annual output value of Wang Group is about 1 billion. Based on this, the fixed assets of this enterprise are approximately between 1.5 billion and 10 billion. This fluctuation is indeed large, mainly because the output value and market value are not completely proportional. A group does not just have one company operating externally. Value is still generated between the various subsidiaries. After all, these things are not on the market, so it is really difficult for Su Luo to find them. Ding! When Su Luo was thinking about how to deal with the unlisted Wang Group, a system prompt sounded in her mind. It has been detected that the host is interested in business operations. Please select. Tip. Based on current needs, the reward will be automatically adjusted to a stock reward. 1. When the enemy comes, we will fight him. When the water comes, we will block it with earth. Let nature take its course and deal with Yi Xiaochen's problem. I will reward you with 51% of Wang Group's shares. 2. Properly resolve Yi Xiaochen's issues, including Liu Dihui's, and award BBD Auto 67% of its shares. Choose 2. Su Luo chose the second option without any hesitation. BBD Automobile Company is China's independent automobile brand with a market value of nearly 800 billion yuan. If you hesitate for even a second about this option, you will be doing a disservice to this brand. Selection successful, background has been modified. BBD was founded in 1995, and your grandfather invested 50% of the shares in your name. In 2002, when the company went public, your grandfather used the opportunity of celebrating your first birthday to increase his stake in BBD to 67%. Relevant documents have been stored in the system space. The dividend amount for the past 21 years is 17.6 billion. Note, last year's profit dividend was 10 billion, and it has been deposited into your account in batches. You may exercise your position as the primary shareholder at any time. Currently, the company's second shareholder, Wang Zidao, serves as its CEO. Feeling the information in her mind, Su Luo smiled. The problem that originally required some effort was now easy to solve. BBD Auto, whose full name is BBD Auto Co. Limited, is the largest customer of Wang Group. After turning off the computer, Su Luo got up and walked into the bathroom, took a shower, then lay down on the bed, hugged Yi Xiaomu from behind, and closed her eyes. The other side, Wang Gijun, who was staying in the hospital, was holding a piece of information in his hand, and the content on it was exactly Su Luo's information. Let's go together. Wang Gijun pinched the bridge of his nose. Put aside Yi Xiaochen's matter for a day. I'll make an appointment with Su Luo tomorrow to see what confidence he has. Wang Gijun said to the two men in suits in front of him. Anyone who can run a company with billions of fixed assets will certainly not act impulsively when encountering such a thing. Although looking at the information on the file, he didn't think the other party could afford to confront him. After all, the shareholders of Su Luo's family's business were his parents, and he was not the one who could make the decision. Okay, boss, the man in the suit agreed without any objection. By the way, how is my sister doing? Wang Gijun asked. Not very optimistic. The doctor said it will not exceed 3 months at most. The man in the suit hesitated and spoke. Okay, I understand. You can go down. Wang Gijun waved his hand and said lightly. Yes, boss, the two men said and left the room. Honey, what about Sister Wang? Liu Hui asked. There's nothing we can do. We found out too late. Commander Wang Gui sighed. He really could do nothing about his sister's affairs. The next day, Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu got up early, called Yi Xiaochen, and had breakfast in the hotel. The three of them returned to Sunshine Yipan Community, and Yi Shuyan was already packing up. Dad, I have something to tell you. Su Luo looked at Yi Zhenhua and said. Then Su Luo and Yi Zhenhua walked out the door, and Su Luo handed him a cigarette. What's wrong, Xiao Luo, what happened? Yi Zhenhua lit a cigarette and asked. Well, Dad, the matter of Xiaochen's biological father still needs to be dealt with, otherwise it will always be a problem. Su Luo thought about the wording and spoke. That's true, but from what your aunt said, he's a businessman and has some influence here. This. Yi Zhenhua said hesitantly that he was just a teacher and could do nothing about it. Dad, don't worry, I can handle it. I just need you to go back to the Magic City first, and Xiaochen and I will stay here to take care of it, Su Luo said. Xiao Luo, you? Yi Zhenhua was a little worried. After all, Su Luo was his own child in his heart. Could this kind of thing really be handled well? Don't worry, it can be handled. Su Luo looked at Yi Zhenhua and said seriously. Okay, then you must be careful, and I won't ask any more questions. Seeing that Su Luo seemed confident, Yi Zhenhua did not ask any more questions. After all, he did not know much about this area, so he just trusted Su Luo. The two of them smoked and returned to the room. Su Luo brought up the matter. Because of Yi Zhenhua, Sun Tingting did not object. Yi Shuyan seemed to want to say something but stopped himself and finally said nothing. Yi Xiaomu wanted to stay but was persuaded by Su Luo. After all, she was pregnant and it was really inconvenient for her. In the end, Yi Zhenhua drove away from Taixing with a few people. Su Luo took Yi Xiaochen with her and first returned the rented house. "What's wrong? You look a little reluctant." Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaochen and said with a smile, "Yes, after all, I have lived here for 3 years." Yi Xiaochen nodded and said, "Okay, let's go." Su Luo smiled and waved, then turned and walked out of the community. "Who are you?" At the gate of the community, Su Luo and Yi Xiaochen were stopped by a man in a suit. "Our boss wants to see you. Get in the car." The man in the suit pointed to the business car in the distance and said, In the business car, Wang Gijun leaned his head out and waved to Su Luo. "Okay, let's go." Su Luo nodded and took Yi Xiaochen towards the business car. I originally planned to solve Liu Dihui's problem first, but unexpectedly, Wang Gijun acted so quickly. "Mr. Wang, it looks like he didn't sleep all night last night." After Su Luo got in the car, she looked at Wang Gijun's tired face and spoke. Yi Xiaochen didn't say anything. As a student, he hadn't encountered this kind of thing too often. He just sat in the back quietly without saying a word. "Although the child is out of danger, as a parent we are still very worried," Wang Gijun said lightly, his voice filled with deep fatigue. "Oh, then Mr. Wang, why are you looking for me now since you're not with the child?" Su Luo leaned back and spoke. "I want to know what your confidence comes from." Wang Gijun turned to look at Su Luo, exuding the aura of a superior, and said seriously. Chapter 237, A Wise Choice. "So Mr. Wang is ready to challenge me." Su Luo was not affected by Wang Gijun at all and spoke casually. At this moment, many thoughts flashed through Wang Gijun's mind, but in the end he looked at Su Luo, who was as calm as water, and spoke. "This incident is my son's fault. I'm very sorry." Wang Gijun finally chose to compromise, not because he really knew Su Luo's background. If a big boss really wants to take revenge on someone, he will definitely not express his intention casually. At least he will investigate before making a decision. He had only done a hasty investigation into Su Luo yesterday, but the results could not explain Su Luo's calmness in the face of him. Therefore, Wang Gijun decided to play it safe and seek peace for the time being. If Su Luo really had no background, it would be easy to deal with him later. Of course, the premise of this approach is that the reason his son went to the hospital really had nothing to do with Yi Xiaochen, and there was no conflict between the two parties. "A wise choice," Su Luo nodded and said with a smile. "What about Liu Dihui?" Wang Gijun said. Su Luo turned around and looked at Yi Xiaochen, who was sitting in the back row. "He has nothing to do with me. Brother-in-law, you don't have to worry about me," Yi Xiaochen said calmly. "Okay, then we really don't have any conflicts," Wang Gijun said and stopped the car, but there was a hint of ruthlessness in his eyes, which was hidden in his eyes and was not seen by Su Luo. Su Luo and Yi Xiaochen got out of the car. "Brother-in-law, is this solved?" Yi Xiaochen looked at Su Luo with some confusion. "This kind of thing isn't so easy to resolve. After all, it's a family feud. If you've watched TV, you'll know it takes 30 or 40 episodes to resolve it." Su Luo made a joke and laughed as she spoke. "How can we handle this kind of thing faster?" Yi Xiaochen asked. What happened in the past 2 days was much more exciting than anything he had experienced in the past 19 years. "Let's find a place to stay first," Su Luo said and stopped a car. "Go to a nearby 5-star hotel," Su Luo said to the driver after getting in the car. Yi Xiaochen sat quietly in the back seat of the taxi, watching people coming and going on the road. He had never dared to imagine this kind of life before. But now he had no idea what Su Luo wanted to do, so he could only say nothing and follow quietly. 20 minutes later, Su Luo and Yi Xiaochen got out of the car downstairs of the Wyndham Hotel. Su Luo booked 2 luxury suites. Seeing Su Luo pay more than 4,000 yuan, Yi Xiaochen was stunned. Although the car that Su Luo had driven back before, as well as the mobile phone and computer that she had given him, were all very valuable items. But he had no idea about that until this time when he saw the room costing more than 2,000 yuan a night. The feeling of transferring money that year really shocked Yi Xiaochen. It's not that he had never seen 2,000 before, but spending more than 2,000 for just one night was something Yi Xiaochen couldn't imagine. "Let's go, silly boy." Su Luo looked at the dazed Yi Xiaochen and said. As they were talking, Su Luo took Yi Xiaochen into the elevator. Today's meeting with Wang Gijun made Su Luo change her plan of looking for Liu Dihui first. Yi Xiaochen was a little excited at this moment, until Su Luo accompanied Yi Xiaochen into his room. He looked at the luxurious room and fell into a daze. "Sister, brother-in-law, this room is too luxurious," Yi Xiaochen said blankly. "This is just average. After all, this is only a third-tier city," Su Luo said. "Do you and your sister stay in a hotel like this every day?" Yi Xiaochen asked. "What are you thinking about? Who wants to stay in a hotel every day for no reason?" Su Luo slapped Yi Xiaochen's head in annoyance and said, "I'm leaving here soon. You can arrange to meet up with your classmates and friends tonight." Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaochen's excitement, smiled, and began to speak. Yi Xiaochen was stunned, not knowing what Su Luo meant. "It's up to you. If you want to treat me, then do it. You can arrange it however you want. I'll pay the bill," Su Luo said with a smile. Brother-in-law, this is not appropriate," Yi Xiaochen said hesitantly. "Don't worry, think about it yourself. I'll go back to the room first. You can rest for a while. I'll come to see you at lunchtime." Su Luo said this and left the room, leaving Yi Xiaochen alone to look at the decoration of the room, with a look of joy gradually appearing on his face. Su Luo closed the door, listened to Yi Xiaochen's excited shouts in the room, smiled, turned, and walked towards her room. "Xiao Mu, where have you been?" Su Luo returned to the room, lay on the bed, and sent a message to Yi Xiaomu. Then Su Luo half lay on the bed and picked up the guest room phone on the bedside table. "Hello, this is the front desk of the Wyndham Hotel. Room 2606, arrange a spa treatment," Su Luo said, looking at the room card 2608 in her hand. "Yes, sir." Su Luo hung up the phone and laughed. At this time, Yi Xiaomu's message also came. "We're still on the way. It'll probably take more than an hour. What are you doing?" Su Luo looked at the message in her hand, put the room card on the bedside table, and replied, "I just checked into a room and plan to stay here for a day to deal with Liu Dihui's matter." Then Su Luo took a few photos of the room and sent them over. "Then you have to be careful and don't make me worry, okay? Good for you. We stayed here yesterday and booked such a small room, but you booked such a big room for yourself. Humph." Yi Xiaomu smiled foolishly while replying to the message. "Isn't this for your cousin?" Su Luo roughly told Yi Xiaomu about his plan. "Is this okay for you?" "Don't worry, it's fine. No matter what, your cousin is my cousin and I won't harm him," Su Luo replied. "Okay, it's up to you. I'll listen to you." "Liu, I'm sleepy. I need to take a nap." "Well, go to sleep. Wear a neck brace when you get the call," Su Luo reminded. "I brought it, picture. My wife is so beautiful, Mua." Su Luo looked at the picture Yi Xiaomu sent and replied with a smile. "Damn it, I'm asleep, Anne." And Su Luo replied, put away her phone, picked up the remote control, and turned on the TV. On the other side, Yi Xiaochen, who was excited, suddenly heard the doorbell and walked over to open the door. "I saw a pretty woman in uniform standing at the door." "Who are you?" Yi Xiaochen asked doubtfully. "You just ordered the spa service. I'm technician number 68. Number 68 bowed slightly and spoke politely. I didn't scream." Yi Xiaochen's face turned red. The whiteness just now made his eyes dazzled, and he said quickly, Chapter 238, Yi Xiaochen's Happy Time. "Your friend called for you," Number 68 said with a smile. "Brother-in-law," Yi Xiaochen murmured, then moved aside to let Number 68 in. "What am I expecting?" Yi Xiaochen murmured as he lay on the bed after taking a shower. Indeed, there is nothing to expect. It must be formal. As Yi Xiaochen's brother-in-law, how could he help his brother-in-law order those fancy things? As for why he didn't shout, the main reason was that Su Luo was not sure whether this was formal. "What if it's not formal? I can't risk myself just to help Yi Xiaochen. That's not worth it." 2 hours later, to Yi Xiaochen's relief, Number 68 left the room. Not long after, Su Luo called Yi Xiaochen to have lunch downstairs, and in the afternoon she took him to Yida Plaza to buy 2 sets of high-end clothes. He also took Yi Xiaochen to Patek Philippe and bought a watch worth about 30,000 yuan. "Chenchen, what about tonight? Have you made an appointment with your classmates?" Su Luo asked after paying the bill. "We've already made an appointment. By the way, brother-in-law, what happened to you today?" Yi Xiaochen became more and more confused about Su Luo's behavior today. "It's okay. I'll transfer some money to you and you can make your own arrangements tonight. If it's not enough, call me and I'll transfer more." Su Luo said this, opened Yi Xiaochen's WeChat chat, and transferred 50,000 yuan to him. "Brother-in-law," Yi Xiaochen stared at the transfer information on his mobile phone in a daze. "Okay, let's go back. Don't call me at night," Su Luo said and walked out. Seeing this, Yi Xiaochen, who was carrying a lot of bags, immediately followed. When they arrived at the hotel, Su Luo and Yi Zairachin gave him some instructions, told him to have fun without worry, and then went back to the room. Su Luo had the hotel send up some food for dinner. After finishing her meal, Su Luo washed up, lay down on the bed, and opened the video call with Yi Zairamu. "Have you eaten?" Su Luo asked. "Yeah, I've already eaten." Yi Zairamu nodded and spoke. "I bought a house with my aunt this afternoon, downstairs from my house. My dad insisted on writing me an IOU. Yi Zairamu took out a piece of paper and handed it to Su Luo. "Keep it, otherwise Dad will be worried," Su Luo said with a smile. Su Luo could understand Yi Zhenhua's behavior. Su Luo and Yi Zairamu had never intended to ask Yi's father to pay back the money. For Yi's father, this is his responsibility as an older brother, not Su Luo and Yi Zairamu's responsibility, and he will not put pressure on the younger generations. This was what Yi's father told Su Luo and Yi Zairamu, but neither of them was short of money or greedy for money, so naturally they didn't care about these things. "Yeah," Yi Zairamu nodded, opened the bedside table, and casually threw the IOU in. Knowing that Su Luo had the same idea as her, she was satisfied and didn't care about the IOU anymore. "Honey, have you eaten?" Yi Zairamu asked. "I just ate. I asked the hotel to deliver it to me," Su Luo replied with a smile. "Hotel, you didn't eat with Chenchen?" Yi Zairamu asked curiously. She knew that Yi Zairachin should go to have dinner with his classmates in the evening. Su Luo had talked to her about it in the morning. She wondered why Su Luo didn't go. "I don't know his classmates, so they would feel uncomfortable if I went. He has to experience it himself. It's not appropriate for me to go with him," Su Luo said with a smile. "HMPH, have you played like this before?" Yi Zairamu's smiling face suddenly turned serious, and she asked in a pretended angry tone. No, I really don't have that." Su Luo's smiling face suddenly froze, and she immediately started to explain. "Really? Then why do I feel like you know a lot about it?" Yi Zairamu's voice made Su Luo break out in a cold sweat. "Wife, you've misunderstood me. I've never lacked money since I was a child, so it wouldn't be like this. Chenchen, you're just taking drastic measures for an emergency," Su Luo said with a bitter face. Wait until you come back and explain to me what this strong medicine is all about." Yi Zairamu smiled slightly and said to Su Luo with a wicked smile. Su Luo, you have come to this day. Yi Zairamu can easily control you." "Yes, sir, I'll explain to my wife when I get back." Su Luo wiped his sweat and explained with a wry smile. Yi Zairamu looked at Su Luo's performance on the phone and nodded with satisfaction. She still trusted Su Luo very much. Su Luo asked himself if he was worthy of Yi Zairamu's trust, and he also proved with facts that not all rich second generations are playful. Jiang Yu and Wu Chen are at two extremes. One is almost isolated from women, while the other only has 3 meals a day and 4 things to do with women. Su Luo got along well with the two of them, neutralizing their personalities. She had Wu Chen's love of playing, but also Jiang Yu's aversion to women. This is also why the three of them can get along well. After all, there is Su Luo who connects the three of them. "Haha, husband, you are such a coward." Yi Zairamu laughed when she saw Su Luo's look. The two chatted for a long time, and the smile never disappeared from their faces. "Wow, I couldn't sleep well today because you were not here," Yi Zairamu muttered with a pout. "I'll be back tomorrow, be good," Su Luo comforted with a smile. "But I couldn't sleep well tonight," Yi Zairamu pouted and said pitifully. "Then don't post the video, I'll watch you sleep at night." Su Luo looked at Yi Zairamu lovingly and said gently. "Yeah, then I'll go to the bathroom and come back to sleep." Yi Zairamu nodded with satisfaction and spoke. "Good." A few minutes later, Yi Zairamu lay back on the bed and appeared on the screen. "Then I'm going to sleep, and you're not allowed to hang up." Yi Zairamu lay on her side with her cell phone not far away, so that Su Luo could just see her pretty face. "Okay, I won't hang up." Su Luo also lay down and said softly. Yi Zairamu looked at Su Luo. They smiled at each other and then closed their eyes. The other side. At this time, Yi Zairachin was having fun in KTV with several classmates. "Old Yi, how come you suddenly became rich?" one of the classmates said. "My brother-in-law gave it to me," Yi Zairachin said proudly. "Don't worry about it, you've all been so kind to me before. Today, drink and have fun as much as you want. It's my treat, drink." Yi Zairachin picked up an opened bottle of beer, held it up and shouted loudly. "Ladies, cheer up." The atmosphere was lively, which made Yi Zairachin's thoughts complicated. Seeing his classmates and the little sister happy, Yi Zairachin felt happy from the bottom of his heart. The few people called over today were all the ones who took good care of him, often inviting him to dinner and taking him out to play. Before, he was always very nervous and worried because he couldn't pay it back. This time, he completely opened himself up. Although he didn't know what his brother-in-law was trying to do at this moment, Yi Zairachin just wanted to have fun. Chapter 239, Huang Ming's Conspiracy. After the song ended, Yi Zairachin returned to the hotel, washed up, and lay down on the bed. The noisy music still seemed to linger in his ears. He closed his eyes, and the scene of demons dancing wildly seemed still before his eyes. This day can be said to be the craziest day in the past 20 years. The envy of the waiters, the delicious food that makes you linger, and the beauties that dazzle your eyes. This kind of life suddenly opens up. Yi Zairachin suddenly had some enlightenment. The life that his brother-in-law took him to experience today could be achieved if he had money. My mother mentioned before that Liu Dihui is the boss, so he should be very rich. So is my brother-in-law letting me choose? Yi Zairachin clenched his fists tightly, then loosened them. He suddenly felt a little confused, because he found that he was actually a little shaken. It turned out that having money was so happy. He could make friends with his head held high and had fewer worries. Students in the class who perform better than him can also call him Brother Chen. But soon this thought ended when he thought of Yi Shuyan. If he made this choice, his mother would be heartbroken. Yi Zairachin was lost in thoughts and fell asleep unknowingly. In front of Wyndham Hotel. "Is this okay?" a man's voice. "I've been following for a few days and finally found an opportunity. I have to do it even if it doesn't work out." At this time, two unshaven men were squatting at the door of the hotel. If someone who was familiar with them saw them, they should be able to barely recognize them. It was Zhao Wei and Huang Ming who had conspired together before and tried to find Kai Kun to cooperate. At this time, a woman dressed in fancy clothes walked towards them. "Huh, two of you, that won't work," the woman said with a frown when she saw the two of them. "You have to pay more," the woman added quickly when she saw they were about to speak. "It's not us, go to room 2608 upstairs," Huang Ming said. "You?" The charming woman looked at the two men with some confusion, wondering if there was something wrong with them. "I'll give you the money first, then you go," Huang Ming said, taking out a stack of banknotes from his pocket and putting it in the woman's hand. Although she didn't count the amount, based on the unopened seal and the thickness of the money, the woman estimated that there was about 10,000 yuan. "Okay, just notify them and open the door, I'll be there right away." The woman put the money into her bag with a smile. "Okay, if the door is closed, he might be asleep, so just press the doorbell." Huang Ming nodded in agreement. "Okay," said the woman, walking towards the hotel, looking back from time to time. As a result, these two idiots were waiting at the door. Originally, after getting the money, the woman was ready to find a chance to retreat, but now it seems that there is no other way, so she just goes. The woman was obviously familiar with entering and leaving the hotel. She pretended to be calm and walked towards the elevator. On the other side, Huang Ming and Zhao Wei saw the woman walking to the elevator door and discussed it with each other. Zhao Wei waited at the door. Huang Ming entered the hotel and walked quickly into the stairwell. When he climbed to the 26th floor and came out, he saw the woman already standing at Su Luo's door. Huang Ming panted, took out his cell phone, and using the cover of the wall not far away, stretched out his hand and started taking pictures of the woman. At the same time, a smile appeared on his face. "Humph, let's see whether you die or not." He and Zhao Wei followed Su Luo all the way from Shanghai to Taixing. But Su Luo and Yi Zairamu had been together these days, and they had no chance. I originally thought that there was nothing to gain, but unexpectedly, Su Luo was left alone. Ding dong, the doorbell rang in Su Luo's room. Su Luo, who was sleeping soundly, was woken up. She opened her eyes and looked at the phone, which was still on the video, feeling a little confused. Ding dong, another doorbell rang. The woman at the door was cursing at this time. "If I could leave, I would leave now." I pressed it 3 times, but the door didn't open. There was nothing I could do. What's wrong?" Yi Zairamu opened his eyes in a daze and looked at Su Luo on the phone and asked. "I don't know, someone rang the doorbell. I guess Chenchen is back." Su Luo looked at the time, and it was already past midnight. "Why am I looking for you so late?" Yi Zairamu said with a pout. "I don't know, I'll go check it out," Su Luo said, walking towards the door with her cell phone. "Who is it?" Su Luo asked. "Your friend asked me to come," the girl at the door said in a low voice. Hearing the sound at the door, Su Luo's expression suddenly changed. At the same time, Yi Zairamu's expression suddenly became ugly, and he became sober. What could be going on when a woman comes to your house in the middle of the night? "Wife, don't be anxious. Listen to my explanation." Su Luo quickly lowered her voice and thought to herself that this couldn't really be the work of that brat Yi Zairachin. Your brother-in-law has been very good to you, yet you are taking revenge on him in this way. Did you make a mistake? Su Luo asked with a stiff face under Yi Zai'amu's gloomy gaze. How could I be wrong? 2608, this is it. Open the door quickly or I'll leave, the woman said anxiously. Wife, don't be angry first. I didn't tell that kid Chenchin my house number at all. Su Luo suddenly reacted after hearing the woman say 2608. Yi Zai'amu looked at Su Luo in confusion. After I checked in the room this morning, I sent Chenchin to the room first, and then I returned to the room. Logically, he didn't know where I lived. Su Luo frowned and thought, and at the same time sent a message to Yi Zai'arachin, asking where he was. What about when we checked in? Yi Zai'amu asked puzzledly. I probably didn't see it. Su Luo couldn't be 100% sure at this time. You'd better explain it to me clearly, otherwise you won't be able to get in bed with me again, Yi Zai'amu said with a pout. Yes, I will definitely explain it clearly, Su Luo said quickly. Will you open the door? If not, I'm leaving. The woman at the door was a little impatient. Huang Ming, who was hiding in the corner, was also a little anxious at this time. How could he take a picture of Su Luo if she didn't open the door? Tell me clearly who asked you to come? Su Luo walked to the door and looked through the peephole. Wow, it was really big. Can you let me go in and talk? It's not appropriate outside. After all, it's not good to stay at the door for a long time and be stopped by someone. Su Luo frowned. Yi Zai'arachin did not reply to the message. What was going on? Let her in and ask clearly. Just when Su Luo was in a dilemma, Yi Zai'amu's calm voice came out. It's not appropriate, Su Luo said with a bitter face. I've already video chatted with you. What's inappropriate about that? If it was really that kid Yi Zai'arachin who did it, you two should come back and wait. There was a faint light in Yi Zai'amu's eyes, which made Su Luo shiver. Chenchin, if this is really your fault, I will kill you. Chapter 240, I always believe in you, Are you going to open the door or not? If not, I'm leaving. The woman rang the doorbell again and said impatiently. Coming, Su Luo agreed. At the same time, she tapped the screen twice with her knuckles and started recording. Yi Zai'amu on the other side also started recording the screen. No matter what, Su Luoxiexil belongs to the entertainment industry, and her popularity has reached that of a second-tier star. For such things, he must preserve evidence. Then Su Luo opened the door. At this moment, Huang Ming was overjoyed. The moment Su Luo opened the door, he frantically pressed the camera button several times, and then immediately switched to video recording. What, you won't let me in? Seeing Su Luo blocking the door, the woman said charmingly. Su Luo turned sideways, let the woman in, and then closed the door. At this time, Huang Ming ran down the 26th floor excitedly in one breath. What's wrong? Why are you so out of breath? Zhao Wei saw Huang Ming coming down and immediately went up to him and asked. Big news, Huang Ming said excitedly. Got in? Zhao Wei asked in surprise. It's in, Huang Ming panted and kept talking. Why are you panting? I ran all the way down in one breath. Why do you think I'm panting? Huang understood what Zhao Wei said at a glance. Can't you just take the elevator down? Zhao Wei looked at Huang Ming as if he were a fool. Fuck, I was so excited I forgot. Your mental quality is too poor. Zhao Wei looked at Huang Ming with contempt and complained. Don't worry about those unimportant things. Let me show you what I took. Huang Ming said as he took out his cell phone and opened the photo album. Su Luo's side profile and the woman's side profile, followed by the screen recording, with Su Luo moving sideways to let the woman in. Sure, Zhao Wei said excitedly. Of course, Huang Ming shook his head proudly. So what should we do next? Zhao Wei asked. He, of course, will expose him on Weibo, Huang Ming said with a gloomy face. Hehe, Zhao Wei also laughed when he heard that. There are two psychopaths here, stay away from them. The man from a couple not far away said to the girl. You little bastard, say it again if you have the guts. Huang Ming, who had a bad temper, immediately stood up and shouted loudly. Old Big Bend, you're crazy, the man said, and then pulled the girl into the Wyndham Hotel. Okay, now is not the time to quarrel. When are we going to send it? Zhao Wei asked curiously. Well, watch me. Huang Ming thought for a moment, took out his mobile phone, opened Weibo, and registered a new account. See you on Monday. Is it really okay for you to post like this? Zhao Wei increasingly felt that being with Huang Ming was a bit of a letdown. Why not? Do you know how the paparazzi bosses release their revelations? Huang Ming glanced at Zhao Wei and said disdainfully. But you have 0 fans, no one watches it at all. Zhao Wei said quietly. Huang Ming said awkwardly. It's okay, I'll find someone to forward it tomorrow. Tomorrow, why not do it now? Zhao Wei asked doubtfully. Now, of course it would be. Huang Ming smiled evilly, closed Weibo, and called the police. Hey, I'm reporting that someone seems to be engaging in a sex for money transaction in room 2608 of the Wyndham Hotel. After saying that, Huang Ming hung up the phone. Wait, let's shoot some more footage, Huang Ming said, raising his eyebrows at Zhao Wei. Oh my God, you are just like me, you are so cunning. Zhao Wei immediately flattered him. Okay, I'll take it as a compliment. Let's hide, Huang Ming said, pulling Zhao Wei to hide. There are too many mosquitoes in the grass, Zhao Wei complained. Hold on, this is our chance to become famous in one fell swoop. By stepping on Su Luo, we can become the new generation of Dog King. Huang Ming spoke seriously while driving away mosquitoes. Okay, let's do it. Zhao Wei was infected by Huang Ming's mood and immediately spoke with full enthusiasm. Two people were hiding in the grass of the green belt in front of the hotel, their eyes fixed on the gate of the Wyndham Hotel. The other side. As soon as the woman closed the door, Su Luo opened it again. Tell me who asked you to come? Su Luo stood at the door, looking at the woman who was still walking inside, and spoke. What are you doing? I told you your friend asked me to come here, so stop wasting time and close the door. The woman turned around and saw Su Luo leaning against the door, speaking with some dissatisfaction. I was quite happy to see that he was a handsome boy, but why is he acting so arrogant? Okay, since he is a handsome boy, I will give him a discount later. Tell me who asked you to come. If you don't explain clearly, I will call the police. Seeing that the woman was acting a bit coquettishly, Su Luo felt that it was really difficult to get the point across, so she spoke directly. Hey, your friends have already paid. Don't worry, I'm not a scammer. At worst, I can refund you 2,000. Seeing Su Luo's expression, the woman thought that he was dissatisfied and spoke. Tell me clearly which friend it is, otherwise you can tell the police, Su Luo said seriously. I've already told you I'm your friend. If you don't need me, I'll leave. The woman's face changed when she heard Su Luo's words and saw that he seemed a little angry. Tell me in more detail, what friend? How did he tell you about it? Su Luo asked with a frown. There were two men standing in front of the hotel. They looked a bit slovenly and hadn't shaved in a while. The woman was frightened by Su Luo's appearance and felt as if she had been cheated. No wonder the man gave her so much money. She answered honestly. I guess someone did it on purpose. Liu Liu, let's call the police, Yi Zairamu said. Don't call the police, don't call the police. I'm leaving right now, I'm leaving right now. Yi Zairamu's words startled the woman, and she immediately began to speak with a pleading look on her face. Brother, if you really call the police, I will be detained. Brother, I will give you all the money and let you have fun for free. Can you please not call the police? The woman pleaded. Fuck you, let's go. Yi Zairamu's defense was immediately broken. She even spoke. Is this woman mentally retarded? After hearing what Yi Zairamu said, the woman was a little excited. She thanked him repeatedly, walked around Su Luo, opened the door, and ran out. Wife, do you believe me now? Su Luo turned off the screen recording and said with a wry smile. I've always believed in you, my dear. Yi Zairamu smiled sweetly and blinked at Su Luo. Then I feel relieved. Su Luo breathed a sigh of relief. That's it, that's it. She still believed me. Just now, she looked like she wanted to destroy me as soon as I got back. It's true that women are all dramatic. Liu Liu, it's obvious that someone is trying to frame you. Yi Zairamu came back to his senses and said nervously. Chapter 240 won $10,000, not shabby. Well, yes, I think it's possible that they had taken photos just now. Let's see if there are any rumors online. Su Luo said as she moved the WeChat chat to the background, opened Weibo, and casually flipped through it, but saw nothing. Nothing, I don't know if it hasn't been sent yet or what. Su Luo frowned and said, maybe it's not too late to send it now. Yi Zairamu said in a low voice. Maybe they've called the police, and they might be here soon. Su Luo lowered her head and thought for a while, then suddenly spoke. Will you be okay? Yi Zairamu asked worriedly. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. I'm just thinking about how to deal with this. Su Luo walked to the bed and sat down, looking at Yi Zairamu and said with a smile. We must call the police. Why are you still considering this? Yi Zairamu said in surprise. It's not a question of whether to report it to the police or not, but I don't know how to handle the online public opinion right now. Judging from the current situation, it must be intentional. Then he will definitely expose it online. Even if it is clarified by then, the impact will have already been produced. Su Luo said hesitantly. Oh, I shouldn't have opened the door if I had known. Yi Zairamu pouted and muttered unhappily. If I don't open the door, I won't know what's going on. I won't even know who's against me. He'll definitely find another opportunity, and that'll make it very difficult to deal with. There's at least one good thing about the current situation. At least we know in advance that someone is going to deal with me. There's no such thing as being on guard against thieves for 1,000 days. Su Luo smiled and began to comfort Yi Zairamu. But, ding-ling-ling, Yi Zairamu was about to speak when the doorbell rang. Wait, don't worry, I'll handle it. I'm going to hang up first. I think it might be the police. I'll get back to you later. Su Luo looked at Yi Zairamu, who looked a little nervous, and comforted her. She hung up the WeChat video chat, then stood up and walked to the door. Who is it? Su Luo asked as she walked. Hello, we are from the Taixing City Police Department. We have received a report and need you to open the door and cooperate. A male voice came from the door. Su Luo looked through the peak and saw 2 policemen, a man and a woman. Okay, Su Luo agreed and then opened the door. The male police officer walked in immediately and looked around. Did you bring your ID card? The female police officer stood at the door, looking at Su Luo with some confusion. This person looked so familiar. I have it, I'll give it to you, Su Luo said, rummaging through the clothes hanging by the door and handed over her ID card. What are your names? Su Luo asked. Li Tongyi. The female police officer took the ID card and spoke casually. Li Tenger, the male police officer said, and walked into the bathroom. Are you Su Luo? Li Tongyi looked at Su Luo in surprise, holding the ID card. Do you know me, a fan? Su Luo asked curiously. I'm a fan of Sister Miu Miu, Li Tongyi said with some surprise, and then looked at Su Luo expectantly. Can you please sign for me? Li Tongyi said as he handed over the folder in his hand. This signature won't be considered as my confession, Su Luo joked as she looked at the police record book. No, we still have a lot, Li Tongyi explained hurriedly. Su Luo smiled when she heard this, turned the paper over and wrote the words Su Luo on the back. Then he handed the folder back to Li Tongyi. Thank you. Li Tongyi held the folder in her arms with a smile on her face. No, Li Tenger said as he walked out of the bathroom. I'm sorry to bother you, sir. Li Tenger walked to Li Tongyi, said politely, and then prepared to leave. Officer Li, please stay, Su Luo said quickly. What's wrong? The two turned around in confusion. I suspect someone is deliberately framing me. Su Luo put her ID card away, then looked at the two of them and said seriously. After hearing Su Luo's words, the two looked at each other. Li Tongyi's eyes showed joy. There was a case. Li Tongyi is a newcomer and usually only takes on small tasks, always hoping to encounter a more complicated case. Of course, psychologically speaking, it is better not to encounter any cases. It is best to have no cases, but if there is a chance, she also wants to handle big cases. What do you mean? Li Tenger showed a serious look on his face. According to his experience, it is most likely true. After all, they were clearly reported for illegal transactions, but when they arrived, they found nothing. There were signs that the bathroom was used by only one person, and there was no relevant physical evidence in the trash can. Please come in. Su Luo stretched out her hand towards the inside. Then the two of them sat on the chairs beside the bed, and Su Luo sat beside the bed. This is what happened. Su Luo recounted the whole process. Li Tongyi took out a pen and took notes while listening. 20 minutes ago, the enchanting woman left Su Luo's room, but did not leave the Wyndham Hotel, because based on Su Luo's questions, she knew that it was very likely that someone deliberately wanted to frame the resident of room 2608. Then it was certain that the two men were still watching at the door, and if she went out now, she would probably be seen. It's not that she was afraid of affecting the residents of room 2608, but she was mainly afraid that the money would be taken back if she was seen by two people. After all, their line of work is shady, and if a dispute really arises, she will definitely not be able to keep the money. So she chose to hide in the safe passage. According to her estimation, if she could get out after an hour, there shouldn't be any problem. After all, she saw Su Luo, who was so young and should be in good health. Well, I'll stay here for a full hour. If it doesn't work, I'll sleep here tonight. 10,000 yuan is not bad. At this time, Huang Ming and Zhao Wei were enduring the bites of mosquitoes. Fuck, why haven't the police come yet? Huang Ming complained. I'm almost bitten to death. Zhao Wei also had a mask of pain on his face. Here it comes, Huang Ming said excitedly while patting Zhao Wei. Take a picture quickly. Zhao Wei took out his mobile phone and kept taking pictures of the police car, while also taking pictures of the Wyndham Hotel sign. Let's go, Huang Ming said in a low voice. Aren't you going to film Su Luo getting caught? Zhao Wei asked doubtfully. Fuck him, we just need to ruin his reputation. It doesn't matter whether he goes to jail or not, Huang Ming explained. If we go in, won't our reputation get even worse? Zhao Wei said with a puzzled look on his face. Fuck, do I have to say that there are too many mosquitoes here? I can't stand it anymore and want to shoo them away. You stay and shoo them away, Huang Ming said with a dissatisfied look on his face. Fuck, let's just shoot it. We don't know when it will come down, but we have enough material anyway, Zhao Wei said with a look of approval. Then Zhao Wei and Huang Ming stood up. Both of them had a lot of bags on their faces. They scratched their faces and left the Windham Hotel. Chapter 242, Answering Yi Zioachen's doubts. Did a woman really come here just now? Li Tenger asked. Yes, and this. Su Luo nodded, then played the recorded images and sounds to the two of them. Mr. Su, could you please send me this video? Li Tenger asked. It's my duty. Su Luo nodded, added Li Tenger on WeChat, and then sent the video. Ding dong, Yi Ziomo sent a video. Su Luo took a look at it and found it was the same as what he had recorded, so she didn't send it to Li Tenger. Thank you, wife. Don't worry, it's okay. We'll video chat later. Su Luo replied immediately. Mr. Su, if there is no problem, we will go back first. We will investigate your situation. Li Tenger stood up and said to Su Luo, Officer Li, I might be leaving Taixing tomorrow. Do I need to call the police again when I get to Shanghai? Su Luo also stood up and asked in confusion. Well, you don't have to report it. If you have any new clues, you can contact me directly. If it really involves the Magic City, we will contact the Magic City Police for assistance. Li Tenger explained. Any questions? Officer Li, the thing is, I'm a public figure, and I think someone is trying to frame me. According to normal procedures, if I were caught, they would probably hide and take pictures. Can you arrange for someone to conduct a search right now? Su Luo also stood up and said to the two of them, I'm very sorry, Mr. Su. Although you provided some evidence, it doesn't prove that someone secretly filmed you. We can't deploy more police force under this situation, Li Tenger said apologetically. Okay, that's okay. I still need to trouble you to help me investigate this matter as soon as possible. Well, we'll help you keep an eye on your surroundings when we leave, Li Tenger said. Thank you very much. Okay, then we'll leave first. Sorry to bother you today. After Li Tenger said that, he took Li Tongyi out. Don't disturb us. It's our duty to cooperate with the police, Su Luo said as she sent the two of them to the door. Su Luo watched the two of them leave, closed the door, then walked to the bed and played a video for Yi Zioamo. Honey, what's wrong? Yi Zioamo answered the video call immediately. I've already told them that they will help me file a case for investigation when we get back, Su Luo said. That's good. Yi Zioamo finally let go of the worry in her heart. Okay, stop thinking about it. Your husband is a very capable man. There will be no problem with this, Su Luo said with a comforting smile. Yeah, I believe you, husband, Yi Zioamo said sweetly. Okay, time to go to bed, Su Luo said with a smile. Oh, I can't sleep, Yi Zioamo said with a bitter face. Go to sleep, I'll sing for you, Su Luo said softly. Okay, Yi Zioamo nodded, then lay down and closed her eyes. The dark sky hangs low, with bright stars following. Along with the gentle singing, Yi Zioamo's breathing gradually stabilized. Su Luo looked at Yi Zioamo, who had fallen asleep, smiled, and closed her eyes. The next day, the weather was sunny. In the morning, Su Luo looked at Yi Zioamo, who was still sleeping sweetly, smiled, and hung up the video. Looking at the WeChat chat on her phone, Yi Zioachen still hadn't replied, so Su Luo called him. Hello, brother-in-law, Yi Zioachen said sleepily. It's time to get up and go downstairs to have dinner later, Su Luo said. Okay, brother-in-law, Yi Zioachen said and jumped up from the bed. Su Luo shook her head, hung up the phone, got up and went into the bathroom. Brother-in-law, Yi Zioachen looked at Su Luo several times, wanting to say something but stopping himself. What's wrong? Su Luo knew what the boy wanted to ask. She ate the egg in her hand and pretended not to know. Well, that's right. I want to know what my brother-in-law's purpose was in doing that yesterday. Yi Zioachen looked at Su Luo with curiosity. What do you think? Su Luo asked back. I feel like you want me to know what it's like to live like a rich person. Is this the life of Liu Dihui? So there were so many brothers-in-law yesterday. Was it because of Liu Dihui? Yi Zioachen recalled his thoughts from yesterday and began to express his ideas. Let me ask you first, how did you feel about your life yesterday? Su Luo smiled, put her hands together, and supported her chin. It feels great, but I'm also very nervous because it's not my money, Yi Zioachen said honestly. If you choose to follow Liu Dihui, you can indeed live the same life you lived yesterday every day. Su Luo looked thoughtful and spoke seriously. Brother-in-law, what are you doing? Yi Zioachen's face suddenly became uncertain. Did Su Luo want him to recognize Liu Dihui? Actually, I don't care at all about what choice you make, or whether you follow your mother or not, because these things can't affect me, but because your uncle owes you, and at the same time I also approve of your character. So, yesterday I gave you a brief taste of the life of a nouveau rich. Of course, perhaps because it was rushed, your experience wasn't very advanced. But it should also be much more colorful than your previous 19 years. So, let me ask you now, are you wavering? After Su Luo finished speaking, she looked at Yi Xiaochen and asked seriously, "Brother-in-law, I thought about this issue last night, and I am not shaken now." Yi Xiaochen told the truth that for a moment he was shaken, but when he thought about his mother's life and appearance, he felt that he could not leave her. "Chen, don't blame me. Yesterday wasn't meant to test your heart. People's hearts are unpredictable. It's normal for you to be shaken. Actually, my purpose is very simple. I want you to experience what it's like to be rich, and at the same time, I want to tell you that your brother-in-law's family is not short of money. At least this way, when Liu Dihui throws money at you, you won't be at a loss as to what to choose because he chooses to give the money to your mother." Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaochen and expressed her thoughts. He knew that Yi Xiaochen was a filial child, and Su Luo was also worried. Liu Dihui said that as long as Yi Xiaochen was willing to be with him, he would give Yi Shuyan a certain amount of money. What Su Luo did was to let Yi Xiaochen know that he treated Yi Xiaochen as his brother-in-law, and that his mother would also live a good life. Several purposes combined led Su Luo to allow Yi Xiaochen to experience a free life. Yi Xiaochen listened to Su Luo's words and nodded. Su Luo gave him 50,000 yesterday, but he still had more than 30,000 left last night. In other words, even if he achieved the kind of life that made him happy yesterday, he would not need so much money. Then the chips that Liu Dihui can give to him and Yi Shuyan are actually not that important. Chapter 243, Face to Face with Liu Dihui. "Let's go, silly boy," Su Luo said with a smile. "Where are you going?" "Go find Liu Dihui," Su Luo said, walking out of the restaurant. Oh, wait for me, brother-in-law," Yi Xiaochen said and hurriedly chased after him. After the two checked out, they called a car at the hotel entrance and got in. Master Taxing Seamless Transmission Belt Co. Limited. After getting in the car, Su Luo gave an address, which was the name of Liu Dihui's company. "Okay," the driver nodded, started the car and merged into the traffic flow. 30 minutes later, Su Luo and Yi Xiaochen got off the car. "Master, we are here to find Liu Dihui." Su Luo walked to the gate guard and said to the security guard. "Who are you?" the security guard asked in confusion. "Well, just say Yi Xiaochen is here," Su Luo said. "Oh, wait a minute," the security guard said and picked up the phone. "Okay, I got it," the security guard said into the phone and then hung up. "Our boss will be here soon, please wait a moment," said the security guard. "Okay," Su Luo nodded. "Come in and sit for a while." The security guard was quite enthusiastic and invited Su Luo and the others. "Thank you," Su Luo said, and took Yi Xiaochen into the security room and sat down. Su Luo took out a cigarette and handed it to the security guard. "Well, I don't smoke these." The security guard waved his hand. Seeing this, Su Luo didn't force him. He took out a cigarette and lit it himself. He wasn't a big smoker, but it was nice to smoke one when he had nothing to do. Yi Xiaochen sat next to Su Luo with mixed feelings. He didn't know how he should face Liu Dihui. Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaochen, smiled, and said nothing. Su Luo could not empathize with his feelings, so naturally she would not say anything to enlighten him. The purpose of his trip was simple: to complete the system task and put an end to the relationship between Yi Xiaochen and Liu Dihui. As for the outcome, Su Luo couldn't be 100% sure, but at least Su Luo could guarantee that Liu Dihui would not have the chance to harass her aunt and others again in the future. About 10 minutes later, a BMW 7 Series stopped at the factory gate. A white-haired old man came down, looking excited, and went straight to the guard room. "Chen." As soon as Liu Dihui entered the door, he saw Yi Xiaochen and shouted excitedly, "Mr. Liu, let's talk somewhere else." Su Luo stood up calmly and said in front of Yi Xiaochen, Okay, follow me." Liu Dihui was so excited that he didn't look like an old man at all. Su Luo and Yi Xiaochen followed behind and walked into an office building. On the third floor in the chairman's office, Su Luo and Yi Xiaochen sat on the sofa. Liu Dihui also sat down, looked at Yi Xiaochen with some excitement, opened his mouth but didn't know what to say. Yi Xiaochen couldn't stand the look in Liu Dihui's eyes, so he lowered his head and said nothing. "That, Chen." Liu Dihui looked at Yi Xiaochen a little excited. "Mr. Liu, I am Chenchen's brother-in-law, Su Luo." Su Luo patted Yi Xiaochen, then looked at Liu Dihui and spoke. Liu Dihui looked at Su Luo and frowned. He didn't know what Su Luo meant. Over the years, he has been trying to get Yi Xiaochen over, and every time he saw him, he was watching from a distance. 3 years ago, every time he found Yi Zairachin, Yi Shuyan would take Yi Zairachin to transfer schools and move. He hasn't appeared since Yi Zairachin went to high school, mainly because he was afraid that if he appeared, Yi Shuyan would move again and force Yi Zairachin to transfer schools. He knew the importance of high school, so he chose not to show up, but would appear near the school every once in a while and secretly watch Yi Zairachin. This is also the reason why Liu Dihui recognized Yi Zairachin at first sight. I wonder why you brought Chenchen here today? Liu Dihui was 60 years old after all, and he quickly controlled his emotions. I don't mean anything else. I just want Mr. Liu to stop harassing Chenchen's family. You should know that his life has nothing to do with you anymore. Su Luo had a calm expression on her face, pointing at Yi Zairachin and speaking lightly. That's impossible. Chenchen is my son. This is an indisputable fact. Liu Dihui raised his head and said seriously. 20 years ago, you chose your career and gave up both of them. This is an indisputable fact, and legally speaking, you have no relationship with them now. Su Luo's words hit Liu Dihui's heart directly, making him collapse instantly. 20 years ago, he had just settled Yi Shuyan when he was discovered by Wang Gaifen. What he did was to let Wang Gaifen bully Yi Shuyan and even drive her away. He did not show up when she was most helpless. The reason is that he cannot give up everything he has, even though he made plans in the following years to get the company into his hands. In the end, he sadly discovered that his so-called daughter was not his biological child. He cared even more about Yi Zairachin's existence because he was his biological son. I have a compelling reason, Liu Dihui said in a hoarse voice. Your reasons, in my opinion, are worthless to the two of them. I'm sorry, Chenchen, I'm sorry to you. There was regret on Liu Dihui's old face, which made Yi Zairachin feel a little soft-hearted for a moment. Su Luo, please give Chenchen back to me. He is my son. Everything I have belongs to him. Liu Dihui looked at Yi Zairachin, then looked at Su Luo expectantly and spoke pleadingly. Everything you have is just the result of your aunt's youth. To be honest, I really don't like it. As for Yi Zairachin, he is an adult and can be responsible for his own decisions. Actually, I could have avoided him and come to talk to you, but I think since he's an adult, he can make his own judgment. Chenchen, today we're face to face and looking directly at your inner thoughts. Your aunt hid it from you before, but now you know everything. He's right in front of you. There should be a result. This is an explanation to yourself and your mother. Su Luo looked at Yi Zairachin and spoke seriously. Yi Zairachin was a little confused for a moment. He looked at Liu Dihui, then at Su Luo. Liu Dihui looked at Yi Zairachin expectantly, while Su Luo took out her cell phone and browsed casually. He wanted to let Yi Zairachin make his own decision. After all, if he interfered with the outcome, maybe one day Yi Zairachin would hate him or regret it. In this kind of matter, no one is qualified to ask him to make a decision unless he is the party involved. Su Luo looked at her phone in confusion and suddenly found that many people had forwarded a Weibo post. See you on Monday. What's the meme? The meme about the entertainment industry's top paparazzi. Chapter 244, Choosing a Career Again. These people included some yellow Vs. Su Luo took a casual look and found that they were some yellow Vs from the Writers' Association. Is it related to him? Su Luo frowned. He vaguely remembered that when someone took the lead in discrediting him and Yi Zairachin, some people from the Writers' Association were involved. Tomorrow is Monday. Su Luo smiled in her heart. If it was really his business, Su Luo had roughly guessed who it was. Then this matter will be easy to handle. I sent the Weibo account of "See you on Monday" to Li Tenger. Account, Officer Li. I suspect the content exposed tomorrow on this Weibo account will be what happened last night. Got it, Mr. Su, don't worry. We've already filed a case. If this account actually posts something related to you tomorrow, we'll immediately investigate it. Li Tenger's message came back immediately. Really dedicated. Su Luo sighed in her heart. After all, she went out on patrol in the middle of the night yesterday and had to sort out the documents when she got home. It should have been a night shift, but at this moment, she was still able to reply to his message. Thank you for your hard work, Officer Li. After sending the message, Su Luo put away her phone. Mr. Liu, I have nothing to do with you. I hope you won't harass me and my mother in the future. After thinking about it for a while, Yi Zairachin looked at Liu Dihui and spoke calmly. Chenchen, you? Liu Dihui's face froze, and his disappointment was evident in his words. Don't call me Chenchen, we are not familiar with each other, Yi Zairachin said seriously. He was indeed a little soft-hearted towards Liu Dihui, but that was not soft-heartedness towards his father, but only towards the old man. Yi Zayarachin, I have a lot of money. I can make your life worry-free in the future, and my huge company will also be yours. Seeing this, Liu Dihui quickly stood up and said to Yi Zayarachin, Look, I still have a lot of money. He opened the bag in his hand and took out several stacks of cash. You are my son, all this is yours. I know you had a hard time before, but as long as you agree to follow me, all this money will be yours. Liu Dihui kept talking, and his hands began to tremble with excitement. I'm not your son, you have no appeal to me. If it weren't for my brother-in-law's request, I wouldn't even come to see you today. Yi Zayarachin thought to himself, it's a good thing that he has seen the charm of money. Otherwise, it would be a lie to say that he wouldn't be moved by just a few stacks of money in front of him. But at this moment, when he saw the money, he was very calm and not affected at all. Instead, he rationally said what was in his heart. Liu Dihui's mouth twitched as he wanted to speak. Since Chen has expressed his stance, Mr. Liu, I will state my request. From today on, do not appear in their lives anymore. Su Luo put away her phone, sat up straight, interrupted Liu Dihui and spoke. Why, I'm Yi Zayarachin's father. You have no reason to stop me. Liu Dihui looked excited, with a hint of anger on his face. For Chen and the other two, you are a nuisance. Their moving and transferring schools over the years have already explained it. You have no positive impact on Yi Zayarachin's growth, only negative. Without you, they would be better off. Su Luo looked at Liu Dihui and spoke with a stern expression. As for why, well, I'll give you two choices. Su Luo said, knocking her right leg on the sitting leg and said with a smile. First, give up the entanglement and keep your distance from each other from now on. That's impossible, Liu Dihui immediately denied. Secondly, you can try to continue pestering me, but I don't know if you can bear the consequences. Su Luo ignored Liu Dihui's words and continued speaking. Young man, you are threatening me. Liu Dihui narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice. A threat, it's okay if you understand it that way, Su Luo said with a smile. Yi Zayarachin on the side looked at Su Luo nervously. Oh, by the way, I forgot to introduce myself. BBD Auto is my company. Su Luo saw that Liu Dihui looked unhappy and spoke casually. What? Liu Dihui said in disbelief. His company was originally a subsidiary of Wang Group, and its largest customer was BBD Auto. Don't believe it, it doesn't matter, you don't need to believe it, just tell me your choice. Su Luo shrugged. For a moment, Liu Dihui's face was a little uncertain. He believed what Su Luo said and her performance, although he had never met the boss of BBD Automobile. But judging from Su Luo's confident expression, this was most likely true. At this time, he was hesitating. If he chose to continue to pester the issue, then his company would really lose its biggest customer and would be close to bankruptcy. If I stop bothering them, Liu Dihui said hesitantly. Don't worry, everything will remain the same. Su Luo smiled and said, It seems that Mr. Liu has made his choice. Chen, let's go. After a pause, Su Luo said with a smile, then stood up and walked out the door with Yi Zayarachin. Between career and family, Liu Dihui once again chose career. Mr. Liu, remember your choice and don't cross the line. When she reached the door, Su Luo turned around and looked at Liu Dihui, who was slumped on the sofa, and spoke lightly. Let's go. Looking at Yi Zayarachin, who was in a bad mood, Su Luo patted his shoulder and spoke. How do you feel? Su Luo looked at Yi Zayarachin and asked at the door. It's okay, I didn't have any high expectations in the first place. It's good the way it is now, Yi Zayarachin said with a forced smile. It's not that he hasn't had fantasies about his father. After all, that's human nature. Having never experienced fatherly love, he naturally imagined what his father was like. But when he really faced his biological father today, he found that his original fantasy was shattered, but he felt relieved in his heart. At least the current result is much better than my previous life. Take on your responsibilities and protect your mother from the wind and rain. Su Luo patted Yi Zayarachin's shoulder and said seriously. Yes, I will. Yi Zayarachin nodded and agreed solemnly. Okay, calm down and let's go back to Shanghai. By the way, don't tell your mother about this, Su Luo said and stopped a taxi. Yeah, I understand, Yi Zayarachin nodded. The trip to Taixing ended, and he was not going to intervene in the subsequent feud between the Wang family and Liu Dihui for the time being. But if the Wang family members don't understand, Su Luo won't hesitate to use some tricks. Wang Gijin is not worried. After all, he is a wise man, but Wang Xiang does not seem like an honest person. After all, the one who can take the initiative to find Yi Zayarachin is not an easy person to deal with, just a playboy. Chapter 245, Supplementary Enrollment of Tianhua University in Magic City. At noon, Su Luo took Yi Zairachin to have some lunch near the station, and then got on the bus. Without high-speed rail, the two people had no choice but to take a bus, and after a 4-hour drive, they arrived in Shanghai. As soon as the two got off the bus, they saw Zhu Linhui already waiting at the exit. "Brother-in-law, here!" Zhu Linhui waved her little hands and shouted loudly. "Let's go," Su Luo said to Yi Zairachin beside her, and then walked towards Zhu Linhui. Following Zhu Linhui, Su Luo sat in the passenger seat, and Yi Zairachin sat in the back seat. "Hui, thank you for your hard work," Su Luo said after getting in the car. "No, brother-in-law, this is what I should do," Zhu Linhui said, started the car and drove out of the parking lot. After returning home, Su Luo asked Zhu Linhui to stay for dinner, but Zhu Linhui quickly refused and drove away as if escaping. It's not appropriate for her to be at a family dinner, and she can still understand polite words. When Su Luo and Yi Zairachin returned home, dinner was already prepared. However, on this special day today, Su's father and mother did not come to eat. After saying hello to her parents next door, Su Luo returned to the restaurant and sat next to Yi Zairachin. "Today our family is reunited, let's cheers." If you were to ask who was the happiest person present, it would be Yi Zhenhua. "After so many years, I can let go of everything. There is nothing better than family reunion." Everyone raised their glasses, and except Yi Zairachin, everyone poured a little red wine to add to the fun. "Yanyan, I asked someone to find out about Chengchen University." Yi Zhenhua put down his cup and started talking about business. Yi Shuyan looked at Yi Zhenhua expectantly, and even Yi Zairachin's eyes lit up. After all, if he could go to college, he didn't want to go to a junior college or repeat a grade. "Hurry up and tell me, don't keep me in suspense." Seeing that Yi Zhenhua was still acting arrogantly, Sun Tingting immediately patted him and spoke. "Although I missed the undergraduate admission score by 1 point, I still have a chance to go to undergraduate school. That's because some undergraduate colleges don't recruit enough students, so they will conduct supplementary admissions." Yi Zhenhua was patted by Sun Tingting and immediately started to tell her what he knew. "What does the school say?" Yi Shuyan asked. "Tianhua University in Shanghai is a serious undergraduate institution. Although it's not a prestigious 985 or 211 university, it's considered quite good among undergraduate institutions. And if Chengchen is interested, he can continue his studies and apply to those prestigious universities in the future." Yi Zhenhua didn't keep anyone in suspense and spoke. "Can Chengchen come in?" Yi Shuyan hesitated. "Don't worry, I have an old classmate at Tianhua. I've checked with him. As long as Chengchen is willing and we report his information, there should be no problem getting him admitted. After all, it's only 1 point away." Yi Zhenhua said that although Huangxi was delayed, he did not make things difficult for others and followed the formal procedures. "This major may not be ideal, but I think that after entering undergraduate studies, whether you change your major or take the postgraduate entrance examination, it is all possible. If I really repeat the year, I'll have to wait at least another year, and I'm not sure what my grades will be like next year. If you go to a junior college and transfer to a university, you still have to wait 2 or 3 years, and in the end it will take an extra year." Yi Zhenhua analyzed the situation seriously. It was not because he thought repeating a grade or studying for a technical college was not a good idea, but because he learned about Yi Zairachin's popularity during the day and made this analysis. His academic performance is not outstanding, and his college entrance examination results are normal. If he really repeats the year, Yi Zairachin may not be able to withstand the pressure of senior year. If you want to study for a junior college, you will have to continue to work hard for 2-3 years. Transferring from a junior college to a university is no easier than the college entrance examination. "Yanyan, Chengchen, what do you think?" Finally, Yi Zhenhua looked at the two of them and asked. Yi Shuyan didn't say anything and looked at Yi Zairachin. "Uncle, I don't want to repeat a year. I'll listen to you if possible. Let's go to Tianhua University." Yi Zairachin thought about it for a moment and agreed. "Okay, then you prepare the information tonight and come with me to find my old classmate tomorrow." Yi Zhenhua nodded and said, "Okay, uncle." Yi Zairachin nodded and agreed. After the few of them finished their meal happily, Yi Shuyan took Yi Zairachin downstairs under his surprised gaze. "Mom, what is this?" Yi Zairachin asked in surprise. "Our home," Yi Shuyan said, opened the door and motioned Yi Zairachin to go in. This, Su Luo and Yi Zairachin returned to the room, and the two, who had just been separated for a day, kissed each other. "Honey, it's only been 1 day, and I'm not used to sleeping alone." After their lips parted, Yi Zairachin said with a pout, "You are so dependent on me now. Suluo pinched Izayaramu's nose lovingly and said with a smile, "Yeah, what should we do? You still have to go out to record a show later." Izayaramu rubbed his nose and said with a pout, "Then I'll rush back after the recording is finished that day." Suluo put her arm around Izayaramu's waist and said with a smile, "That's too tiring for you running back and forth," Izayaramu said with concern. "It's not hard. It's not you who sticks to me, it's me who sticks to you." Suluo raised her hand and touched Izayaramu's cheek, saying softly, "Hateful." Izayaramu had no resistance to Suluo's love words and muttered with a red face, "Hey, okay, time to wash up." "Yeah," Izayaramu nodded and followed Suluo into the bathroom. The sound of dripping water came from the bathroom, occasionally accompanied by Izayaramu's sweet laughter. An hour later, Suluo and Izayaramu lay on the bed facing each other, chatting. Suluo told Izayaramu about the news she found on Weibo today, not intentionally making Izayaramu worry. But Suluo was afraid that if this news was really from him, if she didn't tell him in advance today, it would make her more worried later. As long as you make it clear in advance, it will make her feel more at ease. "What are you going to do?" Izayaramu, who had calmed down, looked at Suluo and asked curiously. "If it was true, I wouldn't wait for things to ferment. I would just clarify it right away." Although Suluo could definitely use this as an opportunity to fish, it was actually unnecessary. Making too many enemies for no reason would make her seem like a villain. Just based on the rumor mongering and the previous honey trap incident, this was a purposeful and planned illegal and criminal incident. Although no extortion was committed, the impact it caused was huge. There is a high probability that he will be sentenced because of the great social impact it has caused, and Suluo's reputation will also be affected. "That's fine. Why are there always people picking on us? We clearly didn't do anything," Izayaramu complained somewhat dissatisfiedly. Chapter 246, Izayarachan's university life is settled. "Society is like this. There will always be bad people. Don't worry, I will protect you and Zaya-Xeo." Suluo reached out and touched Izayaramu's bulging belly and comforted her with a smile. "Yeah," Izayaramu narrowed his eyes and nodded in response. "Let's go to sleep then," Suluo said with a smile. "No, what song did you sing yesterday?" Izayaramu asked while holding Suluo's hand. "Chang'erfei, what's wrong?" Suluo asked curiously. "I want to hear more." Izayaramu smiled sweetly at Suluo and spoke. "Okay, then I'll sing for you," Suluo said and began to sing softly. "The stars in the sky are weeping, and the roses on the ground are withering." Izayaramu listened to Suluo's singing, slowly closed her eyes, and a smile played on the corner of her mouth. The next day, Suluo and Izayaramu woke up. Yi Zhenhua has taken Izayarachan out to do some business, and Sun Tingting is not at home either. She must have gone out for a walk. Two people sat in the restaurant and had breakfast. "Hasn't it been sent yet?" Izayaramu asked when he saw Suluo looking at her phone. "Breaking news, see you on Monday." The Weibo account still has this one message. "No, the netizens below are urging us to do so," Suluo said with a smile, without a trace of worry on her face. "It's probably still early now, so there aren't many people here," Izayaramu guessed. "Well, it's possible. Let's ignore him for now and wait until he makes a move." Suluo put down the phone and looked at Izayaramu and said. After they finished their breakfast, they returned to the bedroom and changed out of their pajamas. Then Suluo took Izayaramu to Zayaramu Entertainment. "Zio Zio Luo, you are here," Tanya said in surprise when she saw Suluo and the others walk in. "Yeah," Izayaramu nodded and walked to the sofa and sat down. "Sister Ye, how is the company lately?" Suluo sat down next to Izayaramu, looked at Tanya and asked. "It's okay. Although we're not recruiting any more artists or trainees, the existing resources are just saturated. The current announcements I've received are just enough to keep my income and expenses balanced. Next, it all depends on how You Are My Pride performs after filming is finished." Tanya sat on the sofa next to Suluo and spoke, handing over the documents in her hand. "Sister Ye, I came here today mainly because I have something to tell you in advance." Suluo took a quick look at the contents of the file, placed the folder on the coffee table, and began to speak. Go ahead," Tanya asked, a little confused. "It was yesterday." Suluo recounted what had happened. Tanya frowned as she listened to Suluo's words. "So there's a high possibility that someone will spread rumors about you today," Tanya said. "Yes," Suluo nodded. "Then what do you want to do?" Tanya asked seriously. "Actually, Zayaramu and I said that we should just produce the evidence and clarify the matter, and then hand it over to the police. But I always feel uncomfortable for some reason." Suluo held Izayaramu's hand and spoke. After all, others spread rumors at will, and Su Luo got evidence because she was more cautious. Compared with these, she always felt that the punishment given to the person behind the scenes was a bit too light. Well, wait and see, I don't think you will be disappointed here, Tanya said with a smile. According to Su Luo, this was probably caused by Huang Ming, who was previously expelled from the Writers' Association. However, once the news is released, it may not be just this one person who will take advantage of the situation. It may very well be the companies that compete with Xiaomu Entertainment. Sister, you're okay. If you feel unhappy, just get a few more people to vent your anger on you. Su Luo listened to Tanya's words and teased with a smile. What else can I do? This is unpleasant. Isn't that the case? I have to vent it out, Tanya said with a smile. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Let's go back and cook today. Su Luo said this, stood up, and pulled Yi Xiaomu away from Xiaomu Entertainment. The two bought some vegetables at the vegetable market near the community and returned home. Xiaomu, watch TV for a while, I'll go cook. After entering the door, Su Luo took Yi Xiaomu to the living room and said, Okay, go ahead. Yi Xiaomu nodded obediently. Yi Xiaomu was playing the third episode of Come On, Trainees, which aired on the 6th in the living room. Su Luo walked into the kitchen and started cooking. Xiao Luo, why are you cooking? Let me do it. Not long after, Sun Tingting came back and saw Su Luo busy in the kitchen and spoke. Mom, you go and have a rest. Leave lunch to me today. Su Luo turned around and smiled. Okay, just tell me if you need any help. Sun Tingting nodded with satisfaction. She was very satisfied that her son-in-law could cook. Not long after, Yi Zhenhua and Yi Xiaochen also came back. How is it? Sun Tingting asked when she saw Yi Zhenhua come in. Okay, you should receive the admission letter soon. Yi Zhenhua replied with a smile. That's good. Old Yi Chenchen, go and ask Yanyan to come up for dinner later. Sun Tingting nodded, then looked at Yi Zhenhua and the others and gave them instructions. At noon, Sun Tingting called Su Siyuan and Sun Yun over and introduced Yi Shuyan and Yi Xiaochen. Su's father and mother were not very surprised by this, as Su Luo had already mentioned it to them before. Hey, Xiao Luo, I have something to trouble you with. Yi Zhenhua looked at Su Luo and said, Dad, you say? Su Newell put down his chopsticks. There are still about 2 months left. Take Chenchen to exercise and find something to do. Yi Zhenhua looked at Yi Xiaochen, then at Su Luo and spoke. Su Luo looked at Yi Zhenhua. It seemed that her father-in-law was quite traditional. This had already made Yi Xiaochen the only male heir in the Yi family. Okay, Dad, I'll arrange this. Su Luo nodded and agreed happily. Why not just learn to drive first? There are plenty of things to do this summer. Then, after thinking for a while, Su Luo made a suggestion. Xiao Luo, will this be too much trouble for you? Yi Shuyan looked at Su Luo with some concern. Yi Shuyan was not very familiar with Su Luo, and he was also Yi Zhenhua's son-in-law. The mother and daughter had caused too much trouble for Su Luo. It is not very appropriate to let Su Luo arrange it at this time. It always feels like taking advantage of someone else's daughter and son-in-law. This made Yi Shuyan feel a little guilty. After all, if she was thick-skinned, she could have kept a lot of things that Yi Zhenhua gave her. Aunt, it's okay. These are just small things. Su Luo waved her hand and said quickly, indicating that these things were no big deal. That's right, Aunt, it's okay. Just leave this matter to Liu Liu. Yi Xiaomu also echoed from the side. Aunt is here, thank you both, Yi Shuyan said seriously. Aunt, you're welcome. Really, I'll arrange it this afternoon. Su Luo nodded and immediately spoke solemnly. Flying Insects. Lyricist, Lin Zai. Composer, Chen Guanggrong. Original singer, Ekin Cheng / Children's Chorus. Chapter 247, Public Opinion begins. After dinner, everyone went back to rest. Su Luo accompanied Yi Xiaomu for a nap. Then he called Yi Xiaochen and took him to the vehicle management office, where he underwent a physical examination and registered for a driver's license in one go. Nowadays, driving schools no longer need to worry about giving out cigarettes. When Su Luo was learning a few years ago, she would give her instructor a cigarette whenever she had the chance. Thank you, brother-in-law. On the way back, Yi Xiaochen, who was sitting in the passenger seat, looked at Su Luo and said, Get your driver's license during this holiday. I'll call you when something happens. Su Luo waved her hand and said with a smile. Since her aunt asked her to help, Su Luo would take her to practice. After all, she is one of them. Whether it is starting a company in the future or hiring people, Yi Xiaochen and Su Yan will be closer than others. After all, they are relatives. The recent events have affected Su Luo's previous bad mentality. During these few months, I encountered a lot of things, including daily programs for couples, entertainment for brothers, and that unknown member of the Writers' Association. All of this indicates one thing, that is, Su Luo's strength is still too shallow and he has no foundation, which allows anyone to come and jump in front of him. For this reason alone, Su Luo felt that she should take it seriously. After all, the baby would be born in a few months. By then, I won't have the energy to deal with such things. Okay, brother-in-law, Yi Zairachin said with a smile on his face, interrupting Su Luo's thoughts. Su Luo shook her head and stopped thinking. In fact, there was no point in thinking so much. In fact, when you stand at the top, you will be surrounded by good people. After sending Yi Zairachin home, Su Luo also returned home. It was already July and the weather outside was getting hot. As soon as I entered the door, I felt a chill. You're back. Yi Zaioamu was standing at the bedroom door in her pajamas. Well, I just took Chenchin to register for driving school, Su Luo said, changed into slippers and walked to Yi Zaioamu's side. Yeah, Yi Zaioamu immediately stepped forward and took Su Luo's arm, nodding repeatedly. By the way, there's nothing else to do next. We should go for the prenatal checkup tomorrow, Su Luo reminded. Okay, then you accompany me tomorrow. Yi Zaioamu nodded and said to Su Luo. That's for sure. Su Luo put her arms around Yi Zaioamu and walked towards the bedroom while speaking. Looking at Yi Zaioamu lying on the bed, Su Luo sat by the windowsill, holding a book in her hand and read quietly. In broad daylight, Su Luo naturally would not lie in bed with Yi Zaioamu. Every once in a while, Su Luo would get up and hold Yi Zaioamu's hand and walk around the room. As for Yi's father and mother, they are very busy and basically go out for a walk during the day. They used to go to their neighbors' houses, but now they can go to the house opposite or downstairs. Because Su Luo was there, they were quite relieved that Yi Zaioamu was at home. At dinner time, Yi Zaioamu mentioned that she wanted to live in Gyuanting. It's more spacious over there, Yi Zaioamu said. Okay, it will be more comfortable for you young people to live by yourselves. Finally, Sun Tingting nodded and agreed. After dinner, Su Luo and Yi Zaioamu drove back to Gyuanting. It wasn't far and they arrived in a few minutes. Villa number 36, Su Luo opened the door. The villa had been cleaned and was very clean. The two returned to the master bedroom, and Yi Zaioamu nodded with satisfaction. After all, the master bedroom here was indeed much larger. Although neither of them is the kind of person who cares too much about living conditions, they feel more comfortable living in a larger room. At 8 o'clock in the evening, the two people, after washing up, lay on the bed and chatted. Ding-ling-ling, Su Luo's phone rang. Hello, Sister Ya, Su Luo answered the phone. Look at Weibo, the account you mentioned posted a photo and it's now on the trending search, Tanya said immediately. Okay, let me take a look, Su Luo said and hung up the phone. Yi Zaioamu next to her had already opened Weibo immediately. Breaking news, a certain public figure actually has a PC. Picture, more news to come, will be announced once the number of fans reaches 5 million. Hot. Su Luo also opened her phone and saw the 10th hot search, which was this title. Maybe because no name came out, the popularity was not that high. So I clicked on it and saw a picture of Su Luo opening the door and a gorgeously dressed woman standing at the door. The profiles of both of them were blurred. Oh my God, this woman has a great figure. I think even if it were me, I wouldn't be able to handle it. Damn Mosaic, who is this? I can't really tell. I feel like there might be some kind of transaction involved here. This is intentionally blurred. This guy knows traffic, isn't this a confirmed case? Without mosaics, it could be AI, but with mosaics, it must be real. At breaking news, keep going. What big news is coming next? Are they really going to wait until they reach 5 million followers before announcing it? Guys, give them a follow. Online eating melons, anyway. I'm not a fan of celebrities. The first time Su Luo saw the photo, she knew that it was indeed him. At this time, he did not take immediate action. After all, he had not yet revealed his face, and there was no way to prove that the other party was spreading rumors. After looking at the comments below, most of them are just spectators. Liu, what should we do now? Yi Zaioamu looked at Su Luo and asked worriedly. Wait and see, this person also sent me a private message. Let me take a look. Su Luo smiled at Yi Zaioamu. Su Luo, you should know that this photo is of you, ha ha ha. If you don't want me to be exposed, then prepare 10 million. Image, this is the payment code. I'll give you 1 hour. In a hotel room in Shanghai, Huang Ming finished sending a private message and grinned. Zhao Wei, who was standing next to him, came over and saw what he had sent. Is this guy an idiot? Zhao Wei shouted in his heart. Originally, their behavior would at most result in detention. If Huang Ming does this, it will take at least 3 years. At this moment, Zhao Wei only wanted to save himself. It's almost done. I'm going home first. My wife has been suspicious of me lately. Zhao Wei thought of a reason and spoke. Suspect you? Suspect you of what? Huang Ming was staring at his phone with a silly smile. When he heard what Zhao Wei said, he was stunned and asked, "You damn suspected that I was cheating on you? What else could you suspect me of?" Zhao Wei said, gritting his teeth. "These are all small matters. When we get the 10 million, we will split it equally. Your wife won't say anything if you take a picture of it in her face," Huang Ming said with a smile. Really? Zhao Wei pretended to be very happy, but he really didn't care in his heart. Is it so easy to get the money? Chapter 248. The leader of the Navy is already giving out bonuses. Of course, don't worry. We two brothers have both made great efforts for this matter, so the money will definitely be divided equally. Huang Ming's face showed excitement. After so many years, he had been relying on his old capital and had no money left. This sum of money can make him turn his life around. What else does he need a bicycle for? What's the point of the Writers' Association? It's not as good as money. Okay, but I have to go back first. Zhao Wei looked at Huang Ming's smug look and didn't want to discourage him, so he turned and left without saying anything else. This idiot, Huang Ming cursed inwardly as he looked at Zhao Wei's back. Huang Ming had no intention of sharing the money with Zhao Wei. As soon as the money arrived, he was ready to run away. Looking at the empty room, Huang Ming's eyes turned. He took out his cell phone and made a call. Su Luo looked at the QR payment code in the private message, and a hint of question flashed in her eyes. This action made Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu laugh. After taking a screenshot of the private chat record, Su Luo saved the payment code. Ding, WeChat chat was scanned. The payee is shown above, Ming. Su Luo immediately recalled that the person who had been expelled from the Writers' Association was called Huang Ming. Originally, Su Luo was not sure if it was him. After all, it was guessed that it was someone from the Writers' Association, but it might also be someone related to Huang Ming. However, this payment code can be said to be a confirmed fact. Immediately, Su Luo canceled the transfer and sent the screenshot to Li Tenger. Wife, it can be confirmed that this person is Huang Ming, the one who was expelled from the Writers' Association for stirring up trouble. Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu's curious eyes and spoke. Well, can you handle it? Yi Xiaomu asked. Don't worry, there's no problem. Su Luo put her arms around Yi Xiaomu and comforted her. Ding dong, WeChat message, Li Tenger's message was replied. This constitutes extortion, and the sentence will be heavier, at least 3 to 10 years. Li Tenger sent a message. This account should belong to Huang Ming, a former member of the Writers' Association. I believe you can find out by scanning the payment code. It is not ruled out that someone else is using Huang Ming. Su Luo typed quickly and replied. We haven't found that woman yet, and the information online doesn't constitute any violation of the law for the time being. Based on the information we have so far, we can't convict him. We can only wait to find that woman and testify against her, or to confirm that he started the rumor online. Su Luo looked at Li Tenger's message and nodded, although all the content indicated that it was Huang Ming. However, the woman was not found, and there was no way to determine that it was Huang Ming who ordered it. In addition, Huang Mingqiao did not send any photos he took in the private message, so just looking at the two private messages, it is impossible to fully define it as extortion. The actual legal definition of extortion is through threats, intimidation, blackmail, etc., and the blackmail is not on the spot or at the time. Although Huang Ming's words were threatening, his decision not to post the photos was controversial. I understand. Thank you for your help, Officer Li, Su Luo replied. Li Tenger put away his phone and immediately got up, changed his clothes, went to the police station and called Li Tongyi. As a policeman, once he has learned that someone is about to commit a crime, he must begin an investigation. Once he finds out that it is Huang Ming himself, he will immediately arrest him to prevent the crime from happening. As for Su Luo's plan of waiting for something to happen and then reporting it to the police, it would have been fine if he didn't know. Even if he knew, he would never listen to Su Luo. Otherwise, wouldn't that just be a fishing expedition? The other side. Action. With the order, a group of people surrounded the hotel. Knock, knock, knock. There was a knock on the door. This made Huang Ming, who was playing the shooter, tremble and accidentally used his ultimate move. The playmate Huang Ming had just called over, looked at him in horror. The two people didn't dare to speak and chose to leave the game idle. Ding, the sound of swiping the door card was heard. Don't move. Several policemen walked in immediately. Seeing Huang Ming and another woman, he asked them to put on their clothes and then took them out of the hotel. There were many men and playmates traveling with them, and many of them must have missed the big move and looked dejected. What, you mean headgear? Playmates wear them. The panicked Huang Ming even saw a man wearing women's clothes. My mentality exploded. I actually encountered a special operation. Su Luo and Yi Zairamu did not continue to pay attention to the news on the internet, but went to bed early. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the number of followers of the Weibo account that broke the news had reached 5 million, but there was no response. Fuck, didn't they say they'd reveal the news once they hit 5 million followers? Where's the person? Where's the person? Is this a traffic scam? Unfollow, unfollow, report. Fuck, I have to report this. My girlfriend didn't even play anymore, just waiting to watch, and this is the result. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I can play with your girlfriend. The number of fans of this account dropped by 2 million in a short period of time, and is still decreasing. This night made many male idols nervous. They did not reply to the private messages, and even if their fans counted, they would not continue to expose the news. Kai Kun, in particular, was almost scared to death. He even thought that his previous photos had been posted. Lu Yixin himself was also paying attention to this matter, and he understood the atmosphere of their Yixin culture. In fact, during this critical period, it was not just their entertainment company that paid attention. Most entertainment companies were receiving the breaking news on Weibo that night. In fact, the reason why the number of fans increased to 5 million in 2 hours was that various entertainment companies also made a lot of efforts and spent money to hire water armies to pay attention. This also made some water army leaders earn a lot of money. After all, they could collect money from several companies by following one account. This kind of attention and unfollowing is the key. The leader of the water army is already giving out bonuses now. The entertainment company bosses who had spent the money, including Lu Yixin, were almost furious. They had spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this was the result. With Su Luo's advance greeting, Mo Yu Entertainment naturally resumed get off work as usual, and was full of joy. Zhu Qing from the crew rolled her eyes at Jiang Yu even more. In her words, all men are really bad. Behind the rippling Weibo that night, the bigwigs were in turmoil, and the public relations departments were ready to either whitewash or discredit. The culprit is in the interrogation room right now. Name, Huang Ming. Gender, male. Do you know what's going on? I know, I admit it. Huang Ming lowered his head and did not try to quibble. Comrade, can we not notify the family? No, according to regulations. He needs to be detained for 10 days, fined, and his family will be notified. Then can I make a phone call, please? Huang Ming looked at the person in front of him pleadingly. Chapter 249. I thought I had never heard of this joke. Sister-in-law, I'm Zhao Wei. Huang Ming was just caught driving under the influence. After receiving the call, Zhao Wei helplessly called Huang Ming's wife. What, is that serious? The woman asked nervously. I estimate he will be detained for 15 days. What should we do then? The woman became nervous. But it's okay. I used some connections and now I can get out after paying a 5,000 yuan fine. Zhao Wei saw that the woman seemed to have lost her mind and started talking. Is this okay? Don't worry, it's okay. Just pay the 5,000 fine. It's just that it has been changed to PC. I've already negotiated it. When the time comes, you can just go and pay the fine directly. You will accept whatever the other party says, Zhao Wei said in a low voice. Fuck, do you think I haven't heard this joke before? This quick shooter actually dared to pee. I'm going to kill him, the woman said angrily. Zhao Wei quickly hung up the phone, smiling but feeling a bit guilty, hoping that Huang Ming would be fine when he returned. As for why Huang Ming did not have to stay in jail for 10 days, we can only say that he was lucky before, and this was his first time being arrested. Huang Ming was slapped twice by his wife and was taken home with tears in his eyes. He hid quietly in the bathroom. It was discovered that there was no transfer on the mobile phone. At the same time, Weibo was also exposed, and there were only 2 million fans left. Fuck, this bitch is delaying my work. When I'm done, I'll make sure she sees how powerful I am. Huang Ming cursed and opened Weibo. Breaking news, the news is out. The public figure in question is Su. According to reports, he was taken away by relevant authorities that day. Photo, please stay tuned for details. Huang Ming uploaded the photos he took of the police arriving that night, and the name of the Wyndham Hotel was blurred out. Then he stood up, looked angry, and walked out of the bedroom. He wanted revenge and give that old woman a little taste of sweetness. 5 minutes later, Huang Mingsheng lay on the bed with no hope. On the other hand, Zhao Wei left all his savings to his wife and left a divorce agreement and a letter. Then he rushed to the airport overnight and fled to another place to avoid the limelight. He was willing to take revenge on Su Luo, but he didn't dare to commit a crime. He had never expected things to come to this point. I originally thought Huang Ming was a little mentally retarded, but that was still acceptable. However, since he is mentally retarded to this extent, we can only blame him for not understanding him. The next day, Su Luo opened her eyes and saw Yi Zairamu still sleeping beside her. She smiled, took the phone from the side and opened Weibo. Although the disclosure was postponed, the information released later still attracted a large number of onlookers. It also made a large number of entertainment companies breathe a sigh of relief. After all, the news had been revealed about the public figure Su. There are really few celebrities with the last name Su, and the only popular one lately is Su Luo, right? Is another rising star about to fall from grace? Xiao Mu is pregnant Su Luo. It seems to make sense, I'm confused. Su Luo frowned as he looked at the rhythm about him that appeared below Weibo. A delicate hand reached out and gently stroked his brow. Don't frown, Yi Zaiamu's voice came out softly. Yeah, Su Luo put down the phone, looked at Yi Zaiamu and nodded in agreement. What's wrong? Is it about what happened yesterday? Yi Zaiamu stroked Su Luo's nose and asked gently. Yes, but don't worry, I can handle it. Su Luo reached out and held Yi Zaiamu's hand, saying, Are you hungry? What do you want to eat? Seeing that Yi Zaiamu was relieved, Su Luo asked. I'll eat whatever you cook, Yi Zaiamu said with a sweet smile. Okay, then let me get it done. Su Luo said, sat up, put on her pajamas, and walked out of the bedroom. When Su Luo walked out of the room, Yi Zaiamu's face changed, and he picked up Su Luo's cell phone with a serious expression. I saw the latest Weibo post and comments from Beilio. Then Yi Zaiamu checked the private message. Revelation, the payment hasn't been made yet. Did you see that? You probably don't want your wife to know, right? Hurry up, if you transfer 10 million, I will delete the Weibo immediately. Otherwise, I will send out all the photos directly at 12 noon. Yi Zaiamu looked at the private message in her hand and narrowed her eyes, although she was very angry now. But she was not the kind of person who acted on her own. After taking a screenshot of the chat history, she opened Su Luo's Weibo homepage. The comments below were exploding. Yi Zaiamu casually flipped through them, pouted, and threw her phone aside with an unhappy look on her face. He got up, put on his slippers, and walked out. He walked downstairs, ran to the kitchen, and hugged Su Luo from behind. What's wrong? Su Luo, who was frying eggs, turned down the fire, reached out and held Yi Zaiamu's hand and asked softly. Unhappy, Yi Zaiamu pouted. Why are you unhappy? Seeing that the fried eggs were ready, Su Luo turned off the fire, turned around, looked at Yi Zaiamu and asked softly. I checked Weibo, and I was unhappy when I saw rumors were spread about you. Yi Zaiamu pouted and muttered. So that's how it is. Don't worry, your husband and I are prepared. Su Luo smiled, reached out to touch Yi Zaiamu's head and spoke gently. I know, but I'm not happy when I see someone spreading rumors on your Weibo. Yi Zaiamu raised her head and said in a sob voice. Oh, how come my Zaiamu has turned into a crying monster? Su Luo teased with a smile. You're the weird one, humph. Yi Zaiamu rolled his eyes at Su Luo and said angrily. Have you washed up? Su Luo rubbed Yi Zaiamu's head and asked. No, what's wrong? Then go wash up and get ready for breakfast, Su Luo said with a smile. I don't, hee. Yi Zaiamu said, let go of Su Luo and walked towards the restaurant. Su Luo shook her head, turned around, served the fried eggs, and brought them to the dining table. Then, she went into the kitchen and came out with 2 bowls of noodles. Let's eat. Looking at Yi Zaiamu, who was crying for food, Su Luo said with a smile. I didn't brush my teeth. Do you hate me? Yi Zaiamu asked with a grin. You know you didn't brush your teeth. Hey, brush after you finish eating. Okay, Su Luo nodded. Don't worry about the trivial matters. They can be resolved today. Don't worry. Looking at Yi Zaiamu, who was eating breakfast seriously, Su Luo spoke. Really? Yi Zaiamu looked up and asked. Really, don't worry. Su Luo nodded affirmatively. That's good, husband. Eat quickly. It's super delicious. Yi Zaiamu said, lowering her head and started eating. After dinner, Yi Zaiamu leaned back on the sofa, looking very happy. Xiao Mu, get up and walk around. After finishing the dishes, Su Luo walked into the living room and spoke to Yi Zaiamu. Chapter 250, this is the 3rd time. Oh, we have to go again, I'm so tired. Yi Zaiamu pouted and complained. Proper exercise is good for you. Su Luo helped Yi Zaiamu walk in the yard. What exercise? Hee. Yi Zaiamu leaned close to Su Luo's ear and whispered softly. Stop driving. Su Luo reached out and knocked Yi Zaiamu on the head, saying unhappily. Honey, how about some exercise tonight? The moderate exercise you mentioned is good for me. Yi Zaiamu hugged Su Luo's arm, and said with a sweet smile, "Stop doing that." Su Luo reached out and slapped Yi Zaiamu's butt. Su Luo also wanted to, but given Yi Zaiamu's current state, neither of them would be satisfied, so they could only wait. Yi Zaiamu looked at Su Luo, smiled, and didn't continue teasing him. She knew what was going on between the two of them. I could only think secretly in my heart that after the baby was born and I recovered, I must have a good experience with Su Luo. After running with Yi Zaiamu for a while, the two returned to the bedroom and washed up together. "Honey, you haven't brushed your teeth yet?" Yi Zaiamu looked at Su Luo in surprise as she was squeezing toothpaste for her and asked curiously. "Haha, of course not." Su Luo went downstairs to make breakfast right after getting up, so naturally she had no time to wash up. Little sloppy, little sloppy." Yi Zaiamu took the toothbrush handed to her and hummed softly. "The eldest one doesn't laugh at the second one," Su Luo said with a smile. Not long after, the two of them finished washing up and sat on the sofa in the living room on the first floor in their pajamas. "Honey, don't you have to go to the company today?" Yi Zaiamu leaned on Su Luo and asked puzzledly. "I'm not going today. Sister Ye is at the company, so I don't need to worry about anything." Su Luo nodded and explained. "You don't have to accompany me every day," Yi Zaiamu said in a low voice. In Yi Zaiamu's heart, Su Luo was very capable, and she felt that accompanying him all day long was hindering Su Luo's development. In particular, Su Luo can write songs, scripts, and novels. "Don't worry, you won't delay me. If there is anything, I can go to the study to deal with it." Su Luo touched Yi Zaiamu's head and comforted her. "Oh, by the way, how is Chenchen doing?" Yi Zaiamu nodded, not dwelling on the previous question. "No problem, just practice driving during this period. I'll take him to practice and experience life later." "Well, my dad loves him very much." Yi Zaiamu nodded and said with a smile. "Haha, our dad treats him as the son of the Yi family. He wants to have many children for the Yi family in the future." "No way, my dad doesn't have the idea of favoring boys over girls." Yi Zaiamu patted Su Luo and muttered. "I know, but this doesn't stop our dad from having such a hope," Su Luo explained. He could understand Yi Zhenhua's thoughts because his uncle had the same idea about him. He himself is a daughter and does not have the idea of favoring boys over girls, but he still has high hopes for him, the son of the Su family. In addition, Yi Zaiamu was already married and had a family, but Yi Zaiachen was nearly 20 years old when he found his wife, and she was his nephew. Naturally, he would treat Yi Zaiachen a little specially. Of course, if he was a playboy, he would definitely know what was going on. Ding-ling-ling, Su Luo's phone rang. "Hello, Mom, what's wrong?" Su Luo said and handed it to Yi Zaiamu to see. It was a call from Sun Tingting. "Zio Luo, come over for lunch with Zio Mu," Sun Tingting said. "Okay, Mom, we'll be there in a while." Su Luo glanced at Yi Zaiamu, saw her nod, and agreed. "Honey, the person who just broke the news sent me another private message. I took a screenshot for you," Yi Zaiamu said after hanging up the phone. Upon hearing this, Su Luo opened the photo album, saw a disc of screenshots, and nodded. "Don't worry, Huang Ming can't escape," Su Luo said. "Based on these ransom messages, 3 to 10 years is the starting point, and it may even reach more than 10 years. I accompanied Yi Zaiamu to the hospital for a prenatal checkup. Everything was normal, and then we went to Jingxiu community for a meal. After dinner, they said hello to Mr. and Mrs. Yi, and then they returned to Giyunting, mainly to wait for 12 o'clock to deal with this matter as soon as possible. At 12 o'clock, the account that broke the news sent out the uncensored video, and Su Luo took a screenshot directly. But in just a moment, the post was deleted. "What? I didn't even see it, and it's gone. Hahaha, I took a screenshot. Oh my god, is that really Su Luo?" Although it only took a few seconds, some netizens still took screenshots. At this time, Huang Ming was taken into the police car by Li Tenger and Li Tongyi, with his crying wife behind him. "We're still one step away," Li Tenger said helplessly in the car. "Master, this is already the fastest speed, and this is a big case," Li Tongyi said excitedly. "Oh," Li Tenger glanced at Huang Ming, who looked dejected, through the rearview mirror and sighed. If he had found Huang Ming's house earlier, he could have prevented this from happening. At least in his opinion, preventing crime is more important. At this time on the network, Su Luo PC, hot the topic instantly became a hot search. Ding-ling-ling, Su Luo's phone rang. "Officer Li," Su Luo answered the phone. "Mr. Su, I'm sorry. We were a little late and he still sent it out. Although he deleted it immediately, it was still saved," Li Tenger said apologetically. "It's okay, Officer Li. I'll clarify things later. I'll send the new evidence to your phone shortly. I'll leave the rest to you." Su Luo said this and hung up the phone. He had expected things to develop to this stage, and it was also the result of his own instigation. Of course, there is inevitability. After all, he really doesn't know Huang Ming, and he is just guessing based on the payment code. Li Tenger and others also need time to investigate. Su Luo checked her Weibo account. Many people had been asking questions there before, but now not many people were trying to lead the discussion. Su Luo smiled and posted a status on Weibo. Su Luo, this is the third time. Attention everyone. Su Luo's Weibo post made the black fans who were about to take action stop typing. One of the toughest stars in the entertainment industry, he directly sent a lawyer's letter when he encountered rumors, and he never cared about their internet trolls before. But this time it's different. If it's really a rumor according to Su Luo's personality, she would definitely send a lawyer's letter directly. The risk is too great, and all in all, this time it is equivalent to Su Luo making some extra money. Well, I'll just consider it as returning a favor and not smearing you anymore. Many water army leaders think so. Chapter 251, 3 months later. Although there are fewer water armies, there are still many people questioning Su Luo's Weibo. Su Luo did not continue fishing. She processed the previously recorded video and posted it on Weibo. In just one afternoon, public opinion began to reverse, and the number of fans, which had fallen below 20 million, rebounded. Yi Xiaomu's mood improved, and she took Su Luo to stay in the piano room for an afternoon so that Su Luo could listen to her new songs. It sounds very nice, Su Luo praised after listening to it. Yi Xiaomu felt very happy when she heard this. She had been planning this song for several months and created it independently. It is a Chinese-style song. It is of the same style as the previous, Xin Yu Mu Zai. After the efforts of Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu, they recorded it and uploaded it to the Tomato music platform. Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu didn't care about the subsequent results. As her belly grew bigger and Huang Ming's incident happened, Yi Xiaomu cared less and less about the entertainment industry. Even singing, which was my favorite thing at the time, seemed unimportant compared to Su Luo, especially in the next few days' Golden Melody Awards and Golden Diamond Awards. She won the Best Female Singer and Most Popular Female Singer awards respectively. This allowed Yi Xiaomu, who had been silent for several months, to once again compete for the title of Queen of Singing. Yi Xiaomu, who has regained the title of a top singer, did not continue singing, but began to take care of her pregnancy. Su Luo also went to record Come On, Trainees when the time came. In mid-September, she completed the recording of Come On, Trainees. Lu Lipe and Su Chengxuan from Xiaomu Entertainment successfully formed a group. The couple gradually faded out of the public eye, and it was under such circumstances that You Are My Pride was quietly released on October 1st. Xiaomu Entertainment sold the first broadcast rights to Tencent Video at a price of 10 million per episode, totaling 40 episodes, and made a fortune. Yi Xiaomu has not been idle in the past few months. Although she is not so interested in the entertainment industry, it does not prevent her from learning acting skills recently. Because during this period, Su Luo wrote a play, Shanglin Fu, The Beautiful Bones. After reading this story, Yi Xiaomu's previous interest in acting resurfaced. Su Luo naturally supported Yi Xiaomu's idea. Master, you're back, Yi Xiaomu called softly. Don't get too carried away, honey. It'll be at least a few months before you can act. After Su Luo entered the room, she looked at Yi Xiaomu, who was sitting on the sofa reading a script, and spoke speechlessly. Hee, it's only a few months away, so let's prepare in advance, Yi Xiaomu said with a chuckle. If Xiaoxiao knew her mother was like this, be careful that she would ignore you in the future, Su Luo teased with a smile. No way, Humph, how's Chenchen doing? It's okay, don't worry. Su Luo had just returned from the hospital. This guy just got his driver's license and started driving by himself. As a result, his car crashed, but fortunately no one was hurt. Not only Yi Xiaochen, but also Su Luo was blamed by Yi Shuyan and Yi Zhenhua, who told Yi Xiaochen to drive a car given by Su Luo. But this can't be blamed on Su Luo. My brother-in-law's birthday is during the National Day holiday, so Su Luo thought, let's give him a car as a gift. Besides, when Su Luo delivered the car, Yi Zhenhua always had a smile on his face. In the end, the car keys were taken away by Yi Zhenhua. Looking at his cunning look, Su Luo understood that her father-in-law also liked this car. After all, this new energy vehicle worth nearly 1 million yuan was specially ordered by Su Luo from BBD. Both its appearance and quality were deeply loved by Yi Zhenhua. Su Luo also suggested giving one to Yi Zhenhua, but was rejected by Yi's mother. The young couple had many places to spend money, so why should she buy one for Yi Zhenhua? Was she going to let him show off? In the end, Yi Xiaochen was restricted from driving before college, and Yi Zhenhua also took the 2 BBDs under the pretext of keeping them for him. Where are Mao Mao and Hui Hui? Su Luo looked around the living room but didn't see the 2 girls. In the kitchen, these 2 girls insisted on taking care of me, so they went to cook now, Yi Xiaomu said with a smile. With the 2 of them cooking, the kitchen will probably be in chaos. Su Luo rolled her eyes and said helplessly. After saying that, Su Luo walked towards the kitchen. As expected, it was a mess. Su Luo hit both of them on the forehead. Okay, are you here to destroy or cook? Get out, Su Luo said with a smile as she looked at the 2 people who were covering their foreheads. The 2 men walked out dejectedly. Su Luo shook her head, cleaned up the kitchen, and then made 4 dishes and a soup. As the due date approached, Su Luo asked Lu Mao Miao and Zhu Linhui to live with her, mainly to prevent any emergencies. It's time to eat. Su Luo brought the dishes out and shouted to the 3 people in the living room. Here we are, Yi Xiaomu said, and stood up and walked into the restaurant with Lu Mao Miao and Zhu Linhui. The 4 of them sat around the table and started eating. Brother-in-law, Sister Xiaomu's due date is approaching. Do you want to go to the hospital and stay there in advance? During the meal, Lu Mao Miao suddenly asked, Let's go the day after tomorrow. That way there are still 3 days until November 1st. Su Luo thought for a moment and said, Going to the hospital early may affect Yi Xiaomu's mood, so it is normal to go 2-3 days in advance. At present, Yi Xiaomu is not in obvious condition of giving birth. If she is, she will go to the hospital immediately. Listening to Su Luo's words, Yi Xiaomu had no objection. After dinner, Zhu Linhui and Lu Mao Miao cleaned the kitchen, while Su Luo was massaging Yi Xiaomu's calves in the living room. As the due date approaches, her belly is getting bigger and her calves are a little swollen. Walking and massage are Su Luo's daily routine. The parents of both families, and Yi Shuyan, also come here to stay for a while every day during the day. The closer the due date gets, the more excited the elders of both families become. After all, the 3rd generation is about to be born. Ding-ling, the doorbell rang at this time. I'll go open the door. Su Luo gently put down Yi Xiaomu's feet and spoke. Then I stood up and walked to the door. When I opened it, I saw 2 people standing at the door, holding baby clothes and diapers in their hands. Brother Jai, Sister Ru, come in quickly. Su Luo shouted in surprise, then moved aside. At this time, Lu Mao Miao and Zhu Linhui also came over, said hello, took the things from Zhu Jai and put them aside. Recently, there are a lot of baby products in my house, all of which were given to me by friends. Brother Jai, Sister Ru, please come this way. Su Luo led the 2 of them to the sofa in the living room. The 3 of them sat down. When Yi Xiaomu saw Zhu Jai and Tang Jiru, she also sat up and greeted them. Chapter 252, Zhu Jai is ready to quit the circle. Sister Ru, you are not small this month, Yi Xiaomu said as he looked at Tang Jiru's bulging belly. It's been almost 7 months, and the due date is December 20th, Tang Jiru said with a smile. That's great, but why are you here? Su Luo asked with a smile. I came here specially to see you, Zhu Jai replied with a smile. I don't believe it, Su Luo rolled her eyes. Stop being weird, Tang Jiru patted Zhu Jai and spoke. Haha, I was nominated for the Golden Award by accident. Now, I just happened to be taking Jiru out for a walk. Zhu Jai touched his head, a smug look on his face, and spoke. Congratulations, Su Luo said, stood up, winked at Zhu Jai, stretched out 2 fingers and gestured. Zhu Jai understood immediately, stood up, and followed Su Luo out of the living room. Su Luo took out a pack of cigarettes, handed one over, and then the 2 of them squatted at the door and started smoking. Luo, thank you. Zhu Jai looked at Su Luo seriously and said, Brother Jai, it takes a while for you to express your gratitude. Su Luo teased with a smile. I originally thought that Jiru would come out to see you in 3 months, but unexpectedly I received another script. As soon as the filming was finished, I rushed over. Zhu Jai took a puff of his cigarette and spoke with a smile. Sister Ru is pregnant and you still take on the role. That's awesome. Su Luo gave Zhu Jai a thumbs up. There's nothing I can do. It was arranged by the company, but my contract just happened to expire. Now that the Golden Awards are over, I'm ready to quit, Zhu Jai said seriously. Quit the circle? Su Luo was puzzled. Jiru and I have been looking forward to having this child for a long time. We have earned enough money now. From now on, our main focus will be on accompanying the child as he grows up. Zhu Jai's words made Su Luo nod in agreement. So what are you going to do next? Su Luo took a puff of cigarette and asked. I'm planning to settle down in Shanghai, Shanghai Drama Academy has invited me to be a teacher there, Zhu Jai said with a smile. That's great, Teacher Zhu is great and a role model, Su Luo said with a smile. Putting aside other things, do you want to come and learn more about acting? I can train you, Zhu Jai said with some pride. Okay, if I have the chance, I'll go and listen to what Teacher Zhu's lectures are like, Su Luo agreed with a smile. Su Luo has God-level acting skills, but he has never tried to perform it in detail. It would be beneficial for him to listen to it systematically. Well, it was definitely not to see what Zhu Jai was like as a teacher. The two men put out their cigarettes, put them in a trash can nearby, and returned to the villa. Hui Mio Mio, please help clear out a guest room. As soon as Su Luo entered the room, she spoke to Lu Mio Mio and Zhu Linhui. A Luo, we. Zhu Jai opened his mouth immediately after hearing this, trying to refuse. Brother Jai, Sister Ru, it's already night, why don't you just stay here? There are plenty of rooms. Su Luo interrupted Zhu Jai and invited him. Okay, sorry to bother you then. Zhu Jai had no choice but to agree. What are you talking about? Su Luo replied with a smile. A few people sat back in the living room and chatted. Brother Jai, Sister Ru, we should have found out by now whether it's a boy or a girl, right? Su Luo asked curiously. It's a girl, Zhu Jai said with a silly smile. Obviously, he also likes daughters. Looking at the way you're showing off, you'll probably be a daughter slave in the future. Su Luo glanced at Zhu Jai and teased. Aren't you a daughter too? Zhu Jai smiled, completely ignoring Su Luo's teasing. Hee, that's different. My daughter is my little cotton-padded jacket, unlike you, Su Luo laughed. Seeing his servile look, Yi Xiaomu reached out and hit Su Luo. This guy is a hypocrite. By the way, Brother Jai, if you plan to settle down in Shanghai, where are you going to live? Su Luo asked. That hasn't been decided yet. I heard the school will allocate an apartment to me. Or you might as well buy a villa next door, Su Luo said, looking at Zhu Jai. In this way, the two families can live together, and their children will be of the same age in the future and can play together. Hey, Luo, you overestimate me. This is tens of millions, close to 100 million, which is not something I can afford, Zhu Jai said helplessly. He could certainly take out 100 million, but after that, he would have no spare money left. Teachers don't have much money, and you can't spend all your money to buy a villa just to live in it. Brother Jai, you've won the Best Actor award and have been nominated for the Golden Award. No way, are you short of money? Su Luo asked in surprise. I have money, but I can't use it all to buy a house, Zhu Jai said helplessly. Su Luo did not persuade her anymore. After all, it was taboo to make decisions for others when it came to buying a house. It would be fine if they are not short of money. But if they are really asked to use all their money to buy a house, it will be troublesome if problems arise later. Buying a house is the same as buying a car. You can give others advice, but you cannot make decisions for them. Otherwise, they will really regret it, and it will hurt their feelings. Because of the two pregnant women, the four of them didn't chat for too long and went back to their rooms. After accompanying Yi Xiaomu to wash up, the two of them lay down on the bed. Hubby, you haven't written a novel in a long time. Your fans are urging you to write one. Yi Xiaomu turned sideways, looked at Su Luo and spoke. I don't plan to write recently. Let them worry for a while. You are the most important now, Su Luo said with a smile. Shasheng, the editor of Zhangong Novel Network, has also recently asked him when he will publish a new book. Su Luo is not going to pay attention to these for the time being. The most important thing at the moment is Yi Xiaomu and Zia Xiao. In fact, the new book had been prepared in advance. 3 months before, Su Luo obtained the literature mall, the music mall, and the script mall. Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu and leaned over to give her a kiss. Don't think about that, dear, you're still asleep, Su Luo said with a smile. Yeah, good night, husband, Yi Xiaomu said with squinted eyes. Good night, wife, Su Luo replied with a smile. The two of them closed their eyes one after another. This night was relatively quiet. On October 28, the weather was sunny. After having breakfast, Zhu Jai and Tang Jiru said goodbye and left. The Golden Award ceremony would be held in a few days, so they wanted to go there early. The organizer had already arranged a hotel for them, so Su Luo did not force the two of them to stay. It is worth mentioning that today, the Legend of Zhu Xian, which has been prepared for more than half a year, officially started filming. Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu did not attend the event, mainly because their due date was approaching, and neither of them planned to go out casually. Ding dong, Yi Xiaomu's cell phone rang while she was taking a walk. Chapter 253, Caesarean section or vaginal delivery, that is the question. Yi Xiaomu took out her cell phone and found that it was a message from Cheng Yali. Congratulations, I'm married, but I can't go back now. Picture Cheng Yali in a wedding dress, JPG. Yi Zairamu looked at Cheng Yali's message, and a look of joy appeared on her face. Congratulations, where's the groom? I want to see the groom. What's the matter? Why are you so happy? Su Luo looked at Yi Zairamu, who was smiling happily, and asked curiously. My good friend is getting married. Yi Zairamu raised the phone in her hand. Ding dong, a picture was sent over. Picture? Su Luo's eyes narrowed. The pale-faced man turned out to be Wu Chen. Chenzi, Su Luo said in surprise. Huh, do you know him? Yi Zairamu looked at her phone and saw the photo sent by Cheng Yali. This is my childhood friend, but he looks so bad. Su Luo frowned. Upon hearing this, Yi Zairamu nodded and immediately made a call. Bang, the phone was hung up. Zairamu, it's not convenient to answer the phone. Cheng Yali sent a message. What's going on? Where are you? Why does your husband look so bad? Also, my husband knows him. He's his childhood friend. Yi Zairamu typed quickly and asked. That's a coincidence. Don't worry, we have a special mission and we'll be back soon. At the Yunnan border, Cheng Yali, dressed in red, sat beside the hospital bed, tears streaming down her face. She put away her cell phone and looked at Wu Chen, who was lying there. Honey, she said she had a special mission and would be back for a while. Yi Zairamu said. When Su Luo heard this, a trace of solemnity flashed through his heart. He felt that something might have happened to Wu Chen, but he didn't show it on his face, for fear that Yi Zairamu would see it and get worried. Then let's wait for him to come back and get to know him formally. What a coincidence. Su Luo rubbed Yi Zairamu's head and said. Yeah, Yi Zairamu nodded and agreed. The two ran for a while and then returned to the villa. Lu Miao Miao and Zhu Linhui were sitting on the sofa, playing games with their heads down. Seeing Yi Zairamu coming back, he immediately put down his phone, stood up and walked to Yi Zairamu, supported Yi Zairamu on both sides and walked towards the sofa. Su Luo, who was pushed aside, smiled and followed behind. Oh, these are your two numbers, Yi Zairamu said with a helpless smile. Sister Zairamu, you are the top priority now and must be taken care of, Zhu Linhui said. Yi Zairamu shook her head and let the two men help her to the sofa. Not long after, several elders came over, including Yi's father and mother, Su's father and mother, and Yi Shuyan. Several people were carrying vegetables, big bones, fish, and milk. As soon as they entered the door, Sun Tingting and Sun Yun ran to the kitchen. This big bone needs to be stewed into soup, which takes a long time. It is better to prepare it in advance so that you can drink it at noon. Several people became more and more devoted to the arrival of new life. Plans cannot keep up with changes. Sun Tingting and Sun Yun were preparing to stew soup, and Yi Zhenhua and Su Siyun were preparing to play chess. Hearing Yi Zairamu scream, and the sudden abdominal pain made everyone extremely nervous. Su Luo immediately drove Yi Zairamu to the Magic City People's Hospital. The moment they were admitted to the hospital, no one relaxed, and Yi Zairachan also took leave and came back. When Yi Zairamu lay on the hospital bed and said that she no longer felt any pain, and the hospital's examination report was normal, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Then Yi Zhenhua contacted his old classmate, Zhang Yan, chief physician of obstetrics and gynecology. She will come over in the afternoon and help take a look at it. Su Luo, feeling relieved, then noticed that the obstetrics and gynecology ward was crowded with people, and newborns were born every day. Although Yi Zairamu lived in a single room, the hospital did not allow too many people to stay with her. So they asked them all to go back, and only Su Luo and Sun Tingting stayed in the hospital. At noon, the hospital had a special nutritious lunch. Su Luo ordered 3 servings, and the 3 of them managed to make do with it. It was not until the afternoon that Yi Zhenhua rushed over with Su's father and mother and Yi Zairachan, because Zhang Yan was about to arrive. Su Luo understood the reason why Yi Zhenhua went to find Zhang Yan. Actually, he wanted the doctor to see whether it would be a natural birth or a cesarean section. Not long after, a female doctor about the same age as Yi Zhenhua came over. After a brief greeting, Su Luo handed the test results to Zhang Yan. After she looked it over carefully, she walked into the ward and took a look. Director Zhang, how is it? Yi Zhenhua asked nervously. It can be a natural birth or a cesarean section. She doesn't have any symptoms of giving birth yet, so there's still time to consider it, Zhang Yan said after thinking for a while. Director Zhang, we don't quite understand this. What's your suggestion? Yi Zhenhua asked. I suggest a cesarean section, Zhang Yan said hesitantly. She had read all the previous prenatal examination reports and today's report, and they were all normal. However, she looked at Yi Zairamu's body and the report, and based on her experience, it would be best to have a cesarean section. Director Zhang, my daughter's examinations are all normal. Can't she have a natural birth? Sun Tingting asked nervously. After all, if it is a cesarean section, there will be more or less a scar, which will affect girls. You can try a natural birth, but your daughter is a little thin. If a natural birth doesn't work, you'll still have to go through a cesarean section, which means you'll have to endure 2 ordeals. Think about it, I don't have surgery tomorrow. If you decide to have a cesarean section, you can do it tomorrow. Old Yi, I'm going back to the office first. If you've made your decision, just come to me directly. After Zhang Yan finished speaking, she left the ward. Su Luo and the others who stayed behind looked at each other, and they were all a little undecided. Xiao Mu, what do you think? Sun Tingting walked to the bedside, looked at Yi Xiaomu and asked. I don't know, I'm a little scared. Yi Xiaomu said in a low voice. Don't be afraid, I'm here. Su Luo immediately walked up and held Yi Xiaomu's hand, speaking gently. At this time, Yi Zhenhua and Su Siyuan were also at a loss. This was different from what they knew. Xiao Mu, do you believe me? Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu and asked seriously. Yeah, Yi Xiaomu nodded. Then do it, Su Luo said gently. Okay, Yi Xiaomu agreed without any hesitation. Mom and Dad, let's do a cesarean section. Director Zhang is so experienced, and he definitely didn't say that there are risks with natural births. I think we should still listen to the doctor's advice when we get to the hospital. Su Luo smiled at Yi Xiaomu, then looked at the others and spoke. Okay, then I'll listen to you. Yi Zhenhua nodded heavily and agreed. Then you stay here with Xiaomu. I'll go find Director Zhang. Su Luo said this, patted Yi Xiaomu's hand, and then left the ward. Chapter 254. You still have to listen to the doctor when you go to the hospital. I suggest you have a C-section. Su Luo heard her voice as soon as she arrived at the door of Zhang Yan's office. Su Luo looked through the window and saw 2 people inside. An older woman was sitting on a chair, and a man about the same age was standing next to her. We must obey, the woman said seriously. The report shows that the fetal heart rate is not very good, so it is best to have a cesarean section, Zhang Yan said while holding the report. I don't care, we must have a natural birth. The woman was unmoved. Seeing that he couldn't persuade them, Zhang Yan returned the report to the 2 of them and sighed inwardly. Then Su Luo saw 2 people coming out, and the woman kept speaking in dialect to the man. The general meaning was that natural birth was auspicious in their family, and the man just nodded repeatedly. Su Luo didn't pay any more attention and stood at the door and knocked. Come in, Zhang Yan's voice came from the office. Director Zhang. After Su Luo came in, she sat in the woman's seat. It's you, what's wrong? Zhang Yan asked. Director Zhang, I would like to ask, are there any risks in a cesarean section? Are the risks high? Su Luo asked nervously. What danger can there be? It will be over in about half an hour, Zhang Yan said with a smile. Well, Director Zhang, we have decided to have a cesarean section. Su Luo nodded and said affirmatively. You've decided to have a cesarean section, right? Okay, let me take a look. Zhang Yan nodded and started checking on the computer. Tomorrow morning, don't eat after 10 p.m., Zhang Yan said as she looked at the operating room. Okay, then this time, Su Luo agreed. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yan wrote out the surgery receipt. After Su Luo paid the fee, she took the receipt back to the ward. Mom and Dad, Xiaomu, the time is set. It's tomorrow morning. The doctor said you shouldn't eat after 10 p.m., Su Luo said. In the afternoon, Su Luo asked Yi's father and mother, Yi Shuyan, and Su's father and mother to go back. With so many people here, Yi Xiaomu would also feel pressured. Yi Xiaochen was also sent back to school by Yi Shuyan, as he was not needed here. Not long after, Lu Miao and Zhu Linhui came over with Tanya. Sister Ye, is the legend of Zhu Xian going well? Yi Xiaomu looked at Tanya and asked. Oh, Auntie, you are still worrying about this. Don't worry, it's okay, Tanya said with a smile. What did the doctor say? Tanya asked curiously. I plan to have a cesarean section tomorrow. Yi Xiaomu glanced at Su Luo, asking him to look at her with a smile, and said frankly. With Su Luo accompanying her, she felt that she was not afraid at all. Well, you really need to listen to the doctor's advice on this matter. And there is another advantage of a cesarean section. Tanya said this, leaning close to Yi Xiaomu's ear and whispering softly. Sister Ye, you are not serious. Ba, you are not serious. Yi Xiaomu looked at Tanya with a smirk on her face and said coquettishly. After chatting for a while, they left. As for Lu Miao and Zhu Linhui, Su Luo asked them to go back as well. This afternoon, Su Luo accompanied Yi Xiaomu for a walk in the corridor, and also visited the newborns and pregnant women in other wards. When I have nothing to do, I will sit on the bench in the corridor and chat with other pregnant women. There was a pregnant woman who also came that day and gave birth that day. She was now sitting on the bench chatting with Yi Zairamu. I ran into Yi Zairamu in the hospital. She was about to give birth and was chatting with fans in the aisle. Picture hot. A new topic also appeared on Weibo's hot searches that afternoon. Wow, there's been no news for months, and now she's about to give birth. Come on, Mumu. Our Mumu looks so good even without makeup. I'm so envious. The little singing queen is about to emerge. Although many people have guessed where Yi Zairamu is giving birth through clues, no one has come to disturb her yet. Su Luo and Yi Zhenhua did not choose to go to any private high-end hospital. Although it was private, they did not know any doctors there. It just so happened that Yi Zhenhua had a classmate at the Shanghai People's Hospital, and he was an excellent doctor. Of course, it was also because Su Luo thought too much. When it came to Yi Zairamu, he couldn't control his thoughts. Private high-end resources do have high costs and good privacy, but there are not many patients, and the doctors there may not be very skilled. After all, what doctors value is experience and practice. There are not many deliveries in a year. How could Su Luo feel at ease letting Yi Zairamu give birth in such a place? Of course, this is not absolute, but there is no doubt that most highly skilled doctors are still in public hospitals. Night, Su Luo and Yi Zairamu were awakened by a burst of crying. Honey, what's wrong? Yi Zairamu asked puzzledly. I'll go out and take a look, Su Luo said, then walked to the door and opened it. At this time, at the door of the doctor's office, the woman I saw in the afternoon was sitting on the ground crying. Next to him was a man with a dejected look on his face, standing there looking completely lost. Su Luo shook her head, returned to the room, and told Yi Zairamu about the situation. I guess something happened. Su Luo sighed and told Yi Zairamu what happened in the afternoon. The two chatted briefly for a while. The crying outside became quieter, and soon the two fell asleep. The next morning, Sun Tingting came with breakfast. Yi Zairamu couldn't eat because she had to go for surgery soon. Su Luo stood up and took it. A pregnant woman was just taken in for a cesarean section, and the baby was stillborn. Sun Tingting sat down beside the bed and spoke. Mom, what's going on? Yi Zairamu asked puzzledly. I heard that the baby died last night and there was no doctor at night, so they had to take the baby out this morning. Alas! Sun Tingting looked sympathetic and sighed. If the child could still be saved, the doctor would have rushed over overnight to perform surgery. But in reality, the child died last night. I heard the doctor had advised and recommended a cesarean section, but the pregnant mother-in-law refused and insisted on a natural birth. As a result, when the nurse checked at night, the fetal heartbeat had stopped. The family was so upset. When they arrived at the hospital, they still had to listen to the doctor, Sun Tingting said with a sigh. Zairamu, don't worry, our child is very healthy. Su Luo saw that Yi Zairamu was feeling a little heavy-hearted, so she held her hand and comforted her. Yeah, Yi Zairamu nodded vigorously. Yi Zairamu, at this time 2 nurses walked in. Here, Yi Zairamu said, raising his hand. Come with us and prepare for surgery. The nurse looked at the information above the bed, confirmed that it was correct, and spoke. Okay, Sun Tingting stood up immediately, and together with Su Luo, she supported Yi Zairamu and followed the nurse. Take a look at the contents and sign. At the door of the operating room, the nurse handed Su Luo the surgery commitment letter and said, Chapter 255, the operation is over. The contents of the surgery commitment letter made Su Luo frown. Various exemption clauses, as well as surgical risks and sequelae, are all stated one by one. But the various complications and sequelae made Su Luo a little frightened. At this time, Yi Zhenhua, Su Siyuan, and others also rushed to the door of the operating room. Zio Luo, what's wrong? Su Siyuan saw Su Luo standing at the door of the operating room with a gloomy expression on her face and asked. Upon hearing this, Yi Zhenhua walked over and took the surgery commitment letter from Su Luo. He took a look at it, and his expression turned a little ugly. Su Luo finally understood why some people said that giving birth is like walking through the gates of hell for women. Nurse, can you wait for me for a moment? Su Luo said to the nurse at the door. Okay, but it's best to sign within 5 minutes. The nurse nodded and spoke. I'll make a phone call, Su Luo said to a few people, then walked to the stairwell and took out Yi Zairamu's cell phone. He remembered that Yi Zairamu's best friend Cheng Yali was studying medicine, but he didn't know if he could get through to her because she hadn't answered the previous call. Su Luo was just trying it out. 208, Su Luo entered the unlock code. I found Cheng Yali's number in the address book and dialed it. Hello, Zairamu. Cheng Yali's voice came out, but her tone was a little hoarse. Su Luo didn't care. This was the first time he heard Cheng Yali's voice. "Hello, I'm Yi Xiaomu's husband, Su Luo." Su Luo introduced himself. Hello." Cheng Yali was a little confused. "It's like this. Xiaomu is preparing for a cesarean section, but the nurse took out a letter of commitment and asked us to sign it. I'm a little nervous after reading these terms. I want to ask, is this cesarean section dangerous?" Su Luo could usually handle things calmly, and he could do things he was good at with ease and even have fun, but he was really not sure about this surgery. There are definitely risks. This commitment letter must be signed for all surgeries. The full name should be the informed consent for surgery. I think this document might be a little inappropriate, partly because it's to protect doctors. Cheng Yali explained the situation to Su Luo, mainly expressing that any surgery has risks. Even if the risk of a cesarean section is relatively small, an informed consent form for the surgery needs to be signed. This is a constraint on both doctors and family members, and doctors need to strictly abide by surgical regulations. However, if complications or sequelae are caused by non-human factors, or even if death occurs during surgery, the family members cannot be held accountable. I understand. Thank you for your answer. Su Luo nodded. The surgery did have risks, but they were not as scary as what was written on the informed consent form. The reason why this file looks scary is mainly because the contents described in the file are all default situations. When ordinary people speak, they use euphemisms or probability calculations, but this is not found in the document. Since you have found a chief physician, she is very experienced. It is just a minor operation for her, so don't worry, Cheng Yali said comfortingly. Yeah, thank you. I was panicked when I saw the things on it. Thank you. Su Luo's heart gradually calmed down. I didn't expect Xiaomu to give birth so soon. I can't go back recently. Please remember to ask her to tell me when her operation is successful. There was a hint of happiness in Cheng Yali's voice. Of course, just a little bit. Okay, no problem. After Su Luo finished speaking, the two said goodbye and hung up the phone. Su Luo walked back to the door of the operating room, took the pen from the nurse, and signed her name. Thank you for your help. Su Luo signed and handed the document over. It's okay, wait outside first, and I'll choose someone to come and hold the child. After the nurse finished speaking, she turned and left, closing the door of the operating room. Xiao Luo, how is it? Sun Yun asked nervously, and Sun Tingting and Yi Shuyan beside her also looked over. Yi Zhenhua and Su Siyuan had just told a few people the contents of the surgery commitment letter, and they were all very worried. And coincidentally, all three of them gave birth naturally and didn't know much about cesarean sections. Mom, Auntie, don't worry, it's okay. We need to sign all the documents. I just asked about it. A cesarean section is not considered a major surgery. Su Luo did not mention that the surgery actually has risks, and it also requires spinal anesthesia, commonly known as partial anesthesia, and anesthesia also has risks. But Su Luo did not tell anyone about this, so as not to cause unnecessary worries. Sure enough, Sun Yun and the others felt relieved after hearing this. All that was left at this time was to wait. Su Luo stood at the door of the operating room, looking through the window at the long corridor. Yi Zhenhua was so nervous that he pulled Su Siyuan to smoke in the stairwell. Su Luo did not choose to smoke, mainly because he had to hold the baby first. In their hometown, there is a saying that the first person who holds a child after birth will have the child's temperament like that person. Su Luo has a good temper, so she was arranged to be the first to hold the baby. What? You said the first person to hold the baby was the doctor, and the second was the nurse. If you really want to be so picky, then you can be picky about many customs and habits. For the first time, Su Luo felt that time pass slowly. The anxious wait made him pace back and forth at the door of the operating room. Xiao Luo, come here and sit for a while, Sun Yun asked. It's okay, it won't be long, Su Luo refused. No, I'm tired of you walking back and forth like this. Sun Yun was not nervous at first, but when she saw Su Luo walking back and forth, she became nervous. Oh, Su Luo nodded quickly and sat next to Sun Yun. With a ding sound, Su Luo and the others immediately stood up and looked towards the operating room. Su Luo hurried forward, and at this moment the door of the operating room suddenly opened. In an instant, Yi Zhenhua, Su Siyuan and others surrounded them. Nurse, how is my wife? Su Luo asked hurriedly when he saw a nurse appear. Mother and daughter are safe, don't worry. The doctor is cleaning up. Who of you can hold the baby first? Said the nurse. Wearing a mask, her expression could not be seen, but it was clear that the nurse was in a good mood with the arrival of the new life. I'll do it, Su Luo said. Okay, come with me. the nurse said, motioning Su Luo to come in. Su Luo turned around and glanced at Yi Zhenhua, Su Siyuan, and the others, then followed the nurse in. The long corridor made Su Luo more and more excited. Wait here. Arriving at a door, the nurse said to Su Luo and then walked in. Chapter 256, Mother and Daughter Are Safe. In just 2 minutes, Su Luo felt like her heart was about to jump out. Then I saw the nurse coming out with a ball in her arms. Come, hold me, said the nurse. Well, how do I hold her? Su Luo raised her hand and gestured several times, but none of them were suitable. Put your arms around the child gently and support his head. Yes. The nurse transferred the child to Su Luo's hands while giving instructions. Su Luo looked at the baby in her arms, and a feeling of blood connection came from her heart. The child closed his eyes. A girl, weighing 6.8 jins, born at 1529. The nurse began to tell the baby's information. Thank you, how is my wife? Su Luo held the child in her arms, not daring to move. She just raised her head and looked at the nurse and asked, Don't worry, it's okay. It's being stitched up and it will be out soon, said the nurse. Su Luo nodded when she heard this, and looked down at the baby in her arms with his eyes tightly closed, long eyelashes and slightly wrinkled skin. She looks a little ugly, but Su Luo still thinks her own girl is the prettiest. Give me the child, he will come out with his mother in a while. The nurse spoke soon. Oh, okay, Su Luo said, carefully handing the baby to the nurse. A newborn baby cannot be held for a long time. Okay, you go out first and wait at the door for a while. After the nurse said that, she walked inside carrying the baby. Su Luo felt a sense of loss in her heart and wished she could hold the child forever. After watching the nurse leave, Su Luo walked out. How is it? As soon as Su Luo came out, a group of people surrounded her. It's a girl, 6.8 jins, Su Luo said with a smile. He was excited at this moment. Yi Zhenhua, Su Siyuan, and others all had smiles on their faces. Sun Yun even took out her phone and made a call, probably to announce the good news. Not long after, the door of the operating room reopened, and a nurse pushed out a bed and a crib. Let's wait and see. Go back to the ward first. Seeing Su Luo and the others were about to come over, the nurse immediately spoke up to stop them. The people around also looked over curiously, and of course, most of their eyes were directed at the child in the crib. Su Luo immediately walked to the front of the bed and looked at Yi Zhenhua lying on it. Her eyes suddenly turned red. Wife, thank you for your hard work. Su Luo's voice was choked with sobs. At this moment, he felt more distressed about Yi Zhenhua giving birth to a child for him, and felt sorry for her suffering. Yi Zhenhua looked at Su Luo and didn't say anything for the time being. He looked very tired, but Su Luo could still understand the excitement conveyed in his eyes. After returning to the ward, the nurse explained the precautions to Sun Yun, Sun Tingting, and Yi Shuyan. These include things like being able to eat liquid food only after ventilation. The anesthetic hasn't worn off yet, needing to get more rest, and a bunch of other things to keep in mind, including the creation of the child's file and birth certificate. All need to be processed as soon as possible. Su Luo ignored all of this and pushed the crib to the side of the bed, so that Yi Zhenhua could see it. Wife, this is our child, a small one. Su Luo looked at Yi Zhenhua and said gently. A trace of kindness flashed across Yi Zhenhua's face as she looked at the baby. Not long after, Yi Zhenhua, who could no longer hold on, slowly closed her eyes and her breathing became steady. Seeing Yi Zhenhua fall asleep, Su Luo and the others started to get busy. Cooperating with the nurse, Yi Zhenhua created a file for the baby and fed him. At this time, she had no breast milk and usually had to wait 2 to 3 days. At night, only Su Luo and Sun Tingting stayed behind. At this time, Yi Zhenhua needed 24-hour care. As a mother, Sun Tingting took the initiative to stay, while everyone else was sent back. Of course, Su Luo would not go back, so she stayed and did not ask her family to send her food. Instead, the two of them ordered nutritious meals from the hospital to make do. Wife, how do you feel? Yi Zhenhua woke up at night. It hurts a little. Yi Zhenhua looked haggard and his voice was hoarse. Su Luo listened to Yi Zhenhua's words, and her eyes showed heartache. During this period, he didn't know what he could do to help her share the burden, so he just helped Yi Zhenhua turn over every few hours. At this time, Yi Zhenhua still had no ventilation and could not drink water. Sun Tingting is now feeding her baby formula. A newborn baby only drinks 20-30 ml at a time, but needs to be fed many times. This is also what the nurse taught us in the afternoon. The stool is also blue, which is meconium. After 1 or 2 days when it is cleared, the nurse will take the baby to take the first bath. Yi Zhenhua didn't stay awake for too long and soon fell asleep again. Luo looked at her with a frown on her face, feeling a little distressed. She raised her hand and stroked her gently. Xiao Luo, go to sleep for a while, I'll just watch over you here, Sun Tingting said. It's okay, Mom. Xiaoramu is asleep now and the child is asleep too. You go to sleep first. Su Luo made the accompanying bed and said to Sun Tingting, okay, call me later and you can rest then. Sun Tingting thought about it and decided to get up in the middle of the night and replace Su Luo. Yeah, Su Luo nodded and sat on the edge of the bed, looking at the child and then at Yi Xiaoramu. That night, Su Luo hardly slept at all. She was busy changing diapers and preparing milk for the baby. After the child finishes drinking milk, Su Luo still needs to burp him carefully. Xiao Luo, why didn't you call me? When Sun Tingting woke up in the morning, she saw Su Luo sitting by the bed, nodding continuously. It's okay, Mom. I'm busy now, so I'll let you rest more. Su Luo woke up immediately, then stood up and said to Sun Tingting, who had already gotten up, then go and rest for a while, I'll take over. Sun Tingting looked at her brother-in-law's haggard appearance and said quickly, it's okay, I just fed the baby and he's already asleep. Su Luo saw that Sun Tingting seemed to be about to make milk, so she quickly spoke up to stop her. Mom, I'll go wash up first. After saying that, Su Luo took the disposable toiletries and washed up. Then Su Luo said hello to Sun Tingting and walked out of the hospital. Downstairs, Su Luo bought a pack of cigarettes at the shop at the door. Then he opened it, lit one, and took a deep puff. Although Su Luo was not very old, he was indeed tired from concentrating all night. After smoking, Su Luo found a breakfast shop, ordered a basket of buns and tofu pudding, and started eating while holding her phone in one hand. Only then did Su Luo see that there were many unread messages and missed calls on her phone, including from Tanya, Lu Miao and Zhu Linhui. Obviously, these people were more concerned about Yi Xiaoramu's situation. After all, Su Luo hadn't looked at her phone since yesterday afternoon, nor had she noticed any messages from others. After breakfast, Su Luo packed a portion to bring to Sun Tingting, and also replied to several people with the news that mother and daughter were safe. Chapter 257, Family Brother Position +1. Mom, I brought you breakfast. Not long after, Su Luo returned to the ward and said to Sun Tingting, okay, kid, go and have some rest. Sun Tingting took the breakfast and said, yeah, thank you for your hard work, Mom. I'm going to lie down for a while. Su Luo said this, walked to the accompanying bed and lay down. Feeling tired, Su Luo fell asleep quickly. The quality of sleep during the day was indeed poor. Su Luo, who was in a daze, felt that many people came to visit Yi Xiaoramu. From time to time, there was the sound of a child crying, but the tired Su Luo never woke up. It was not until noon that Su Luo was awakened by Sun Tingting and learned that Yi Xiaoramu had been revived. At this time, Yi Xiaoramu was leaning on the hospital bed, with Sun Yun next to her, feeding her fish soup. Seeing Yi Xiaoramu's complexion gradually getting better, Su Luo breathed a sigh of relief and smiled at Yi Xiaoramu. After lunch, Su Luo sat next to the hospital bed. Xiaoramu, how do you feel? Su Luo held Yi Xiaoramu's hand and asked gently. It still feels a little painful. Yi Xiaoramu's spirits were much better than yesterday. Wife, you have worked hard. Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaoramu seriously. It's not hard. Yi Xiaoramu reached out and touched Su Luo's face, saying sweetly. Su Luo held Yi Xiaoramu's hand with one hand and rubbed it gently on her face. Hubby, don't worry, it's all right now. Yi Xiaoramu seemed to understand Su Luo's mood and spoke softly. Yeah, Su Luo nodded vigorously. Where is the child? I want to see the child. Yi Xiaoramu stretched her head to look but didn't see the child, so she asked. Mom accompanied her to take a bath, Su Luo said softly. Oh, a hint of disappointment flashed in Yi Xiaoramu's eyes. Almost a day had passed, and she still hadn't held the child. Wife, don't worry, he should be back soon. Su Luo smiled and comforted her. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Sun Tingting and Sun Yun walking in with the crib backed out. Yi Xiaoramu wanted to sit up immediately, but the pain in her abdomen made her stop. Her expectant eyes followed the movement of the crib. Mom, let me hold the baby, Yi Xiaoramu said excitedly. Xiaoramu, here you go. Su Luo stood up and walked over after hearing that. She gently picked up the child, walked to Yi Xiaoramu's side, and gently placed it in her arms. As if it was natural, Yi Xiaoramu carefully took the child and held the baby in her hands. The child hadn't opened his eyes yet and was lying quietly in Yi Xiaoramu's arms. At this time, the baby had been washed clean, with a chubby little face and moving his mouth from time to time. Several people looked at the child and smiled knowingly. Yi Xiaoramu didn't hold the baby for very long. She knew that a newborn baby should not be held for too long. Reluctantly, he handed the child to Su Luo and put her back in the crib. Liu, the baby hasn't been named yet. Yi Zairamu looked at Su Luo and said softly, "Just use the nickname we agreed on before, Xiaxeo." Su Luo sat down again and spoke. "What about the daimyo?" "Well, how about your full name be Su Xiaxeo?" Su Luo said with a smile. "Okay, I'll do as you say." Yi Zairamu nodded and spoke gently. "Okay, then I'll call you Su Xiaxeo." Su Luo confirmed with a smile. Yi Zairamu regained her spirits. Starting from the afternoon, she would hold Xiaxeo and start breastfeeding her every once in a while. Sun Tingting couldn't help but sigh as she looked at Yi Zairamu. The child seemed to have grown up in an instant. Over the next few days, the nurse came to check on Yi Zairamu and Xiaxeo every day, and there was nothing wrong. Tanya, Lu Maomeo, and Zhu Linhui would also come over every day to see Xiaxeo and Zairamu. At night, Su Luo and Sun Tingting stayed by her bedside. Sun Yun was originally going to take her place, but neither Sun Tingting nor Su Luo wanted to. On the third day, Xiaxeo opened her eyes and the meconium was discharged. Yi Zairamu also started to get out of bed, but because of the pain in her abdomen, she still needed Su Luo's support. On the fourth day, Yi Zairamu was able to eat some semi-liquid food, and she had crucian carp soup every day. However, the lack of salt made Yi Zairamu feel a little resentful towards Su Luo. Xiaxeo was really small and looked like it was only the size of a palm. Su Luo's heart melted. It yawned from time to time with its little mouth open, looking incredibly cute. Day 7, November 4th. Yi Zairamu was wearing a cotton jacket and a hat on her head, holding Xiaxeo, who was wrapped tightly in her arms. Sun Tingting and Sun Yun were supporting her from the side. Su Luo, Su Siyun, and Yi Zhenhua were carrying large and small bags at the back. Lu Maomeo drove a commercial vehicle and parked it in front of the hospital. Yi Zairamu was discharged from the hospital, and this big event mobilized the whole family. Several people got into the business car, and Su Luo and Yi Zairachen drove behind. Longan Court, Villa number 36. When Su Luo entered the room, Yi Zairamu was already in the bedroom holding the child. Yi Shuyan had already prepared lunch. Sun Tingting brought Yi Zairamu's lunch into the bedroom, and the others sat around in the dining room to eat lunch. Yi Zairamu officially started her confinement life. Looking at the table full of nutrition, Su Luo could already imagine her life in the next month. "Zio Luo, we've decided that we'll live here for the next month." After dinner in the living room, Sun Yun spoke. "Okay, no problem, there are plenty of rooms." Su Luo nodded and agreed. During this period, Sun Tingting took special leave to take care of Yi Zairamu. Next, Yi Zhenhua and Sun Tingting still have to go to class, so someone always needs to take care of the house. "Mom and Dad, you should stay here too. Come straight over after class so you can see Xiaxeo every day." Su Luo turned to look at Yi Zhenhua and the other man, and invited them. "That's good," Yi Zhenhua agreed with a smile. He had been tempted when Su Siyun opened his mouth just now, but as his father-in-law, he felt a little embarrassed to speak. Su Luo took the initiative to speak, which was exactly what he wanted. He could only say that he had found a really good son-in-law. After saying this, Su Luo stood up, went back to the second floor, and opened the bedroom door. The curtains in the room were drawn, and the room was much darker than usual. "Zairo Mu." Su Luo looked at Yi Zairamu lying on the bed and called softly. "SHH, the child just fell asleep," Yi Zairamu said in a low voice. "Yeah." Su Luo immediately calmed down and walked slowly to the bed. At this time, Xiaxeo was holding Yi Zairamu's rabbit in her mouth, moving her mouth from time to time. "So cute," Su Luo sighed. "SHH, stop talking." Yi Zairamu raised his hand and patted Su Luo. "Okay," Su Luo agreed with a wry smile. "This, brotherhood in the family +1. Then Su Luo sat down beside the bed and just looked at Yi Zairamu and her mother quietly. Chapter 258. Women in confinement, men gain at least 20 pounds. Not long after, Yi Zairamu moved his body and let Xiaxeo turn over. She slowly stood up, bent her waist, and walked towards the bathroom step by step. Su Luo woke up suddenly, stood up immediately, and wanted to support Yi Zairamu. "Hubby, I can do it myself. You just look after Xiaxeo." Seeing Su Luo's nervous look, Yi Zairamu smiled and spoke gently. "Okay, then call me if you need anything." Su Luo nodded in agreement and sat down again, just looking at Yi Zairamu nervously. Seeing Yi Zairamu walk into the bathroom, Su Luo turned her head and looked at Xiaxeo, causing her little mouth to move as if she was still drinking milk in her dream. I couldn't help but reach out and touch the little cheek. It was soft and tender. After a while, Yi Zairamu came back with a hunched body and lay back on the bed. Zyro Mew, come and have some pork rib soup. At this time, Sun Tingting walked in with a bowl in her hand, which was still steaming. Mom, I'm not hungry, Yi Zyamu said softly. Even if you are not hungry, you should eat more, otherwise you won't have milk to feed the baby, Sun Tingting said immediately. Okay, Yi Zyamu took the bowl with a red face. You eat first, tell me if there's anything you want to eat. This is the time to nourish yourself, okay? Sun Tingting looked at Yi Zyamu and gave serious instructions. Women who have just given birth are very weak. If they don't take good care of themselves during the confinement period, it will affect their health. I understand, Mom, but there's no need for you to make such a fuss. Why make such a fuss? You are now the work center of our entire family. Sun Tingting looked at Yi Zyamu and said with a smile. Zio Luo, keep an eye on her and let her eat it. Sun Tingting looked at Su Luo beside her and instructed. Don't worry, Mom, I'll watch over it. Su Luo immediately nodded in agreement. Honey, I estimate I will gain 20 pounds in this month, Yi Zyamu said with a bitter face. There's nothing I can do. These are the kindness of our elders. Su Luo said with a wry smile. He is good at cooking, but now he is not allowed to enter the kitchen. Everyone said that the focus of his work was to accompany Yi Zyamu. This mother who had just given birth had a changeable mood, so he asked Su Luo to accompany her more. HMPH, I'll drink the soup and you eat the meat, Yi Zyamu snorted and said with a pout. You'll feel hungry if you only drink soup, Su Luo said immediately. I'm not hungry, look at them. They wish I could eat 8 meals a day, Yi Zyamu pouted and muttered. I'm asking you to eat more so that you can produce milk, Su Luo said with a smile. Ah, are you dissatisfied with my small size again? Look, I'm much bigger now, Yi Zyamu exclaimed, then straightened her body and spoke. Okay, how could I dislike you, idiot? Su Luo looked at Yi Zyamu and said with a smile. HMPH, there's no point in complaining. I don't care, just eat the ribs for me later. Yi Zyamu raised her head and spoke proudly. Okay, I'll eat it, Su Luo nodded and agreed. There is no need to worry about Yi Zyamu being hungry. During this special time, there is always food at home. She can just eat when she is hungry. Yi Zyamu was really full and felt uncomfortable. Hubby, you eat. Not long after, Yi Zyamu handed over the bowl. Su Luo took it and said, wow, half a bowl of pork ribs. She picked up the chopsticks and started eating. Hubby, you eat. Yi Zyamu handed over the bowl of pig's trotters. Su Luo took it, another half bowl of pig's trotters, picked up the chopsticks and ate it with tears in her eyes. Husband, you eat. Wife, it's not that you're fat. I feel like I'm going to gain 20 pounds. Su Luo said helplessly with a bitter face. It's okay, I don't dislike you. Yi Zyamu covered her mouth and smiled secretly. Ah, a small cry was heard. Su Luo immediately put down the bowl, moved over, and sniffed the little butt. There was a little smell. I guess he has diarrhea. Wait for me, Su Luo said, went to the bathroom, and took a small basin to fill with some warm water. Next, unwrap the diaper and throw it aside. Yi Zyamu gently dragged Zyexeo, and Su Luo carefully washed her. Finally, she wiped it dry, applied some baby powder, and took out a new diaper to put on Zyexeo. Yi Zyamu watched Su Luo's skillful movements from the side, with a smile on her face. Zyexeo stared at the man who was changing her diaper and grinned. Hubby, you really turned into a dad, changing diapers 666. Look, Zyexeo is so happy. Yi Zyamu praised, saying that she herself was not very skilled at changing it. Of course I have to. How can I let my wife do such a small thing? Su Luo said with a smile. He knew that Yi Zyamu was also very hard-working. Nowadays, Zyexeo can't sleep all night long. She will wake up at any time whether she is hungry or needs to pee. It happens 4 or 5 times a night. During the day, Su Luo tried her best not to let Yi Zyamu come to do anything, and let her rest as much as possible when she had time. Zyexeo was still too young. She stared at Su Luo and Yi Zyamu with her big eyes for 2 rounds, then closed her eyes and fell asleep quickly. Knock, knock. There was a slight knock on the door. Zio Luo, let's go have dinner. Yi Shuyan came over and called out. Okay, Auntie, I'll be down right away. Su Luo stood up and agreed. Although he was full, he still had to eat. Aunt, Yi Zyamu called out. Well, Zyexeo fell asleep, Yi Shuyan asked softly. Yeah, I just fell asleep. Yi Zyamu nodded. Okay, then Zyamu, you should take a rest too, Yi Shuyan instructed. Yeah, Yi Zyamu said, lying down, turning sideways and looking at Zyexeo. Then Su Luo waved to Yi Zyamu, took out a few empty bowls from the bedside, and followed Yi Shuyan out of the bedroom. When I got downstairs, the whole family was already sitting in the restaurant. Yi Zyaochan didn't go back to school during the weekend. Zio Luo Chenchen, would you like something to drink? Yi Zhenhua said. It can be seen that Yi Zhenhua is very happy. Of course, it is not just for this day, and he is not the only one who is happy. Dad, I won't drink anymore. The child is making a fuss at night and I have to take care of him. Su Luo politely declined. Okay, then Chen has to drink something, Yi Zhenhua said with a smile. Okay, Uncle Su, I'll pour it for you. Yi Xiaochen did not refuse. He stood up and started pouring wine for Su Siyuan and Yi Zhenhua. Xiao Luo, you and Xiao Mu have worked hard taking care of the children. Come, have some pig's trotter soup. As Sun Tingting spoke, she picked up an empty bowl, filled it with pig's trotters, and handed it to Su Luo. Mom, Aunt, you are the ones who have a hard time. Su Luo smiled bitterly. I thought to myself, oh my God, this is really overwhelming. There was nothing I could do but to take it. Next, the men drank happily, and Sun Tingting, Sun Yun, and Yi Shuyan kept picking up food for Su Luo. Only the world where Su Luo was hurt was achieved. Chapter 259, Coming Out of Confinement. After dinner, Su Luo returned to the bedroom. Yi Xiaomu's child was still asleep, so Su Luo took out her cell phone and sat aside to look at it. There are many people leaving him messages on Weibo asking about his situation. Su Luo burst out laughing. Why do so many people care about his private life? After a little consideration, Su Luo started typing with both hands. Su Luo, mother and daughter are safe and well and have been discharged from the hospital today. Thank you all for your concern. Picture shows 2 tiny little feet. It's not that Su Luo hasn't taken photos of Xiao these days, but as a celebrity for nearly a year, he knows the importance of privacy. Even though a child would change a lot when he was young, and when he grew up, Su Luo didn't want to expose Xiao so early. Congratulations, Liu, on the birth of your daughter. I wonder when my father-in-law will come to see me. You shameless guy upstairs, husband, I want to give birth to a baby for you. Congratulations to Liu on the birth of her daughter. Congratulations. Soon, a number of stars including Zhu Jai, Tang Jiru, Zhou Yang, Chen Chichai, and others sent their blessings. As for Zhu Qing and Jiang Yu, they called to express their blessings as soon as they finished posting on Weibo. It was already dark, and only a small night light was still on in the room. Husband, Su Luo heard Yi Xiaomu's voice in a daze. What's wrong? Su Luo immediately woke up and asked. I'm hungry, Yi Xiaomu said in a low voice. I'll get you something to eat, Su Luo said, standing up and leaving the bedroom. That night, the two of them tossed and turned for a long time, and Xia Xiao had to wake up every once in a while. As long as she is not hungry, Yi Xiaomu will wake Su Luo up, change her diaper, and wash her butt. Although they were tired, Yi Xiaomu and Su Luo enjoyed it. As time passed, Xia Xiao grew taller and her skin became whiter. In the meantime, Yi Xiaomu went to the hospital and had the stitches on her lower abdomen removed. In addition, although Xia Xiao cannot go out now, when Yi Xiaomu is free, she will hold Xia Xiao and walk around in the living room. The whole family would gather together to tease Xia Xiao. At this time, she was already in a good mood and would laugh from time to time. Su Luo turned into a photography maniac and took photos of Xia Xiao every day. Honey, I'm about to leave my confinement. Yi Xiaomu and Su Luo sat on the sofa in the living room chatting. Well, but you still need to stay at home for a few months. Su Luo looked at Xia Xiao not far away and said, It's pretty good to be at home, but it's too boring. Yi Xiaomu whispered in Su Luo's arms. In the past month, Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu hardly went out and stayed at home to take care of the children every day. Now the nights are not like they were at the beginning. I have to get up every once in a while, although I still can't sleep through the night. But obviously, the frequency has decreased a lot. Sometimes only 2-3 times at night are enough, and Yi Xiaomu doesn't need to get up. Now Xia Xiao can drink 120 ml of milk powder at each meal, about 8-10 times a day. Yes, Xia Xiao started drinking milk powder, and Yi Xiaomu successfully accepted the reality that she did not have enough milk. How about I write another book? Su Luo asked with a smile. Okay, Yi Xiaomu's eyes lit up and he nodded. What type do you want to watch? Su Luo asked when she saw Yi Xiaomu was interested. Well, I'm fine with either, but I want to see a perfect ending. Yi Xiaomu lowered his head and thought for a moment before speaking. Okay, I'll think about it and start writing in the next 2 days. Su Luo touched Yi Xiaomu's head and said with a smile. Xiao Luo, Xiao Mu, are you planning to hold a full moon banquet for Xiao? At this time, Sun Tingting came over, sat diagonally opposite the two of them, and asked, Xiao Mu, what do you think? Su Luo did not answer but looked at Yi Xiaomu and asked, Let's not do it, the child is too young. Yi Xiaomu frowned and said softly. Su Luo nodded, she understood. After all, the two families didn't have many relatives. If they really wanted to do it, they would have to invite some friends as well. Then let's have a meal together as a family, Su Luo said. Okay, then let's not do it. Sun Tingting nodded after hearing that. Well, let's wait 3 months and then hold the 100-day banquet. Zayak Seo will be able to go out then. Yi Zayaramu nodded and agreed. Okay, Sun Tingting nodded and agreed. Not long after, Yi Zayaramu carried Zayak Seo back to the bedroom. Ding-ling-ling. The phone rang when Su Luo was about to follow Yi Zayaramu back to the bedroom. Hello, Brother Jai. Su Luo saw that it was Zhu Jai calling and answered it directly. Luo, are you busy? Zhu Jai's hearty laughter came out. I'm at home taking care of the baby, what's wrong? Su Luo asked with a smile. It's nothing big, I just want to see if you are free to have a meal. Zhu Jai didn't beat around the bush and spoke directly. What's wrong, Brother Jai? Is there something wrong? Su Luo asked with some confusion. Well, I terminated my contract and I'm ready to quit the entertainment industry. I just want to get together with some friends. Zhu Jai said. Well, when? Su Luo asked. Tomorrow night at Zion, Zhu Jai said. Su Luo listened to Zhu Jai's words and nodded. It seemed that he was really invited. There are several situations when inviting someone to dinner. One is that if you are sincere, you will do it at least 1 day in advance. Of course, this doesn't mean that inviting friends out for a midnight snack or ordering dinner on the same day is fake. If it is private, with 2 or 3 people, and is of a personal nature, then it depends on the relationship. But if it is a party for some event, those who are invited on the same day are either trying to defraud some money or have some other purpose. Of course, there is one exception. If a client calls you to invite you to dinner during meal time, you should be sensible and not go for the meal. Instead, you can deduct the bill from the client's bill and, if possible, send him some wine. Okay, Brother Jai, I'll go there tomorrow. Su Luo hesitated for a moment and decided to go. Even if we will still have contact in the future, we still have to agree if someone asks us personally. From the perspective of interests, it is to introduce connections, that is, to introduce connections to Su Luo, and the other is equivalent to letting Su Luo take the lead. Retiring from the entertainment industry does not mean that you will disappear from the spotlight. You may move behind the scenes, or you may start a company and become a boss. Okay, then it's settled. Come early tomorrow afternoon at 6 p.m. Zhu Jai was quite happy when he heard Su Luo agree. Okay, Su Luo agreed. The two exchanged a few pleasantries and then hung up the phone. Su Luo looked at November 25th on her phone and roughly calculated that the small full moon would be on November 27th, so it would be a perfect time to go out for dinner tomorrow. Chapter 260, A New Book is Opening. After hanging up the phone, Su Luo said hello to Yi Zhenhua and the others and returned to the bedroom. As soon as I entered the bedroom, I saw Yi Zayaramu helping Zayak Seo change her diaper. Wife, let me do it. Looking at Yi Zayaramu's clumsy appearance, Su Luo said with a smile. Okay, I'm indeed not very skilled. Yi Zayaramu nodded, moved aside and said with a smile. It's okay, just leave it to me. Su Luo said, looking at Zayak Seo. Zayak Seo, Daddy is going to change your diaper. Be good. Su Luo's doting voice made Yi Zayaramu beside her shiver. Husband, please speak more normally. Yi Zayaramu complained. Huh, that's how you talk to children. Didn't you even notice how you were talking to Zairo? Su Luo was stunned, looked at Yi Zayaramu in surprise, and teased with a wicked smile. Then Su Luo imitated Yi Zayaramu's voice. Zayak Seo, go to sleep obediently. Ah, you are so annoying. Yi Zayaramu couldn't help feeling embarrassed when she heard Su Luo's imitating voice. Okay, as she spoke, Su Luo had already changed the diaper. Wife, Brother Jai asked me to have dinner tomorrow night. I have to go out for a while. Looking at Yi Zayaramu lying on the bed and patting Zayak Seo gently, Su Luo spoke. Is there something wrong? Yi Zayaramu asked puzzledly. He said he was going to quit the entertainment industry and invited his friends to dinner. Su Luo explained. Oh, then go ahead, but try to drink less. Yi Zayaramu nodded. Don't worry, wife, I understand, Su Luo replied. Then the two chatted for a while, and Yi Zayaramu lay on her side to coax Zayak Seo to sleep. Su Luo sat down by the windowsill and turned on the computer. Master Yi Luo, the update of Zhuxian Zhuan has been completed. When will the new book be released? Master Yi Luo, are you really Su Luo? Are you there? Are you there? Are you there? Master Yi Luo, tell me when you will publish a new book. The editor of the Immortal Palace Novel Network, Shasheng, has been contacting him since the completion of Zhuxian Zhuan, but Su Luo had no time to reply before. Here, Su Luo replied. Mr. Yi Luo, you finally replied to me. The scholar was ecstatic at this time. he finally received a reply. "I want to start a new book," Su Luo typed back. At this time, Su Luo's computer had been turned on and logged into the Xiangong novel network. Master Yi Luo, you finally replied to me. Are you going to publish a new book? I support you. Please be sure to sign a contract with our fairy palace. The scholar finally got the news he had been waiting for so long, and now he slumped in his chair. The ability to recover in 3 seconds just now almost drained him. Well, I'm ready to write it and upload it soon. Su Luo thought for a moment and replied. Okay, Mr. Yi Luo, I'll arrange the signing for you right after you upload it. At this moment, the scholar was like a victorious general, full of fighting spirit. Master Yi Luo, can you tell me what kind of novels you write? Not long after, another message from the scholar came. I'm typing, you'll know in a moment. After sending the message, Su Luo put down the phone. Su Luo put down her phone and opened the blank document on the screen. Then he put his hands on the keyboard and started editing. In the snow, after 3 years of traveling, Xiao Shui returns as the Dragon King. Although he has not yet entered the martial arts world, his legend has already spread throughout the martial arts world. Broken engagement, good for nothing, and Playboy were all his masks. Because of the death of his elder Lao Huang, he embarked on the road to Wuxu. Wah wah wah! A small crying sound interrupted Su Luo's typing. He must be hungry, Yi Xiaomu, who was woken up, said. Seeing Xiaoxiao searching with her eyes closed, Su Luo immediately got up and made 120 ml of milk powder. Yi Xiaomu took the bottle handed to her by Su Luo and put it to Xiaoxiao's mouth. She saw Xiaoxiao immediately stopped crying and started sucking. Liu, are you writing a novel? Seeing that the child had stopped making noise, Yi Xiaomu saw that the computer was turned on there and asked Su Luo. Yes, I'm writing now, Su Luo nodded. What genre is it? Yi Xiaomu became interested and asked. Well, fantasy and martial arts type, Su Luo said after thinking for a while. What's the general content? Yi Xiaomu asked curiously. Wait until I'm done writing it, and then you can see if you like it. Su Luo did not give any spoilers, but planned to let Yi Xiaomu take a look first. What if I don't like it? Yi Xiaomu pouted and asked in a low voice. Then write something else. Su Luo smiled and said. Oh, so you wrote it for me? Yi Xiaomu said in surprise. Not really. After all, it's not a romance, but if you don't like it, I'll write something else. I've only just started anyway. Su Luo smiled and said that the main reason for writing this book was that it was somewhat similar to Zhu Xianjuan. Although there are legends about immortals, in the end, none of them actually appeared. It can be said that they belong to a high-level martial arts type. No, you should finish it. If fans find out that I didn't write it because I don't like you, they'll scold me. Yi Xiaomu said with a smile, and it was obvious that Su Luo's words made her very happy. It's okay, they don't know who I am anyway, Su Luo said with a smile. At this time, the homepage of Xiangong Novel Network has already started promotion. Su Luo, pen name Yi Luo, new book will be released soon, so stay tuned. Su Luo didn't know that his identity had been dug out long before the news of him writing a song for Yi Xiaomu was exposed. You should know that authors of novels need to provide their ID cards when signing a certification contract. Just show off. You might as well just use your real name instead of using this pseudonym. Yi Xiaomu smiled secretly. She had finished reading the rest of Zhu Xianjuan and had seen comments in the book reviews that everyone knew Yi Luo's identity. This idiot thought he hadn't been exposed yet. You idiot, Yi Xiaomu shouted softly. Hey, wait, Xiaomu, who are you calling an idiot? Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu blankly. I'll call whoever agrees, Yi Xiaomu said with a smile. You are quite brave, Su Luo said in a fierce tone. Knock, knock, knock. Just then, there was a knock on the door and Sun Tingting walked in. Xiao Luo, Xiao Mu, it's time for dinner, Sun Tingting said. Okay, Mom, Su Luo nodded and agreed. Xiao Mu, you go and eat too. I'll watch here, I just ate. Sun Tingting looked at Yi Xiaomu and said. Okay, then let's go downstairs to eat. Yi Xiaomu slowly stood up and said. Then he took Su Luo's arm and walked out of the bedroom. Su Luo and Yi Xiaomu walked to the restaurant. Today was Saturday, and Yi Xiaochen had also returned and was sitting next to Yi Shuyan. Let's eat. After Su Siyuan said that, he looked at Yi Zhenhua, picked up the bottle of wine, and started drinking. Chapter 261, Yishan Entertainment starts to make trouble. After dinner, Yi Xiaomu lay on the bed, looking at her cell phone with Xiaoxiao lying next to her, who was already asleep. As she is about to leave the confinement period, the control over Yi Xiaomu's cell phone has been relaxed a lot. At this time, Su Luo was sitting on the windowsill with his laptop in front of him. His hands kept tapping on the keyboard. Waiter, bring the wine. Although he was being hunted by various gangsters at this time, Zyro Shuai remained fearless and was able to sit calmly in the tea house, eating wine and meat. A group of people were fighting below, and Zyro Shuai was fighting with Lao Huang for meat without any manners. He didn't worry about his own safety at all, and killed all the bad guys while chatting and laughing. The 3-year period is up. Welcome back, the Dragon King. A general in the audience knelt on one leg and said respectfully. Zyro Shuai raised the corner of his mouth slightly, revealing a wicked smile. Let's go home. The story of our Dragon King begins here. Su Luo's typing speed was as fast as ever. She edited the 20,000 words she typed today into chapters and then uploaded them. Hubby, take a break. You don't have to work so hard. Yi Zaiaramu looked at Su Luo, who was sitting on the windowsill and stretching lazily, and said with a smile, It's okay, mainly because I really don't have anything to do at home, so I just update more. Su Luo stood up, walked to the bed and spoke softly. So, how's your writing going now? I have already written 20,000 words and just uploaded it. Su Luo said with a smile. Really? Then I have to see it. Yi Zaiaramu's eyes lit up and he spoke. Let's see it tomorrow during the day. Let me kiss you first. Su Luo said with a smile. You're already a father and you still. MMM. Yi Zaiaramu said halfway through her words in a coquettish tone when Su Luo covered her mouth. Haha, I'll go wash up first. Su Luo laughed, then walked towards the bathroom with her clothes. Oh, keep your voice down. Don't disturb Zayak Xiao. Yi Zaiaramu glared at Su Luo in anger and said. While Su Luo was taking a bath, a big event happened in the entertainment industry. The popular actor ZJ has repeatedly QGZ Entertainment Flower Mao surnamed Ziohua. Pictures are all intimate photos of Zhu Jai and Mao surnamed Ziohua. Mao surnamed Ziohua's face is mosaicked, hot. At the same time, a director named Chen liked the Weibo post and left a message, saying that ZJ was overbearing and acted like a big shot on the crew, and threatened female artists to come to his house. ZJ is still the best actor, right? Isn't that Zhu Jai? Didn't he just win Best Actor again? Oh my god, so he's this kind of person. The key is, I heard Tang Jiru is pregnant now. Little flower with the surname Mao. Mao Menqian or Mao Xinting. I want to eat this melon. I have a video. It's eye-opening. I'll send you the link if you want it. They're at WL, above, you know. Fuck, don't believe it, 26 GB. It's a fucking melon, and the key is that it's coded. I have the uncensored version of Calabash Brothers. Who wants it? At this time, in a hotel room, Zhu Jai and Tang Jiru were sitting on the bed. Both of them looked unhappy. Jai-Ru, don't worry. I'm ready to quit the entertainment industry anyway. It's okay. Zhu Jai hugged Tang Jai-Ru and comforted her. Aren't you just quitting the entertainment industry? It doesn't have any impact on them, so why are they doing this? Tang Jiru pouted and said dissatisfiedly. Both of them knew who leaked the information, and as for the evidence, it was all staged. The exposed footage was actually from a movie, but that movie has not been released yet. After Tang Jiru became pregnant, Zhu Jai stopped accepting endorsements. At the same time, he did not renew the expiring endorsements, but gave them to newcomers from Yishin Entertainment. This is equivalent to returning the resources to Yishin. Originally, Yishin Entertainment and Zhu Jai parted ways amicably. If you want to quit the circle, the contract will not be renewed. Unexpectedly, the Best Actor Award at the Golden Awards ceremony was actually Zhu Jai. He won the Best Actor Award again, which made his net worth soar. Now, Yishin Entertainment could no longer sit still and contacted Zhu Jai many times to renew the contract, but was rejected every time. Tang Jiru's phone has never stopped ringing since the beginning, and they are all calls from her agent. AG, let me issue a clarification first. Tang Jiru looked at Zhu Jai and said. After saying that, without waiting for Zhu Jai's consent, he opened Weibo on his phone. Tang Jiru, no matter what others say, I will always believe in you and wait for you. To be with you for a lifetime is what I want at Chinese letter, Chinese letter. Tang Jiru's reply did not gain the trust of netizens. Instead, they began to persuade her to open her eyes. Occasionally, there are some remarks that are believed, but they are instantly suppressed by the output of the Water Army. Zhu Jai's friends, who had originally planned to have dinner together the next day, all sent messages saying they had something to do and couldn't come. They are all shrewd people. Everyone in the entertainment industry knows that it is Yishin Entertainment that is behind this. No one needs to take sides at this time. After all, the picture is equivalent to the real Hammer. No one took advantage of his misfortune, which was considered a sign of Zhu Jai's good popularity. Zhu Jai was holding his phone with a microblog interface on it. He didn't even know what to say. He had originally planned to officially announce his withdrawal from the entertainment industry after dinner tomorrow, but now the sudden rumors have made him lose interest. "Honey, look, it's Brother Joe." At this time, Tang Jiru suddenly exclaimed and put the mobile phone in front of Zhu Jai. "Joe Yang, I recorded a program with that Chinese letter for a while. He has a very good personality, is sincere, and has no prejudices against people. In terms of relationships, he strikes me as a straight man. I really don't know how at Chinese letter fell in love with him. The two of them live like a pair of bickering lovers, and what I see is the love between them. This is the first and only person who has publicly supported Zhu Jai." Zhu Jai looked at Zhou Yang's reply and was very touched. He was really an old friend. They knew each other just because of a show. But even when he was being criticized by everyone, he was still willing to stand up and speak for him. You know, Zhou Yang basically doesn't make movies anymore. If he makes a statement at this time, and if Zhu Jai cannot prove his innocence in the end, he will be directly sacrificing his own reputation. Zhou Yang has a high status in the entertainment industry, but she doesn't seem to have that much advantage in the fan circle. In just 10 minutes, Zhou Yang's Weibo post was flooded with abusive comments. "Brother Joe, I'm sorry to trouble you." Zhu Jai took out his cell phone and sent a message. It's not that he doesn't want to make the call, but he's afraid of having another breakdown. He doesn't care about his face. "It's a small matter, but I can't help you much." Zhou Yang replied immediately. "I've already followed you, Brother Joe, thank you. You're welcome. When you're free, come to Shandong and ask Xiaoluo to come along." Zhu Jai didn't know what to say at this time. He really didn't expect that Zhou Yang treated him as a good friend. Chapter 262. It's not because the scale is too big, so it's not released. Zhou Yang is not very old in his 40s, but when he is with Su Luo and Zhu Jai, he feels very happy and feels a lot younger. He had seen too many profit-first concepts in the entertainment industry, but these two people were very much to his liking and treated him like an older brother. This is also the reason why Zhou Yang is willing to speak out. Although it doesn't have much effect, he feels that he should speak out. Although they had not spent that much time together, he knew what kind of person Zhu Jai was. "Dad, can you do it? Aren't you the best actor or superstar? Look at all the people scolding you online." A young man holding a cell phone teased Zhou Yang. "Go away, what do you know, kid? Where is your mother?" Zhou Yang looked at his son Zhou Zuzhai, impatience flashing in his eyes. "I wondered in my heart why I didn't have a daughter. This son is no good. He would feel uncomfortable if he didn't ruin things right. My mother went out to dance square dance. When she comes back, I will tell her that you were scolded by netizens," Zhou Zuzhai said with a wicked smile. Upon hearing this, Zhou Yang touched his forehead, took out his cell phone, and transferred 10,000 yuan. "Don't tell your mother, otherwise you will lose your pocket money in the future," Zhou Yang said helplessly. "HMPH, you are too stingy. You said you were earning tuition for me. If you want some money, I will try my best to find a way." Zhou Zuzhai rolled his eyes and said casually, "What do you know? This is what your mother taught me. I've lent out too much money. If I don't pretend to be poor, there will still be many people borrowing money from me." Zhou Yang started arguing with Zhou Zuzhai like an old child. "Tusk, borrow money, borrow money. You got scolded today. Look, is there anyone speaking up for you?" Zhou Zuzhai ruthlessly exposed Zhou Yang and said sarcastically, "What does a kid know? Have you finished your homework?" Zhou Yang said to Zhou Zuzhai with a stern face. "You're the only one who understands. Okay, I'm going to do my homework. You posted this on Weibo yourself, so just hope your mom doesn't see it." After Zhou Zuzhai finished speaking, he turned around and went back to his room. Zhou Yang's face darkened. He was so focused on helping his friend that he forgot about this matter. It was too late to delete it now. Sighing, Zhou Yang took out a cigarette and lit it up. As for why those people didn't express their opinions. In fact, Zhou Yang had already told them not to express their opinions before posting on Weibo. It doesn't matter to him as he is an old artist who is about to retire. But for others who are still in the entertainment industry, it will eventually have an impact. Ding-ling-ling, Zhu Jai's phone rang. He picked it up and took a look. A hint of anger flashed in his eyes. "Hello? Zhu Jai, I've read the revelations online. Are you okay? Although you've terminated your contract with the company, as long as you're willing to come back, the company will immediately arrange a PR. Lu Yishan is sincere in his business." Zhu Jai and Tang Jiru looked at each other and rolled their eyes at the same time. This is really like the thief crying, "Stop thief." "No, I'm ready to quit the circle," Zhu Jai said lightly. "Even if you're planning to retire, you should at least think about your wife. You don't want her to be without resources after her comeback. Lu Yixin said this with a smile, but in short, what he meant was that you, Zhu Jai, are valuable again now, so you must continue to make money for Yixin Entertainment. Then you don't have to worry about it, Zhu Jai said and hung up the phone. The money the two have earned over the years is enough for them to have a small goal. Even if they both retire, it will be enough for their family of 3 to live a good life. After the call was hung up, Lu Yixin's face was full of uncertainty, and then he dialed another number. Damn it, didn't you say Zhu Jai would compromise? Damn it, he doesn't care at all. Lu Yixin yelled into the phone. Mr. Lu, don't be anxious. This is just the beginning. If things don't work out, just get out of here, Lu Yixin said and hung up the phone. The other side. Su Luo finished her shower and walked out in her pajamas. Honey, Brother Jai's side has been exposed, Yi Zairamu said. What? Su Luo immediately walked over, took Yi Zairamu's phone and looked at it. Honey, do you want us to help talk to him? I saw Brother Joe posted on Weibo. Yi Zairamu looked at Su Luo, who was reading Weibo, and asked. Here you go, I'll take care of it. Su Luo handed the phone back to Yi Zairamu and said with a smile. Call Sister Ru and have a chat. I'll figure out how to send it. Okay. Yi Zairamu nodded, opened the phone book, found Tang Jiru's number and dialed it. Su Luo sat back on the balcony, holding her mobile phone and carefully browsing the Weibo post that was on the hot search. In his experience, there was no record of any face changing or modification in the clothing picture. In other words, the picture is real. Su Luo frowned and looked at it carefully. Although it is real, it feels weird. It is too clear. Even photos taken with a mobile phone are not as clear as this. Even the pores on the face can be seen clearly. It was as clear as a movie. Wait, Su Luo's eyes lit up. This couldn't really be a movie, could it? Thinking of this, Su Luo smiled slightly and smiled faintly. Su Luo, at Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Brother Jai, what kind of movie is this? It can't be too explicit, right? It hasn't been released yet. Laugh. Wow, Su Luo posted something on Weibo. Isn't this the picture on the trending search? Why did he say it was a movie? Fuck, are you trying to rub my IQ into the ground? It's all confirmed and you're still talking about making a movie. How come I haven't seen it? Is there anyone knowledgeable? Tell me this Su Luo is someone most trolls wouldn't dare mess with. The comments below Su Luo were obviously much better. Even if there were some insults, no one dared to direct them at Su Luo. Analysis Emperor is here. Everyone knows that there is a difference in picture quality between movies and TV, not to mention the quality of photos taken by paparazzi. The pictures posted by the account that broke the news are all high definition. If you zoom in, even the pores are clearly visible. I think everyone understands what I've said here. Su Luo saw that the rhythm of the comments had returned to normal, smiled, and did not call Zhu Jai. Well, he has hidden his merits and fame. I looked up and saw that Yi Zairamu had also hung up the phone. Look at what your husband posted on Weibo. Isn't it awesome? Su Luo said with a smile. Upon hearing this, Yi Zairamu opened Su Luo's Weibo. Seeing Su Luo's words, she couldn't help but laughed. Do you also want to make a movie like this? Yi Zairamu said softly. What, is this what you're focusing on? Su Luo asked in surprise. What else? Shouldn't you admire your husband's wisdom and humor? Su Luo said. Oh, my husband is so awesome. Yi Zairamu pretended to admire him and exclaimed in admiration. Keep a low profile, keep a low profile. Su Luo held her hands down and said modestly. Then you can tell me now, do you want to make such a movie? Yi Zairamu tilted his head and said with a smile. Nani? Chapter 263, Hu Luanxiu's Purpose. Here Su Luo was explaining to Yi Zairamu, or rather explaining madly. Because Yi Zairamu said that Su Luo could see it at once, it meant that she had done a lot of research on it. Zhu Jai on the other side saw the Weibo post by Su Luo and kept praising her. Jairu, you see, my brother is so smart, he saw it right away, Zhu Jai said with admiration on his face. I think you should be careful. Lu Yixin must have a backup plan. Tang Jiru rolled her eyes at Zhu Jai's smug look and couldn't help but remind him. Actually, I think it's okay. I was planning to quit the entertainment industry anyway, so it won't make a difference whether it's clarified or not. Zhu Jai restrained his smile and spoke seriously. Well, this is what it means to respond to ever-changing situations with constancy and to be strong without desire. Zhu Jai then raised his hand and touched his chin, muttering. Stop pretending. You looked depressed just now, but now you're happy. Look at yourself. Tang Jiru scolded with a smile. Hee, the main thing is that my wife trusts me. If you trust me, I won't be afraid of anything. Zhu Jai walked behind Tang Jiru and put his hand on her shoulders. I don't believe you. With your straight-laced appearance, who would be interested in you? Tanjiro said disdainfully, but the smile on her lips showed that she was in a good mood. Hee, you're the only one who thinks highly of me, Zhu Jai said with a smile. He had learned something from Zhou Yang and Su Luo. He was so nice to them. Later, you should thank Xiao Luo and brother Zhou, otherwise it will be difficult for you to turn things around, Tanjiro reminded. I know, I've made an appointment with Xiao Luo to have dinner together tomorrow. I was thinking of introducing some people to him, but I guess not many people will come back now. Zhu Jai sighed and said helplessly. He deeply understood what it meant when everyone pushed the wall down and when people left. The tea got cold. It's okay, husband. Those people are not worth making close friends with. It's good to recognize them now. Tanjiro reached out and held Zhu Jai's hand and spoke to comfort him. Well, I'm fine, don't worry. It's enough to have a few close friends in life. Everything else doesn't matter. Zhu Jai smiled and said with relief. I'm glad you can figure it out, Tanjiro said with a smile. Zhu Jai didn't say anything else. His eyes flickered slightly. He was originally just planning to quit the entertainment industry, but it seems he will have to change his words tomorrow. Lu Yishan was in a bad mood. He had offended this person and ended up getting nothing in return. Is this a retard? Just posting the original video on Weibo to spread rumors. Pick up the pace right now. Lu Yishan picked up the phone and yelled at the person on the other end. Don't worry, boss. I know you're anxious, but don't worry. This matter isn't over yet. The person on the other end of the phone spoke slowly. I didn't have to be such a jerk. Fuck you, you jerk. We could have been on good terms, but you insisted on making trouble. Didn't you see who ended up getting hurt? The one who's blustering is Zhou Yang. King Zhou and Su Luo. You know, this guy always sends lawyers letters. He really means what he's blustering. He never plays by the rules. Brother Entertainment, the one that ruined the whole thing, was him. Do you know that? Lu Yishan got furious when he heard the stupid words the person on the other end of the phone said. He said, You know I'm anxious, but don't be anxious yet. What the hell are you talking about? Boss, don't worry, don't you still have Malmenkian? The other person was not affected by Lu Yishan's temper at all, and continued to speak slowly. Hu Luanxiu, are you talking nonsense? If Malmenkian spreads rumors again, Zhu Jai will definitely not make an appointment with us. We will lose a lot of money then. Lu Yishan felt his breathing quicken. He really didn't want to continue. He had spent a lot of money but hadn't made any profit. Boss, even if Zhu Jai doesn't come back by then, won't Malmenkian's popularity rise because of this incident? Won't the resources be there? Should we pull Zhu Jai out and whip him later? Wouldn't that keep the heat going? Hu Luanxiu said this and laughed. Aren't you afraid that someone will just send a lawyer's letter? Lu Yishan is tired. Isn't it just that Zhu Jai is retiring? As his former agent, why are you suddenly going to mess with him? Don't worry, there's no problem, because many things are hard to explain. Hu Luanxiu laughed and spoke casually. What Lu Yishan didn't know was that Hu Luanxiu, as Zhu Jai's agent, was originally quite prestigious. He made a lot of money from various means such as eating, drinking, and having fun. If Zhu Jai won the Best Actor award again, his status would have risen sharply. Even if the contract was terminated, theoretically, he would still follow Zhu Jai. As a result, when Zhu Jai was about to quit the circle, he fanned the flames and Lu Yishan went along with it. After all, if he wins the Best Actor award again, Zhu Jai's money-making ability will at least increase by 50%, if not double. If things continue to develop in this way, and Zhu Jai is given more time, his achievements will definitely not be lower than Zhou Yang's. However, Zhu Jai chose to retire at this time, which made it difficult for Lu Yishan and Hu Luanxiu to accept. Eventually, the idea of destroying something if you can't get it emerged. Okay, then I'll leave it to you to arrange. Lu Yishan thought about it and finally agreed. Boss, I need funds, Hu Luanxiu said. I'm talking nonsense and you still need funding for your nonsense. How much? Lu Yishan asked helplessly. 5 million, Hu Luanxiu said with a chuckle. Okay, I'll arrange the transfer later, Lu Yishan said and hung up the phone. Hu Luanxiu looked at his phone, clicked to stop recording, chuckled twice, and searched through the phone book. I found Malmenkian's phone number, clicked on the dial button and called. Hello? Malmenkian looked at the unfamiliar number and spoke in confusion. Malmenkian, who was from a girl group, had previously filmed a movie with Zhu Jai, but it was not released. There were no more resources after that, and it was a flash in the pan. Now I'm a host on a platform selling goods. Hello, Malmenkian. I'm Hu Luanxiu from Yishan Culture. Hu Luanxiu controlled his emotions and spoke calmly. Ah, Hu Luan is looking for whose agent? Malmenkian immediately clicked on the call recording and said. As for why Malmenkian knows Hu Luanxiu, it is because Malmenkian is an artist of Yishan Culture. Artists like them who have no resources are basically at a stage where they need to be self-reliant, which is something that companies generally don't think about. Yes, are you free now? I have something to talk to you about, Hu Luanxiu said. I'm free, Agent Hu, please go ahead. Mao Menqian had no sales tasks today, so she spoke immediately. Chapter 264. It's a beautiful thought, but it's small. There's something I need your help with, Hu Luanxiu said hesitantly. Manager Hu, if you have any questions, just tell me. I will definitely help you if I can. Mao Menqian sat up straight and spoke. Okay, have you been reading Weibo recently? Hu Luanxiu asked. No, what's wrong? Mao Menqian asked puzzledly. Take a look first and we'll talk after you finish reading it, Hu Luanxiu said. Oh, Agent Hu, then wait for me. Don't hang up. I'll check it on the computer. Mao Menqian was staying in the artist dormitory at the moment. As she spoke, she immediately turned on the computer and logged into Weibo. When I took a look, wow, isn't this me? Manager Hu, what is this? Mao Menqian asked with some confusion. This is what we sent. You should be able to figure out the purpose. Hu Luanxiu smiled and said. Well, I guessed a little, Mao Menqian replied. This was a slander against Zhu Jai. Thinking of Zhu Jai, this straight man, Mao Menqian's face darkened. At the beginning, she knocked on his door and said she wanted to discuss the script with him. As a result, he actually took the script and took her to the hall to rehearse it all night. Can you believe it? They really rehearsed it seriously all night. How is it I need your help? Hu Luanxiu said. Let me get involved and slander him, Mao Menqian asked in confusion. Yes, that's not good. He'll send me a lawyer's letter, right? Besides, he's a big movie star and he has Zhou Tianwang and Su Luo as well. No, I can't do that. Mao Menqian refused while checking the information. 2 million. 2 million. Once the matter is settled, I will transfer the 2 million to you immediately. Also, when your popularity returns, I will be your agent. You should understand that you will have a lot of resources by then. Hu Luanxiu once again felt the feeling of showing off, but before this, he had always asked others for it. This time he was giving it to someone else, which was a little different. Really? Mao Menqian was immediately moved. It was not because of Hu Luanxiu being her agent that she was moved, but because of the 2 million. It has been a long time since she saw such a large sum of money. How much can she make from selling goods? At most, she can make tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of yuan a year. Of course, I'll do it if you give me the money. Mao Menqian has experienced the ups and downs of life in society, so she won't be fooled by empty promises. The real money is in your account, that's the truth. I'll give you 1 million first, and then another 1 million after the matter is done, Hu Luanxiu said with a smile. Make a deal. As the night deepened, Su Luo typed another 40,000 words at night, and the signing was completed in the evening. It is still only the electronic copyright that has been signed, and the IP copyright is still in Su Luo's hands. Su Luo will not let it go. The main reason is that he has the ability to develop. As for publishing novels, it is not for making money, but just for entertainment. After uploading and publishing the novel, Su Luo went into the bathroom and washed up. Liu, Yizayamu called softly. I'm sorry for waking you up, Su Luo said in a low voice with an apologetic look on her face. It's okay, I eat and sleep every day and I'm not sleepy, Yizayamu said with a smile. Do you still want to sleep now? Su Luo walked to Yizayamu's bed, sat down, and asked in a low voice. Go back to sleep later. I guess Xiaxia will wake up soon. Yizayamu looked at the time and saw it was already 11 o'clock. She estimated it and said, after a long time, the child's habits will gradually form. For example, the child will almost be hungry after 11 o'clock. It's okay, I'll make some milk for her later, Su Luo said with a smile. You make milk and change diapers all day long, and I feel like you don't want me to do anything. Yizayamu pouted and muttered softly. Isn't it good not to do it? You just need to take care of yourself. Su Luo touched Yizayamu's head and comforted her. You make me feel that I can't do anything to help you share the burden, Yizayamu said somewhat aggrievedly. During the confinement period, women are prone to having wild thoughts and become emotional because of the child. Sometimes she would have a bad temper and blame others for not taking good care of her. But because Su Luo did everything almost perfectly, Yizayamu did not develop such an emotion. The main source of this emotion is the mother's love for her child. This is a piece of flesh that fell from her body. She is afraid of it falling if she holds it in her hand, and afraid of it melting if she holds it in her mouth. This emotion is stronger than other emotions, especially during the confinement period, when the mother's body is relatively weak, and various emotions will arise at this time. At this moment, Yi Zairamu suddenly felt useless, unable to do anything for her child, and even unable to breastfeed the child. Silly girl, you've already done the most good by giving birth to Zairo. What you need to do now is to take good care of yourself and take good care of Zairo. Su Luo understood Yi Zairamu's feelings, held her in her arms, and spoke gently. Really, honey, am I useless? Yi Zairamu raised her head and looked at Su Luo, asking seriously. Really, of course you're not useless. You're a little mother. You know, the greatest feeling is maternal love. You can't deny yourself. Su Luo touched Yi Zairamu's face and said with a smile, Honey, you are so nice. I want a kiss. Yi Zairamu's mood improved at this moment, and she said coquettishly. Okay, Su Luo agreed with a smile and lowered her head. Wah, Xiaoxiao started crying. Honey, Xiaoxiao is hungry, Yi Zairamu said softly. Wait a minute, let me kiss you first. Su Luo ignored him and moved closer to Yi Zairamu. Go and make the milk powder quickly. If you don't kiss me. Yi Zairamu pouted and said dissatisfiedly. Xiaoxiao, can't you hold on for a few seconds? Seeing this, Su Luo stepped back, looked at Xiaoxiao and teased. Hurry up if you bully Xiaoxiao. Don't kiss me anymore, hum. Yi Zairamu glared at Su Luo with her beautiful eyes and said coquettishly, then lowered her head and coaxed Xiaoxiao softly. I thought your husband was the most important person to you, Su Luo said as she poured the milk powder. That's wishful thinking. It's Xiaoxiao, Yi Zairamu said proudly with a smile on her face. Okay, then Xiaoxiao is also the most important person to me, Su Luo said as she poured the milk powder into the bottle filled with water. No, she's not. I'm the one. Yi Zairamu looked up, looked at Su Luo and said with a smile. Okay, you are, Su Luo said lovingly, then shook the bottle and handed it to Yi Zairamu. Xiaoxiao, it's time for milk. Yi Zairamu took the bottle, coaxed Xiaoxiao gently, and then fed the bottle to Xiaoxiao. Chapter 265, Mao Menqian Takes Action. After feeding, Xiaoxiao fell asleep again. Su Luo took the bottle, went into the bathroom and washed the bottle. Yi Zairamu stood up, walked in, took off his pants without hesitation, and squatted on the toilet. Looking at the cute Yi Zairamu beside her, Su Luo couldn't help but lower her head and kiss her, then walked out with the washed bottle. When Su Luo reached the door, she looked back and saw Yi Zairamu raising his hand and making a ferocious expression towards her, while scratching with his 5 fingers, just like a little kitten. Blowing her a kiss, Su Luo walked back to the bedroom and lay down on the edge of the bed. Pa, Yi Zairamu walked out of the bathroom, went behind Su Luo and slapped him hard, then laughed a few times, ran to the other side and lay down. The two looked at each other, then looked at Xiaoxiao and opened their mouths. Good night, the two people said softly to each other and fell asleep one after another. Mao Menqian, who received the transfer, kept switching screens on her mobile phone. On one side is the recording of the previous phone call, and on the other side is the message notification that 1 million has arrived in the account. She said that, but when it really came to slandering others, she admitted that she hesitated, but she only hesitated for about a minute. Then Mao Menqian opened Weibo with a firm look in her eyes. Mao Menqian, I've kept this secret in my heart for years and never dared to speak it out. He invited me to his room at night many times. What's even more outrageous is that he even stuck out his tongue during filming. Mao Menqian wrote a long and eloquent 800-word essay, and the story was written in the narrative style. It records the main content of being bullied by Zhu Jai during the filming of the movie. It mainly expresses the grievance of being bullied but not being able to speak out, and the determination to tell the truth now. To use the words in the composition, Mao Menqian firmly believes that justice will come late. Oh my God, I didn't expect there would be a sequel to Zhu Yingdi's Melon. What's going on? Can anyone tell me? Tongue, is it what I thought? At Chinese letter, you lowlife. Get out of the entertainment industry. There is still such a disgusting man, sisters. We must fight to the end for Mao Menqian. This is extremely disrespectful to women. At Chinese letter, get out of the entertainment industry. After Mao Menqian posted her Weibo, it became a hot topic without any need for internet trolls. This is not just about eating spectators. More people are expressing their expectations for Zhu Jai, the man below. They no longer cared about whether it was true or not, because Mao Menqian personally came out and narrated what happened as a weak person. They don't have to think at all and just stand on the side of so-called justice. After posting on Weibo, Mao Menqian looked at the comments below and her lips curled up slightly. Her experience in selling products in the past 2 years has made her writing level soar. The oranges that couldn't be sold rotted in the ground. The apples that couldn't be sold rotted in the ground. The sweet potatoes that couldn't be sold rotted in the ground. All kinds of stories can be told at will. Thinking of this, Mao Menkian took out her cell phone and sent a message. Me send me money. Ding dong. 1 million yuan has arrived. Mao Menkian smiled as she saw another message coming. This money is easy to make. Thinking about it, Mao Menkian replied another message. Next time something like this happens, remember to look for me. You still have to remember to come out and stir up some heat from time to time. Don't you want to become popular again? Hu Luanxiu's message came back immediately. If you become my agent, then I'd better go back and sell the goods. Mao Menkian smiled and replied with some disdain. She knew that Hu Luanxiu was Zhu Jai's agent before. How big a conflict must there be for him to do this to her? You can't associate with such a narrow-minded person. Otherwise, in the end, he will use the same means to harm you. On the other side, Hu Luanxiu blushed when he received the news. This girl actually looked down on him. Fuck. But then he grinned and thought, no matter whether people looked down on him or not, he had earned 3 million. Mao Menkian is great. She made him not even need to hire any internet trolls. Satisfied, Hu Luanxiu ignored Mao Menkian, threw his phone away, and fell asleep. And public opinion on the internet has just begun to ferment. Zhang Pan, I admit Zhu Jai's acting is great, but his character is terrible. He was late on set and acted like a big shot. Zhang Pan is the executive director of the movie Love in the Hutong. This movie made Zhu Jai popular, and he embarked on the road of acting. Chen Zhaiping, when we were filming Love in the Hutongs, he often pushed me and asked the director to change the script from time to time. With this kind of character, he should quit the entertainment industry. Chen Zhaiping, a supporting actor in the movie Love in the Hutong, has been tepid in recent years and is considered a second-tier actor. Following the revelations of these two people, more and more actors and directors began to agree. Of course, there were also some night owls, Zhu Jai's friends, who were speaking up for Zhu Jai, but they were all drowned out by the general trend. Those at the best actor level were warned by their agents over the phone and asked not to make any comments. As for Zhou Yang, he had already gone to bed. He had been scolded in the first place, so he decided not to read the rest. Somewhere in Kyoto. My brother, please don't get involved. No, what's wrong with me just telling the truth? Why is that not okay? A young man said impatiently. It's obvious that Zhu Jai has offended someone. It's not appropriate for you to get involved like this. Tell me why it's inappropriate. Come on, tell me. Zhang Rongyang, Yishan culture is not something a small company like us can afford to offend. My dear young master, you don't want to be without resources in the future, do you? No matter what, Brother Jai is half my master. It's inappropriate not to support him at this time. Brother Chuan, you should never forget your roots. Zhang Rongyang looked seriously at Jin Chuan, whom he called Brother Chuan, and said sincerely. Jin Chuan looked at Zhang Rongyang's determined face, slowly let go of his hand, sighed deeply, and silently took out his cell phone. I didn't see anything. I wasn't here today, Jin Chuan said silently. Brother Chuan, don't worry. I will definitely not betray you. Zhang Rongyang winked at Jin Chuan, then opened Weibo. Zhang Rongyang, with 31.06 million fans, is an actor and a true first-line star. He is considered a new generation idol actor with great talent. His acting skills cannot be said to be very good, but they are very good, and he is also very handsome. Zhang Rongyang, Senior Zhu Jai is someone I greatly respect and I trust him. Also, the internet is not a lawless place, so please be careful with your words. After Zhang Rongyang finished posting on Weibo, he put down his phone. He knew that there would be no nice comments at this time. Chapter 266, Yi Shuyan's Shame. Paying attention to comments at this time will only cause trouble for yourself. Brother Chuan, what are you doing? After posting on Weibo, Zhang Rongyang looked at Jin Chuan tapping on his phone and asked curiously, What can I do? I want to see what other resources you can take over in the future. Jin Chuan rolled his eyes at Zhang Rongyang and said unhappily, No way, no way. Agent Jin is afraid that he doesn't have the resources to find you. Zhang Rongyang said in an exaggerated manner. There is no shortage of resources, but they may not be suitable for you. Jin Chuan raised his eyes and said lightly, No, I'm just taking a break. Come on, it's time to play games. If there are no announcements, I can play all night. Zhang Rongyang spoke excitedly, looking like an internet addict. Fuck, if your fans knew you were like this, I guess half of them would quit being your fans. Jin Chuan said helplessly. It's enough for them to look at my work. As for what kind of person I am, they don't need to like me. Zhang Rongyang smiled and said casually. Alas, your face is wasted, Jin Chuan sighed. Hurry up, stop looking, log in. The next day, November 26th, when Zhu Jai and Tang Jiru woke up, They found that both of their cell phones were out of battery. After looking at each other, both of them felt something was wrong. Then connect the charger. Ding, 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 ding. It kept ringing. The two of them looked at the trending searches on Weibo with serious expressions. Compared with Zhu Jai and the others, Su Luo woke up and opened her eyes to the sound of her child crying. She skillfully washed Xiaoxiao's butt, changed his diaper, and prepared milk powder. After preparing the milk powder, Yi Xiaomu woke up, and Su Luo handed the bottle to her. Then they went into the bathroom to wash up. This set of procedures has become the norm for the two of them. When Su Luo walked out of the bathroom, Yi Xiaomu had just burped Xiaoxiao and was putting her back on the bed. Xiaoxiao, who is about to turn 1 month old, plays for a while every time he wakes up, scratches his hands and makes himself laugh. Xiaomu, go wash up. I'll take care of Xiao. Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu and spoke, then sat down on the edge of the bed and looked at Xiao. Yeah, Yi Xiaomu agreed and stood up. Xiaoxiao. Seeing Yi Xiaomu go to wash up, Su Luo stretched out a finger and placed it on the child's hand. He immediately felt his index finger being tightly gripped by Xiaoxiao. Xiaoxiao laughed. Ha. Looking at the small appearance, Su Luo grinned. He smiled, Xiaoxiao also smiled. Ha, Xiaoxiao laughed again. Be good, are you calling Daddy? Ha, learn from Daddy. Su Luo said with a smile on her face. Ha. Be good, Daddy. Hey, Yi Xiaomu walked out of the bathroom, looked at Su Luo and agreed while covering her mouth. Ha, Xiaomu, look, Xiaoxiao can call Daddy now. Daddy. Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu coming over and immediately said with a smile, then said another sentence to Xiaoxiao. Ha, Xiaoxiao laughed. Hey, Yi Xiaomu responded. Su Luo looked at Yi Xiaomu resentfully. Ha, you idiot, Xiaoxiao is just calling me mommy again. Yi Xiaomu put one hand on her waist and the other on Su Luo's shoulder and said with a smile. Who said that? Look, she was looking at me and screaming. Su Luo put her arms around Yi Xiaomu and said with a smile. You're obviously looking at me. Yi Xiaomu retorted with a smile. Xiaoxiao said, you two childish guys stay away from me. I don't want to see you showing off your love. Ha, go away, Xiaoxiao spoke again. Look, she's looking at me. She's calling me darling, mommy loves you. Yi Xiaomu stretched out her hand and placed it in Xiaoxiao's other hand. He's clearly calling Daddy, Su Luo muttered softly. Call Mom, Dad, Mother. Ha, so embarrassing, can I change my parents? Xiaoxiao raised her head and neither of them looked at her. Honey, when do you think Xiaoxiao will be able to speak? Yi Xiaomu asked curiously. That's uncertain. Some are 7 or 8 months old and some are around 1 year old. Su Luo thought for a while and said, generally, babies can make simple sounds when they are more than 7 months old. But now that they are about to be 1 month old, they can only make simple laughter. Generally, babies can babble actively at 3-4 months and can utter some syllables at 7-8 months. So if it's as early as 7-8 months, you may hear the child calling Dad and Mom, but it is unconscious, which means she cannot understand what Dad and Mom mean. When he is about 1 year old, he can actively and consciously call Dad and Mom. Xiaoxiao will definitely call Mommy first, Yi Xiaomu said proudly. That's not necessarily true. Maybe he'll call me Dad first, Su Luo said with a smile. Xiaoxiao watched her parents become childish again and closed her eyes. She was tired and wanted to sleep. Xiaoxiao wants to sleep. Let me coax her. Seeing this, Yi Xiaomu took Su Luo's hand from her waist, squatted beside the bed, patted Xiaoxiao gently, and hummed a nursery rhyme. Xiaomu, do you want me to bring you breakfast? Su Luo leaned close to Yi Xiaomu's ear and asked softly. Yi Xiaomu nodded. Seeing this, Su Luo tiptoed out of the bedroom. Xiao Luo, come and have breakfast. Sun Yun called out when she saw Su Luo coming down. Where's Xiaomu? Sun Yun asked again when she saw Su Luo sitting over. She is coaxing the child to sleep. I will bring her up later, Su Luo said while sitting in her seat. Today there are only Sun Yun and Yi Shuyan in the restaurant. Su Siyun went out for a walk. Because it was Monday, Yi Zhenhua and Sun Tingting went to school. They were almost done with breakfast, and Su Luo was about to get another portion to bring to Yi Xiaomu when Yi Shuyan stopped her. Aunt, what's wrong? Su Luo asked with some confusion. That, Yi Shuyan's expression looked a little unnatural. Xiao Luo, let me take Xiaomu's breakfast up. Sun Yun could see that Yi Shuyan seemed to have something to say, so she made some breakfast and started talking. Okay, Mom. Su Luo nodded and then looked at Yi Shuyan. Aunt, if you have anything to say, just say it directly. We are all family. Xiao Luo, it's like this. You know, I didn't even finish college at that time, and I had been doing odd jobs before. I came here so suddenly that I don't know how to find a job, so I want you to keep an eye out for me. Yi Shuyan spoke, but with a trace of shame on his face. After all, in her opinion, this behavior was indeed a bit inappropriate. Strictly speaking, to Su Luo, she was an outsider. After listening to Yi Shuyan's words, Su Luo nodded. Indeed, after all, she had no income since coming here. If this continued, she would indeed feel uncomfortable. Chapter 267, Yi Shuyan's new job is settled. Yi Shuyan's idea was very simple. Now she had a house, and the house was in her name. But if you can't pay back the money for buying a house, you will still feel like a dependent. Help from others is help, but if you really accept it with a clear conscience, then you are a bit ignorant. And I wonder what kind of work you want to do, Su Luo asked curiously. I can do anything. As long as I can do it, I can do it. I have been a waiter, a cleaner, I have done them all, Yi Shuyan said. Okay, leave it to me. I'll keep an eye on it for you these days, Su Luo said. Thank you, Xiao Luo. I'm sorry for the trouble I've caused you. Yi Shuyan looked at Su Luo and said sincerely. It's okay, Auntie, it's not a big deal. I'll go up first and tell you when I find it. Su Luo waved her hand. Okay, Yi Shuyan nodded. When Su Luo returned to the bedroom, Yi Xiaomu had just finished breakfast, and Sun Yun was sitting by the bed watching Xiaoxiao, who was sleeping soundly. Xiao Mu, what do you want to eat for lunch? I'll go out and buy some groceries later. Seeing that the time was almost up, Sun Yun looked at Yi Xiaomu and asked, Mom, I'm fine with anything. I'm not picky about food, Yi Xiaomu said with a smile. Mom, you can do whatever you want. As long as it's not a cold thing, it's fine, Su Luo added from the side. Okay, then you two can chat. I'll put away the bowls. Sun Yun said this, put away the dishes, and walked out of the bedroom. Xiao Mu, my aunt just asked me to help her keep an eye on her work. Su Luo waited for Sun Yun to leave the building, sat down beside the bed, and said to Yi Xiaomu, Yeah, that's right. Auntie doesn't have a job, so she's probably worried. Is it convenient for you? If not, I'll call Sister Yo and ask her to help. Yi Xiaomu nodded and spoke. Okay, then I'll arrange it, Su Luo said with a smile when she saw Yi Xiaomu agreed. It's not that Su Luo is unwilling to find a job for Yi Shuyan, but she is Yi Xiaomu's aunt after all, so she still has to ask Yi Xiaomu's opinion. Maybe Yi Xiaomu has other arrangements. If Su Luo doesn't ask in advance, it would not be good to find an unsuitable person when the time comes. Thinking of this, Su Luo took out her cell phone and called Wang Zidao, the current president of BBD Automotive Group. Hello, who is this? A middle-aged man's voice came from the other side. I'm Su Luo. Hello, Mr. Su, may I know who you are? The voice on the other end immediately became serious. Mr. Wang, it's nothing serious. I just want you to help arrange a job for me. I don't have much work experience, but I've done odd jobs before. Su Luo did not beat around the bush. After all, asking subordinates for help was just a matter of a word, and no hints were needed. Mr. Su, do you want to arrange a sinecure for me? Wang Zidao asked tentatively. For BBD companies, it is easy to arrange a sinecure. You don't have to do anything, and you can still get paid normally. You can practice a little, right? It would be best if someone could guide you. She is my elder, Su Luo said. If a sinecure is really assigned to him, Yi Shuyan will definitely not accept it. Otherwise, what's the difference between that and just taking the money directly? That's no problem. I wonder where Mr. Su the Elder is now, Wang Zidao asked. In the Magic City, near the central building. That's no problem. We have our own flagship store, BBD, on 88 Sichuan North Road, just north of the Bund. How about you become a sales manager there first? I'll arrange for the store manager there to lead the business personally. Okay, no problem. Go ahead and arrange it. No need for any special care. Let her give it a try. If it doesn't work out, tell me. I'll arrange something else. Su Luo thought about it for a moment and then agreed. Starting from selling cars was a possible way. Okay, Mr. Su, I'll trouble you to send your elder's information over later. I'll go and say hello, Wang Zidao said. Okay, that's it. I'll send it to you on WeChat later. Su Luo said this, hung up the phone, and sent the basic information to Wang Zidao. Liu, what are you doing? Yi Xiaomu asked curiously. Let's try to arrange a sales manager position for my aunt at a flagship car store. Su Luo put away her phone and said to Yi Xiaomu. Then why did I hear people call you Mr. Su? Yi Xiaomu asked curiously. Yeah, I have some shares in BBD Auto. Su Luo did not hide anything and told Yi Xiaomu the situation directly. Yi Xiaomu listened, but didn't say anything. Although BBD is one of the best cars produced in China, those who are not in the relevant industry really don't understand the value of an automobile group company. After the work was done, Su Luo prepared to start typing. Zyro Mew, I'm going to continue typing, Su Luo said, sitting down by the windowsill and turning on the computer. Hey, wait, Yizayamu called Su Luo. What's wrong? Su Luo looked at Yizayamu in confusion. When you called just now, I was on Weibo. Now Brother Jai has been almost completely hacked online. You can check it out online, Yizayamu reminded. What? Su Luo was surprised. Logically speaking, after what happened yesterday, any entertainment company with a bit of brains should have taken the opportunity to build momentum and try to re-release the movie. Let me take a look first, Su Luo said, opened the webpage and logged into Weibo. Su Luo was frowning and browsing the content on the hot searches. Wow, the top 10 hot searches were all about Zhu Jai. Things like being a big shot, disrespecting seniors, being late, disrespecting the position of an actor, bullying women, bullying other young artists, etc. This is the case. Any shortcomings are blamed on Zhu Jai. Seeing this, Su Luo picked up her phone, looked through the address book and made a call. The other side. When Zhu Jai woke up in the morning and saw the trending searches, he began to question his life. He didn't expect that after one night, public opinion would become like this. Several friends who spoke up for him have been scolded and had their comments shut down. There wasn't much verbal abuse on Zhou Yang's Weibo, but mainly because many people were lamenting that Zhou Yang had a poor eye for people. Obviously, those black fans and those who try to stir up trouble knew that they couldn't provoke a fight with Zhou Yang. If Zhou Yang is really scolded, then this matter will probably get out of control. Don't underestimate the connections of a multi-talented superstar. If you just post something on Weibo to show your support, it may not make much difference. But if you are serious about it, the impact will be huge. Zhang Rongyang's Weibo has been exposed, and his relationship with Zhu Jai has also been revealed, showing that they are half master and apprentice. Even the news that he had lip piercings before his debut, which showed that he was a rebellious young man, was revealed. He lost 5 million followers overnight, and many endorsements and announcements have even planned to terminate their contracts with him. Chapter 268, Tang Jiru is hospitalized. Zhu Jai was really confused. He couldn't even read the content below his Weibo, and he couldn't even open his private messages because there were too many of them. The only good news is that Tang Jiru was not affected that much. At most, many people persuaded her and Zhu Jai to divorce. Jai-Ru, don't post it. Seeing that Tang Jai-Ru seemed to be about to post on Weibo, Zhu Jai immediately stopped her. Why don't you post it? Look at what they say, it's so annoying. Tang Jiru said dissatisfiedly. There's no point in posting it. The entire internet is now black. No one will believe any explanation. Zhu Jai sighed and said helplessly. Then just let them spread rumors, Tang Jiru said with an uncomfortable look on her face. Too many people are taking this opportunity to step on me just to become popular again. If I really get into trouble with them, it will play into their hands. Zhu Jai frowned and spoke in a heavy voice. He also saw that his friends who supported him were forced to close their comments. It's really ridiculous. He usually calls me Senior and Brother Jai, but when it comes to this time, he steps on me harder than anyone else. Ah, Tang Jiru suddenly exclaimed, and her whole face wrinkled. Wife, what's wrong with you? Zhu Jai asked quickly when he heard Tang Jiru's voice. My stomach hurts. Tang Jiru grabbed Zhu Jai's arm tightly and said through gritted teeth. My stomach hurts, wife, hold on. Zhu Jai immediately dialed 120. How is the doctor? In the emergency room of Shanghai People's Hospital, Zhu Jai saw the doctor finish the examination, grabbed his arm and asked anxiously. I've been experiencing a lot of mood swings lately, and I'm having a threatened miscarriage, but it's not serious. I need to be hospitalized to take care of the baby and keep my emotions under control. As he said this, the doctor patted Zhu Jai and signaled him to rest assured. Okay, go to the hospital, Zhu Jai said hurriedly with red eyes. Then Zhu Jai immediately ran to the bed in the observation room of the emergency room, where Tang Jiru was lying quietly. Wife, it's okay, you can't get too emotional. As Zhu Jai spoke, tears flowed uncontrollably, and then he raised his hand and wiped them away vigorously. Hubby, don't cry. Tang Jiru reached out and touched Zhu Jai's face, speaking softly. Well, I won't cry. You also have to promise me to pay attention to your emotions and not worry about me, okay? Zhu Jai touched Tang Jiru's hand with his backhand and gave her serious instructions. Yes, I will. Tang Jiru was really scared at this moment. If it really affected the child, she felt that she would not be able to survive. Don't think about anything, just focus on taking care of the baby. I'll go and arrange for her to be hospitalized. Zhu Jai put down Tang Jiru's hand and spoke. Okay, Tang Jiru smiled and nodded. When Zhu Jai saw Tang Jiru agreed, he immediately ran towards the payment counter. Ding-ling-ling, the phone rang. Hello, Zhu Jai picked up the phone without even checking the caller ID. Brother Jai, it's me. Su Luo's voice came from the other side. Sir, how much do you want to pay in advance? Asked the doctor at the cashier. Pay 20,000 first, Zhu Jai said immediately. Brother Jai, where are you? Su Luo asked hurriedly after hearing the voice. Well, I'm in the hospital. Sorry, I probably won't be able to eat tonight, Zhu Jai said apologetically. It doesn't matter whether you have food or not. Why are you in the hospital? Did something happen to Sister Ru? Su Luo noticed that there was something wrong with Zhu Jai's voice and asked. Well, Jiru had a stomachache just now. The doctor said she had symptoms of threatened miscarriage and needed to be hospitalized to take care of the fetus. Zhu Jai hesitated for a moment and told the truth. Is it because of something online? Well, she's been too worried lately, Zhu Jai replied. Okay, I got it. Which hospital? I'll come over in a moment. No need to come over, it's okay. Zhu Jai refused. He didn't want to cause trouble for Su Luo. Is this